The Earth is very flat.
What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday, August 5th, 2021. Somebody distracted me. Sorry about that. And no, it was not the cat page. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing good out there. See quite a few people in chat already. PJ Cruikshank, Ian Adams, Gadget Inspector, Silent Zero, and YouTube, Just Barry, Page 42, Will Gaston, and Bill G was first tonight. Congratulations, Bill G. What's going on, guys? Anything new and exciting? Tonight's going to be an open panel, open topic, so we'll see where that goes and how it goes. We got quite a few people in Discord already. I do have a couple of links, as usual, to bring up, and some topics to get the it going. But we'll see how it goes. Bill G is in holidays. Sounds good. Thank you, Gadget. Thank you very much. Let's go into Discord and see what's going on.
They're drugs, yeah. They don't need anything else.
Oh yeah, drugs are great. You get people in prison. You get people get sick. You need more.
Yeah, and then when people, and then when somebody builds up the money, too much of it, and you just take them down and fucking confiscate the money, right? Perfect for a fucking economy. It's horrible, sad though.
You can declare a war on you can declare a war on drugs and spend.
Well, if you got money, you just go to the doctor and get them, right? If you got the money, you just go to the doctor and get the drugs, and everything's legal. But it costs more.
Well, that's a whole nother part of it. Don't get me started on big pharma.
Yeah, right.
What's going on, guys? We're live.
What up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? What's going on?
Dude, Trav, what up?
We got Brian Leakey, Enigma, Ellen O'Cyrene, CIA Shell, FE, self-evidently farming ganja, First Incubus, Geo, Jeremy, Rakia, Rob on the level, Keen, super effective, the real Bob Dole, and the Rig. Hello, everyone.
What up?
What up?
Howdy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Any
5
repeatable
o'clock considered afternoon or evening?
What's the cutoff?
It's 4 p.m. here.
Okay, so that's
it's 5
p.m. here.
East Coast shit.
East Coast. Is it evening, Jeremy, or
5
is it
p.m.
still afternoon?
I don't know. It's 5 p.m. I don't really play that game.
Okay.
5 p.m. about 90 degrees, but it's it gets so damn hot here, it's crazy, but almost every year it gets it rains every day. It gets so hot, so humid, it has no choice. The clouds build. If they didn't, dude, there'd be more deaths down here, man, because of the heat.
You're talking about Florida, of course.
Yeah.
Right. So who's gonna debate conspiracy cats? Because Nathan Oakley wussed out. He chickened out.
Is conspiracy cats an expert?
Yeah, he's an educator. He's a teacher.
Is he an expert on the globe?
He's a teacher. He's certified.
Is he an expert?
He's certified.
Is he a globe expert in any way, shape, or form?
I imagine all you need to be an expert in the globe is a high school education. So yeah.
So everybody that graduated high school is an expert on a globe. It's you're stupid.
Most flat earthers are experts in the globe, man. You want to get down to it. The most knowledgeable people on the globe are generally flat earthers or people who debate flat earthers.
You don't understand our model at all, Brian.
I don't think you understand how experts work.
Phil KO. Hey, I'm really dumb. Can I be a flurf? I'll send you an application, but I don't know. It's pretty tight standards. Jack donated $5 yesterday through Streamlabs, and I didn't see it till after the show because I had to turn that off on the stream because it was messing up the stream. But he said the largest fishing net dragged through the sea is 130 miles by 18 miles. Do the globe gimps, tongue twister, think the net follows Earth curve as well, or just drags across the top of their hump? It's interesting. Thank you very much, Jack.
people who know the globe model the best are flat earthers, or the people debating flat earthers are the most knowledgeable on the model.
But
Let's check with Brenda.
I wouldn't
Let's check
disagree.
with Brenda. Let's
I'd
check
say
with
the
Brenda.
second.
Brenda, was the Eddington experiment proof of GR or SR?
general relativity.
Oh, you got it right this time after we
So-
corrected you. After the flat earther corrected you the other day, you got it right. Nice work.
People are allowed to make mistakes. I don't.
Wasn't a
I don't-
mistake. You're stupid.
No, people are allowed to make mistakes. It's not a big deal.
Wasn't a mistake. You're just
So
ignorant.
my question is, who is going to step up in Nathan's place and debate conspiracy cats? Because the person running the debate said that they're going to get a flat earther to debate him.
I'll debate them. When and where?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to contact them.
Are you his representative or something?
Hey, Brenda, tell them I'll debate them
No, I
on
don't-
modern day debate. Tell them I'll
Just
debate them on modern
contact-
day debates. Set it up.
Just contact conspiracy cats. I mean, no, this is a New Zealand podcast or YouTuber. I don't know which. That's who it was going to be.
Okay. I think probably a few people on this panel have talked to cats before. I don't.
You
Big
could.
deal.
You
guys
could,
are
Brandon.
acting like no one's ever talked to cats before. He's not
I'm
scary.
saying there's an opening, there's an opportunity that you should grab.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go, folks. Advertising for Conspiracy Cats completed. What's else going on? Tonight's open panel, open topic.
Any repeatable, verifiable, falsifiable evidence for the flat
Let me
earth?
say something.
Do you have any of that for the globe, or do you have any of that for the globe, Brenda?
I asked for flat earth. Any.
Okay, let me say
Right.
something real quick.
The globe
Jeremy,
doesn't have any,
because
so
this involves you. This involves you, me, Brandon, a lot of people on this channel. It involves George, Rumpus. Okay, now what made this channel, in my opinion, an honest channel, an honest flat Earth channel? Okay, is the fact that in the mind of God, everybody. So we sitting there trying to think of a test we could do to prove one way or another for sure. You know, for sure, without a doubt. And how can we draw a straight line? How can we prove if a line is curved or straight? And basically everything we come up with and everything the Globers come up with, you know, we're like, nah, we'd find a catch in it. And like, God, there's something to do with this, you know, nah, we can't use the fucking GPS because the fucking longitude, you know, it'd be like, no, we can't use, we was going to use a long concrete wall or some other material, but nah, if it's not connected, it ain't going to work. You know, just being honest, like working it out and just coming up with, nah, it just ain't going to work. It's not going to prove it for sure one way or another. Nothing hardly we came up with. It's really harder than you think to prove flat or globe. Okay?
The
So
claim
if
is,
you know for sure the Earth is a globe. Give us a test we can do, and let's discuss it.
well, again, the claim is by flat earthers that they have science and that globe earth is pseudoscience. So since you have science, you must have repeatable, verifiable, falsifiable evidence for the
Okay,
flat
that's all
earth.
great. That's all great.
When it comes to Brian, you want to take this one, or you want? It's up to you, bro. I got stuff to do anyway. So
This
you wanna
route. That's
go?
all great. That's all great. But let's come up with a test. Tell us a test we could do, Brenda. What can we do to prove? You know, how can we get a straight line?
Well, first you need an observation, then a
What can we
hypothesis,
do
then an
for
experiment.
Please.
First you need an observation, then a hypothesis, then an experiment. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm asking for. Okay, what can we do?
I'm asking for you. You have to prove it. It's your job, not mine.
Let's do it as a team.
I
man.
think,
Hold
Who's
on a second.
echoing?
Let me just
Trying to
clarify
collaborate.
what's going on here. This is a
Oh.
reversal of. This is a
Hold on.
burden-proof reverse.
No, it's not. I'm
This is a
asking you.
burden-proof
Who's
reverse
got the
fallacy.
echo?
We're telling you, Brenda, you don't know how microphone works. You're not an expert on nothing. You didn't graduate high school. Now, this is a burden-proof reversal fallacy. We're saying the curve doesn't exist. They're saying, now we want you to prove non-existence by saying it's flat of this curve.
All right, so that's retarded. Brian, I think you want to
All right.
collaborate and try to come up together with a way that would satisfy
Yeah.
both sides. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Let's come up with something because we did it. We tried to do it with Rumpus and George. I mean, granted, we did come up with a couple ideas, but it's like real expensive. I mean, I do have one myself that I'll run by in a minute, but I think this is when this channel did the best in realizing just how fucking hard it is to prove for sure one way or another what it is. You know?
Yeah, if there's anything we did, it was identify how fucking extremely difficult it is.
So where does your belief in the flat Earth come from if you have no evidence?
Brenda, just for one half of an episode, work with us.
Because
Okay?
the curve doesn't exist. The curve doesn't exist.
Work with us and try and think of a test we could do to prove if a line is straight or if the line is curved. Let's.
Why are you a glober when you have no evidence of the curve?
No, so the question is that your claim is that the Earth is flat. Therefore, you
As
bear
in,
the burden.
curvature doesn't exist. Yes.
You bear the burden of
No,
proving
that's
it.
now you want me to prove non-existence that the curve doesn't
No,
exist.
I want you to prove
Yes.
existence. I want you to make
Of a
prove
curve? Existence of
no.
a curve or not a curve?
No, of flatness.
The Earth is not flat. Okay.
The Earth
It's
is not flat.
Nobody on this channel thinks there's mountains and valleys.
Nobody's thinking about
You
topology.
can't compare a warehouse floor with no bumps and humps and trying to look. There's bumps and humps on warehouse floor. There's bumps and humps on the Earth. There's mountains, valleys. Okay, don't get the idea that we're trying to.
Nobody thinks
prove
that
a mirror.
topology. Nobody thinks that terrain is what we're talking about. We're talking about the shape of the Earth. And
What I'm
your
asking
claim
you
is
to
that
do-
it's flat. Your claim is that it's flat, but you have no science.
No, I'm not
You
claiming
claim
that
that
right
globe
now.
Earth is pseudoscience. You
No.
claim you have
Curve or
science.
no
now.
curve? Wouldn't curve or no
Slow
curve?
down.
Wouldn't be.
What I'm asking you to do is just be neutral for a minute, like we're all capable of being.
That's not how
And
science
I
works.
got one to run by you. Okay, let me start one off. Okay,
Brian,
now,
hold
I thought
on.
of this. God,
Curve or no curve wouldn't be science. That wouldn't fall under the category of science. It's just a measurement. That's you're not doing science with there's curve. And that's a what is question.
That is
It's a
an
what is
observation.
question.
No, it
It's a
is.
what is
It is
question.
part of science. What is questions are part of science.
Okay,
This
you
is
wouldn't
a
have
bullshit-
scientific evidence.
This is where the show is going to go if we let it. Okay, what I'm asking to do is these new people who wasn't around, Biodual wasn't around when me and George and Rumpus and Jeremy and that one dude who had a pretty decent idea. I haven't heard back from him, but just for one show, just chill out on the trolling, just for an hour even, and let's think of something we could do practical to prove it. I got an idea now. We did discuss this before, and the more I thought about it, it wouldn't be that expensive if we get some I'm gonna say 1-inch PVC, okay, and we get about 1.5 miles of it. They sell them in 20-foot sticks, and we could probably get them for $1.
Why not just use tubing?
Hold on, and they're fairly rigid, but what we need to do is we need to brace them. We need to mark them and
Why?
brace them at each. Listen, for fuck's sake, Brenda. Listen, at each jump, we're gonna cap them off at each end, a couple miles, let's just say. Okay, we're gonna float them on top of the water on a nice still day, a lake or something, about 2 miles, and we're gonna cap off each end where they float. Okay, now this is the tedious part. We're gonna have to mark each individual pipe as a straight line and a perpendicular line, and line them up, and then we're gonna have to take and brace off each one at a time. Okay. Now it would be tedious, but it's not that far-fetched of an idea.
Does
So we have
PVC
it floating
bend?
on water. Here's the end all. So we have them floating on water. We got a 2-mile stretch, and we have a handful of people out there, and we turn it on top of the water at the same time, and then we go and we're gonna have to check each and every junction to make sure that it's lined up 90 degrees from where it started. And according to Rumpus, and we pretty much all agreed that a continual line like that, if like a concrete wall or something, it would show the curvature, or if it wasn't curving, and it would show the non-curvature. If that to me, that's feasible, man. That's what I was thinking about doing, man. It wouldn't cost
PVC bends. PVC bends.
That's why we're going to use 1 inch and go junction to junction.
It would still bend. It's plastic. It bends.
I don't
there
know if
wouldn't
that'll
be too
work.
much
That
stress
is a
on it.
long way for PVC, and that's a lot of weight.
I did it. Yeah, it would float, so it wouldn't be much stress. It would take a few people, but I guarantee you, bracing it, the braces would hold if you had just a handful of people. You could probably do it with a person on each. Believe me, I've been out there with a mile of fucking fish line. I understand the distance of it and all that, but that same token, if there, there's not much stress on something that's floating just to turn it 90 degrees. To me, it's more feasible than and we'd see if it bent, we would recognize the bend from our marks on the pipe before we connected them all together. Each individual one would have to line up just right. If it bent, we'd recognize it and we'd be back to the drawing board with better braces or whatnot. But to me, there's no reason this couldn't work.
There's many reasons. I think the most glaring one that we're not thinking of is the precision that you need to ensure that at each junction that it's perfectly straight. Because if the hypothesis is true that the Earth curves and you do this just piece by piece, at each piece, if it's off by a thousandth of an inch, probably maybe even more precise than that, but a thousandth of an inch off from perfectly straight, then
that's why
you're going to be off over a mile.
It's not progressive though. Each piece is its own individual piece, and the marks you'd want them perfect, but it's not a cumulative. Listen, it's not a cumulative. Like if you did a line down a beach or something, or next to a body of water, if you tried to run string, and it'd be a cumulative if you had a bad angle. But with this, it's not a cumulative. You'd have to fuck up a bunch of marks. And
so I have a question for Brian or for any of the flat earthers. When was the last time you tried to prove the flat Earth wrong?
So I think that's a logistical nightmare, though, Brian. Out there floating a bunch of PVC and making marks and
2 miles.
Man, I still think the best idea we came up with was Whitesword's line over 10 miles.
I have an idea. Set up a tripod, get a weight, establish plumb. From the plumb, establish horizontal. Now set up another tripod a good distance away. Do the same thing, and then measure the angles between the local horizontal.
We're going to use refraction, right?
And
we're going to use a refraction measurement. Hold on, guys.
So I haven't been interrupting people. So when you do that, the angles add up to greater than 180 degrees.
No, they don't. Brenda, let me tell you what happens. Okay?
That's an observable, repeatable, falsifiable.
No, bullshit,
okay,
Brenda.
now when you do it accumulative, it shows a flat Earth, okay? And you say that we're shooting our way around a globe. When you do it long distance, you get refraction. You could equate that to a globe, but there's an argument for both ways with the I could say it proves a flat Earth, but I'm not even going to claim that. If you do it short accumulative distances, if you do differential leveling with the plumb bobs, it's going to show a flat Earth, period. If you do it long distance,
that's your claim. That's your claim, but the actual
lean toward the globe.
That's your claim, Brian, but when you actually do it, you're wrong.
I've done it, Brenda.
Hold on, Brian. Let's interrogate this a little bit. So, Brenda, you have 2 tripods, you said, and you're hanging a weight underneath each tripod. Is that right?
To establish your local zenith, yes.
Okay, so that both of them are plumb. Fuck all that local stuff right now. So you've got these 2 tripods with plumb bobs hanging off the bottom of them. Now what?
From that, you create a horizontal, which is 90 degrees to plumb.
And how are you going to create the horizontal?
With a level.
What are you going to hold up a level in between the 2 plumb lines? Are they that close together? How far apart are these?
You could use a level to establish horizontal, yeah.
How far apart are the 2 tripods?
I don't know. It could be any distance. It doesn't matter.
Okay, then pick a distance that you think will work.
It needs to be a good distance.
Pick a distance that you think will work.
3 inches. How about 1,000 miles?
How long, Brenda? Pick a distance. Want to pick a mile?
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet. Now what? Now what are we going to do?
You do the same thing at the other station.
We'll do what at the other station?
Set up plumb and then set up horizontal.
And then what?
Then you establish line of sight between the 2 stations, and you measure that line of sight. And the
And they
angle,
say
And what are we
refraction's
supposed to be
working.
measuring that will tell us whether we're on a
you
curved
would
surface or a flat
Right.
surface?
you would find out that the line of sight, when you add up all the angles from A to B and B to A, that it adds up to more than 180 degrees. And so the
If
plums
we're
are
just-
parallel.
If we're just
That's
going
not
off what
possible.
if we're just going off what we see, then you've been debunked by the Black Swan.
No, it's-
Brenda.
And-
line
Well,
of
hold
sight
on.
is
Let
right.
me
If you
let
have
me
a line
say
of
this.
sight-
We just went over this with
Sure.
Rumpus last night. We talked about the Sears Tower at 1 mile and measuring this angular distance. You know, are you talking about measuring that they're out of plumb, right? That's what you're talking about at the end of the day.
You're
On
talking
the-
about triangular excess,
Right.
Brandon. And if you have a line of sight, then it's got to be a 180-degree triangle, Brandon.
But it's
Line of
not.
sight, unless
It's-
your
it's-
vision
observably
is
not.
ended.
That's the problem. It's
Brenda,
observably not.
It has to be. If you draw
No.
a straight line between 2 points, how do you get angles that are greater than or less than 180?
Because-
Or you said we were
Right.
holding it level, right?
Yes, and the reason you get greater is because the two plumb lines are not parallel.
No, you're not going to
Brenda,
measure that
a
over
line of
1,000
sight
feet. That's
is not a
retarded.
line in reality.
Visually-
A line of sight, straight.
That is a prediction of the globe model.
Well, that's
that-
nice,
Brenda,
but
are you
there's
trying to
no
say that my
way
line
you can
of sight is
practically
big?
measure
Sorry,
that.
Brandon.
It's been
There's just no
done.
fucking way.
It's been done.
No, it hasn't.
Yes, it has.
It's been assumed. It's been assumed.
It's been
okay?
claimed.
It's been globe math.
And the numbers are on his YouTube to prove
Are you
that.
talking about the main
It's
surveyor?
easily debunkable, man.
Yes.
So we just had a discussion with Rumpus last night about the Sears Tower at 1 mile. And he said that there's no possible way that you could measure visually that the Sears Tower was out of plumb from
Yeah.
Now that's a pretty
without an
big
instrument.
building.
Without an instrument. He
No,
meant
with
without
any
an
instrument. Yeah,
This
optically.
seems like two different
Period.
things. It seems like two different things of what you're measuring. Because
No, it's
when
not.
we talk about surveying, that's what's being talked about. When you're specifically determining what angle a thing is at a distance tilting away from you, that is totally separate from what the theodolites and
One
Okay, can
levels.
we at least agree that if
Point
you
done,
draw a
okay?
straight line, if you draw a straight line between these two things, what you're saying that you can measure is that the tilt. That's what it'll be. Out of plumb, so you're going to measure the tilt between the two, the out of plumbness, right?
Brandon, you
No,
got to
so
be
not
careful
the
because
tilt.
these
What you're
guys
me-
think straight lines curve.
So
BioDuel
what
spent
you're
all
measuring-
weekend explaining. BioDuel spent all weekend explaining to me about how a straight line curves.
There we go. This
So-
is a
You're
great
missing
addition to the
stuff,
Is
discussion.
it a curving
So-
straight line or
All
a
you're doing is
non-curving straight line?
Yeah, I know.
What
I know.
Jeremy, what they're trying to prove is that my line of sight is bending. That's retarded.
All right. So what you're measuring when you're doing this with the theodolite, you're measuring the deviation from horizontal. When you're measuring or determining the angle at which something
You're
is
measuring drop then.
hold the fuck on, Brian. So
Wait,
when
you're
you're
measuring a different
Hold
I
on,
know,
Brian.
you're measuring
Come on.
something different, Brian. That's what I'm trying to say. That you're measuring something different. I'm not saying this thing is measuring drop. What I'm saying is when you're doing these measurements and observations, you are doing two different things. One is determining this drop from horizontal. The other one is determining the tilt angle of that thing that's far away. These are two different things.
So which one is going to tell us that the Earth is curved? So we make this straight line through a theodolite, right? We mark a point over on the other plumb line. We mark a point on our plumb line where we have the theodolite. If I connect those 2 points, that's going to be a straight line, right?
Sure.
Okay, then
That
what
would be the
what am I
prediction-
measuring
that
now?
would be a prediction of the flat Earth.
So no triangular excess then. Thank you.
No, so that
What
would
am
be
I
a
measuring
prediction
now?
of the flat Earth.
What
On
am
a
I
globe
looking
Earth,
for? What am I
on
looking
a
for
globe
now?
Earth, you would measure spherical excess.
Oh my God. What am I fucking measuring? What am I physically measuring? Now that I've got
With
this
the
straight
angle-
line,
You're measuring the angle from the plumb to line of sight, and its deviation from horizontal
how am I doing that?
with your
You're
instruments.
establishing this level. So with that line of sight, you're looking across, and that line of sight is, let's just say, 6 feet, exactly 6 feet above mean sea level. And then the thing that you're shooting at is going to be it will have a mark at 6 feet above sea level, and you have it at
Okay,
this
you
distance. So
got
when
to
you shoot
prove that the
across,
sea is bending,
hold
dumbass.
the fuck on, Brian. God damn, man. I'm just
Dude.
explaining the equipment and what
I
we're
know,
going to
but
do.
I'm trying to get you past this. We're trying to prove that the water is bending to begin
Dude,
with.
Brian, we're
We're
going through the foreplay right now. We don't have to bust a nut so quickly. We can go through the foreplay.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Right. So beautiful. So all you're doing is you're establishing this horizontal line of sight and you're shooting across. And if that line of sight is 6 feet above mean sea level and you have a target that's 6 feet above mean sea level at a distance, on a flat Earth, what we would expect, obviously refraction comes into play, but we're talking about a perfect scenario. When you're looking across, that line of sight should be on that target of the same
wrong.
height.
That's your assumption. So you're talking about optical drop then, BioDuo. You're talking about optical drop, right?
Yes, due to curvature, a drop from horizontal. Yes, that's what is being discussed.
That's what you attribute it to, is the curvature, although we can't measure curvature. We can't find any curvature,
would be one
but
way.
you're attributing it to
way.
curvature. We're talking about a test to establish that there is curvature. You're talking about a test that assumes curvature.
No, we can assume either, Brandon. That's the beauty of it. We can assume either. The measurements don't care what we assume. The measurements are the measurements, but we can
That's the whole
predict
point,
what
bro.
they
If we
are
assume a
based on
flat Earth,
assumptions.
we get a flat Earth.
Okay,
We
then I
a
assume
globe,
that
and we get a globe.
that optical drop that we're seeing is due to optics. It's an optical effect caused by perspective.
That's valid. Sure, that's valid. And then I would hypothesize that at any distance these things will drop from this horizontal level, and we can factor in refraction.
Well, dude, you
I've got the same.
Formula.
It's valid. It's valid predictions. That's all.
Let's see your refraction formula.
I've got the same. We've got the same as you. So how do we determine who's right?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, if we're at an impasse like this, then yeah.
Thing because they lose. Did you guys not watch QE's refraction video? They lose.
No one gives a fuck about QE, Jeremy.
Let's go through your refraction.
So my suggestion would be to go at because we should be able to agree that as you raise an elevation,
let's go through your refraction.
So logically, we should just raise our elevation and keep taking measurements. Do this at 6 feet mean sea level. Do this at 7 feet mean sea level, 50 feet, and so on until a healthy height. And then we can look at all the measurements, and if what we see is something that's consistent with a drop, then we know that that's a strong indicator and validation for a drop. I wouldn't say it's proof.
All right, let's see.
Okay, good.
Let's see your refraction. Hold on, Brian. Let's see your refraction formula then.
So for this test, I'm explaining. I'm going to tell you. For this, I'm going to tell you. For this test, the effects of refraction are less than the tolerances of the instruments involved.
Let's see the formula.
The tolerance.
I want to see the formula. This is where you guys lose. He said, fuck QE's video, but QE's video showed us how you guys lose when it comes to refraction. Let's see the fucking formula.
Jeremy, I'm surprised that you think that this is a win or lose situation where we're just discussing these processes and we're. Jeremy, no one fucking cares, man. When you have an original thought, always
they lose on this, Brandon. See, they won't do it because they know this is where they lose.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about refraction, but I totally get what you're saying. Obviously, refraction is going to throw things off. And when you're talking about this over 1,000 feet or a mile, I have a hard time believing that any deviation in this angle that you're supposedly measuring cannot be attributed to refraction.
May I say something, Brandon? Oh, sorry. Once you're done.
So how much is this going to tilt over a mile? Do you know, Brenda?
Use globe math, you can use it to prove spherical excess. If you assume
I was next, Brian. I was next.
Not proof though.
Do you know, Brenda? You're the one who suggested this test. Do you know?
Do I know what?
How much that this is going to be out of plumb compared to this one over 1 mile?
I don't know. I don't know the exact numbers. I mean, I could look them up from the main surveyor.
Know it, Brenda.
Can we agree that it would be very small?
It's within the tolerances of the instruments being used.
No, it's not. The distance is already out of the tolerances.
You don't even know how much it is. How much is the tolerance of the instruments, Brenda?
It doesn't matter. What matters
it doesn't matter.
Right. The details are irrelevant. The point is the logical
Anybody with
consequences.
a high school diploma is an expert in this. I mean,
the point is the logical consequence of this is that it falsifies the flat Earth.
No, it isn't. Go ahead, Silent Zero.
Yeah, if it did, we wouldn't be here, Brenda.
I was going to respond to Bio telling Jeremy that whenever he has an original idea, he will talk. Just want to say that all your ideas are coming from somebody else. Bio, Brenda, and every single one of
beautiful.
you guys.
And one thing
All
we
right.
all agree
Now the
on.
discussion has moved forward so many steps. Good job, Silent.
It's just
Well, wait a
pointing out
minute.
your stupidity, bro.
No, at least he was honest and he said, you know, it really wouldn't prove it either. I mean, if we're being honest, okay, I could say it proves a flat Earth, but in real life, to demonstrate this in real life, it is damn near impossible. It's not impossible, but it's damn near, okay? But let me say this. We all agreed that we could measure a line straight right to left, no deviation right to left. So what we got to do is get one of these lines and turn it on its fucking side. We all agreed that if we had one solid structure, at least a mile long, you know, that and we flipped it on its side, that it would curve. That's why I said if we do it on water, we take away all the stresses. It's the best I come up with unless we draw a straight line on something that we construct or erect, or something already erected, like maybe pylons on a long bridge. We could draw a straight line.
Well,
but to have a continual line, it would have to be some sort
well,
of
maybe
wall.
maybe going back to my original question, which was, how have flat earthers attempted to falsify the flat Earth? Because the way science works is the scientist walks into his lab and tries to disprove whatever theory he's working on.
Let me
So
tell you
when
what
was
I
the
did.
last time?
In
So
many
when
ways,
was-
Brenda. Too many ways to tell you during
So-
this meeting right here. You know that we've been talking.
Here's what I did,
5-6 years,
Brandon.
people have been doing different experiments, talking about this, looking for fucking evidence and stuff. Do you think we've really never looked for anything that would falsify that the Earth is fucking flat?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to me that flat earthers
No,
are
because
interested
everywhere you
in,
look, you see globe, because your step one is always assume I'm on a globe. So it all fucking makes sense to
and
you.
Step 2 is assume a flat Earth.
Yeah, but
No,
let
it's
me
not.
tell them real quick what I did. Okay,
No.
if you look at my oldest video, my very oldest video, it's from a couple of years, it's almost
Brand-
3 years old.
Brand
Hold on,
doesn't
guys.
care about the conversation is going on. He wants to bring what he has in his mind. Go ahead, Brian.
Who? You talking to me, dude? I'm trying to say, she asked a question, what we did. I'm going to tell her what I did personally. Okay, about 3 years ago, I took my fucking instrument out of a Burger Auto level, freshly calibrated. I went down the coast, okay? I come up short of a couple miles because in my mind, when's it going to start fucking curving? Okay, I stayed level with the water. I didn't go as far as I wanted to, but what I did come up with was that the water was a dead straight line using differential leveling
How
down the
did you-
coastline. Now,
how
here's
did
the
you
point,
establish
Brenda.
that? How did you establish that? I'm curious.
By surveying, Brenda, by surveying. Okay,
No, but
now let
you
me
just
tell you
had
my point.
one. I don't
Let me tell
understand.
you
What
my
did you?
point, Brenda. Let me get to my point. What George and them told me is that I was curving my way around the Earth and it just wasn't registering. Okay. Now, that doesn't prove that to me. That was a fucking chicken shit answer after I just went through all that to show that the water's level. But at least they had a fucking response. So that's what happens when you do differential leveling and you close loops. You get elevation changes. Okay. You don't get curvature. You get elevation changes, okay? And if you're doing it with flat water, you don't get any elevation change. It stays flat and level. Now, you could make the claim that I'm curving my way around a ball, but all right, so I hope that wasn't too long.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Hey Brenda, what have you done to try to falsify the globe Earth?
I've carefully considered the arguments that have been put forward by flat earthers, right? And I found all of them to be logically fallacious.
Wow, you've done a lot.
And I've never been provided with any empirical data that would demonstrate or tend to support the theory that the Earth is flat. Not once has any flat earther ever presented a shred of empirical data.
Yes, they have.
To
Brenda,
name
Brenda,
it.
every
Go ahead.
topological
I'm
survey
all ears. All ears. Go
measures
ahead.
flat. Okay,
Okay,
every topological survey before you add curvature corrections is measured flat Cartesian coordinates. Quit fucking lying.
Yeah, Brenda. So surveyors, local surveyors, do they take the curvature into account? We've got one here on the panel. Rodney, are you there? Anyway, he's probably not able to talk. But when a surveyor lays out, I don't know, a foundation or a grid, do they take the curvature into account?
So I would think that geodetic surveyors would be the people to
We're
talk
not talking
to,
about
and
geodetic surveyors.
and not
I'm
people
talking
laying
about people who
not
build a
people laying
building.
right, not people laying foundations for a house, because the amount of curvature for a house or a building is going to be not detectable by any of the instruments they use.
What
Okay.
what is the use for a
Mike,
geodetic
guys,
survey? Brenda, what is the use for a geodetic survey?
What instruments are what instruments?
No,
use
what is
geodetic?
the use for that to exist? What is the use?
It'd be like topographical
State lines,
features of the land.
borders.
Right.
No. It's for state lines, borders. Okay, surveys, land plots. Okay, it's not for elevation. That's not done with fucking theodolites. Okay, maybe mountains. Okay,
Geodetic surveying
that you
doesn't
can't
include the
access.
elevation of topographical features.
Surveyors, okay, assign datums. They add curvature correction to planar surveys. Okay, that's what we get. Listen, I'm not lying. What you get when you take an instrument, okay, is you get compare it to water. You get a zero elevation change up or down. Okay. Now you could say like I said, you could say I'm working my way around a ball and I just don't know it, but that's not proof. Okay. Then you could add curvature corrections. Okay. You could add more and more datums. Back in like early 1900s or like 1920s and shit with the dumpy levels, they had it down where they had it like 100 square miles per square on the disco ball. I think now they got it to like a square, like 10 square miles. And it could be even less than that now. But it's all mathematics, man. They're adding curvature corrections to local surveys and shit.
That just makes sense.
So the local
because-
surveying is done without taking the curvature into account. I think Rodney was going to talk there. I saw him light up.
I don't see him at all in here.
Isn't that him right
Yeah,
there? Paraphrasing.
to be
Kurt?
honest. Oh.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm
me.
mistaken.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Oh, my fault. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm driving. I'm gonna have a good connection.
Yeah, not good at all.
Oh yeah, you're robotic. You're cutting out. All right.
Okay.
That's cool. If you get somewhere where you have a good connection, just
So you understand
let us know.
my original.
So anyway, so we lay out all our buildings and we do all our local surveying. As you guys say, it's locally flat without taking curvature into account. There we go. So that means all of the buildings are built without taking curvature into account. There's some empirical data for you. I think that's pretty good.
Right.
Water
Yeah,
is
that's fine,
assumed
sure.
to be flat and level and find its level. That's how we build. So there's some empirical data for you.
All bridges, train tracks. Okay, none of them use
That's not true.
globe math.
That's not true.
That is true, Brenda.
No, it's
Anything
not.
under 250
The
miles.
uprights,
Is,
the supports point in different directions. It's measurable, and the engineers in the
if you
plans
assume
account
a
for.
globe, Brenda.
No,
Brenda, if you
no.
assume a globe, why can't you be honest? If you assume a
Yeah.
globe and you put the math into it, then you could say, yeah, that proves that them are not plumb. But that's assuming globe math, Brenda. I promise you.
It's not
It's
making
not-
the assumption. It's not making the assumption. It's a known fact, and that's why that they account for these things
Well,
in
then,
large buildings.
let's go
When you're
over it
talking about
again.
when you're
Let's
talking
go
about
over it
these
again.
small
How do we
areas
do
of
it?
land, when you're talking about these small areas of land, even if you make the assumption of the globe Earth and you accept that,
How
when
is
you're
it a
when you're
known
talking about
fact,
these small, because we're not children, Silent. So when they're doing
Bro, you don't
when they're-
understand, bro. You
Here we
don't
go.
understand this shit. You don't understand that it's assuming globe math, bro.
Okay,
I
but
don't know
I'm
why you
trying
won't
to be.
accept this, but it's reality, bro.
I don't know why you have to interrupt people.
Isn't
So,
that what we're arguing?
I don't know why
precisely,
Silent has to
File?
interrupt people.
No. Isn't that precisely what
Silent, are
we're
you
arguing?
interrupting
How
twice
is it?
now? Twice
how
now,
is-
right?
How is it a known
No,
fact?
no, Silent, address it.
That's
Are
what
you
we're
interrupting
that's what
twice
we're
now?
debating here.
Are you interrupting twice now? Relax.
Right?
So when we're
Besides,
talking about
or-
these small distances and small building plots and things like that, even if you want to measure the Earth curvature, the precision of that is out of the equipment used for that area. So it's almost like saying I'm going to use this ruler because I'm drawing lines on this piece of paper, and what I'm doing only works in millimeters, but you're going to be off in the nanometer. But it doesn't matter. So if the precision required to detect it is in nanometers, but what you're doing is operating in millimeters, then it doesn't fucking matter what those nanometer readings are.
Now I'm gonna point out another inconsistency on your thought process. A couple minutes ago, Brian said his example of a test, and you came in here saying that because there was gonna be a really small discrepancy, it wasn't valid.
Right, because those small discrepancies add up, almost like you have a square function Remember when we
Only
talked
when
about 8 inches per mile squared?
Only when we're
So when
talking
your
about
distance is extremely small, it's an extremely small number. But once you get to
Only-
a mile and a half, those small deviations add up, don't they?
only when we're talking about the flat Earth, right? Because when we're talking about the globe, we can dismiss it, right? Oh, it's just it's not important. It doesn't matter. That's your fucking answer every time we point out
what do you think,
inconsistencies on your measurements.
Here, let's do it this way. How about at every 6 inches? At every 6 inches, you're going to have a deviation of 1/1000th of an inch. So nothing that you would ever care about in that 6 inches. Now, at every 6 inches for a mile and a half, add up the thousandth
Hold
of
on,
an
bro.
inch.
We can
And
do
then you tell
millimeter
me what
accurate
the
over 1
difference is at
mile with
the end.
auto
It
level,
is
bro.
a big difference.
Just to save your breath, bro, we can get 1 millimeter
You don't
accuracy.
think we can measure?
I'm
You
gonna say
don't think we can measure?
personally, I can. Oh my god.
You don't think we can
Personally, I can get
measure
about 5
the size
millimeters
of a
accuracy
hair?
over 1 mile, bro.
Right, Brian. We can measure the size of a hair. What are you talking about, Brandon? I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean personally,
I know we can look at an
I
atom
can get
too,
about
but we're not
5
looking at atoms when
millimeters
we're
over a mile.
surveying, right?
Personally.
well, you can measure one, right? Isn't it what
Right,
you guys claim?
you can measure an atom, but we're not measuring
why
atoms
we
when
cannot
we're doing
measure what you're
surveying,
saying?
Silent. There's false equivocation. Everyone here.
Bro,
knows.
how are you going to prove I'm shooting my way around the globe? Hold on, they could get 1 millimeter accuracy over a mile. Let's just say we'll double that. Say 2 millimeters accuracy over a mile with auto levels, professionals. Okay, I'm gonna say I could get about 4 or 5 millimeters accuracy over a mile. Even though I do it every day, I could probably do as good as anybody. But how are you going to prove I'm shooting my way around a ball? Okay, now show me the math that proves that them beams on that bridge are not plumb. Show me the math. If you do that, you will see that it's assuming a globe, but you haven't looked it up yet. Once you do, you'll be like, oh yeah, well fuck, they're
Real
fucking
world measurements.
fucking radius and shit.
Real world measurements
pull
will
it up,
measure.
Brenda,
Real
pull
world,
it up.
real world measurements show that
Okay,
the top
you made the
of
claim.
the
Now pull it
Jesus
up, and we'll
Christ.
go over it together.
I just get talked over. Screw
Yeah,
it.
well, let's just
We
try
don't
not to
want
interrupt
talk,
each other
Brenda.
so
We want
much.
you to go pull it up, please. Yeah, I just want her to pull it up. I don't want talk. I want to pull it up, and we'll go over it together. She made
I
a
know.
claim.
I got
What
you,
would
I
you
Brian,
want her
but
to pull it up.
Would you accept something? Would you accept something like blueprints of what like LIGO was provided, but in
Yes,
bridge form?
dude. Yes, and
Okay.
once you see the
It wasn't a
equations, you'll
gotcha or anything.
realize that it's
I just
fucking
wanted to know.
assuming a globe.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
I'll try to find him. I'll try to find him for sure.
Right. Brandon, it's gonna take this with Bodul to see the equations and to realize, oh shit, yeah, they are fucking assuming a globe. You know, so it ain't disproving a globe, but it's most certainly fucking not proving one. And painfully, we have to be honest about that because we've already went through all this shit. Sometimes I just feel like lying when I'm dealing with liars because they don't even know they're lying. So technically, I guess they're not really lying; they're just ignorant on the subject. But once he pulls up the equations, he's gonna realize that proof he's got is a fucking assumption.
Oh no, I'm gonna try to find these blueprints and diagrams of construction of.
We've
long
already
bridges.
done this,
That's what
bro.
I'm gonna look up.
We've already done this, so I'm just gonna do it again for you.
So what did it show? No angular change from.
Just
end to
get
end?
the equations, bud. Just
Well,
pull
you
up the
said you've already
equations.
done it. I don't care about the
Yeah,
equations, man.
you're gonna
I'm
need
not
a
talking about the
radius.
equation. This is why I asked about blueprints for a long bridge, like LIGO. I said, and you said yes. So that's what I'm looking
fucking
at.
prove your globe. Do you hear me? You're gonna need a radius to prove your globe, which is what the fuck is in contention.
I mean, if we're gonna devolve that much, then I shouldn't look up these blueprints, right?
What do you mean if we're gonna devolve? I want you to see that it's not proving the globe. You hear this all the time, but I want you to see with your own two eyes that it is not globe proof, bro.
So what am I doing right now? Am I trying to validate the radius, or am I trying to validate the construction of these long bridges? What am I doing?
The radius is in the math that proves that they're not plumb, bro.
Well, you tell me what I'm doing,
what
then.
they claim is. Let me tell you what else is their triangular excess. Listen, hold on. Their triangular excess also involves radius math, okay? Which is what is in contention, bro. Once you go over all this shit, you'll see it doesn't prove a flat Earth, but it does not prove a globe. We've been over all this shit, dude.
All right,
you're a little late to the party, man.
Right, I'm gonna ask one more time. Am I right now looking to validate the radius value, or that there is a radius, or am I looking up specific blueprints for long bridges to see what or how they constructed it, what they accounted for? What am I doing right now?
You're bringing up the blueprint. You're bringing up the blueprint so that I guess Brian can guide you on how
Will Gaston, $5. New game. Every time Brenda uses the word science wrong, drink. I think if you did that, Will, you're probably pretty drunk already. So good idea if you want to get hammered. Dan the Waterman, $5. Shout out to Brenda. LOL, best rage quit ever? Question mark. Should I bring that up to her, Dan? Maybe. Thank you, Dan.
Let me go check it. Okay?
So anyway, Brenda, you had asked for some empirical data or what empirical evidence there is for the flat Earth.
Yeah, and then
my answer
I
would be it's pretty obvious, and it would be the default position. So from there,
no, that's not how anything works. That's not how anything works.
It is how things work.
Obvious is a subjective opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's called begging the question. That's what that is.
Well, show me your physical measurement of curvature, and then we'll be done.
No? What?
Show me a physical measurement of curvature, and we'll be done.
You claim that
we've shown visible measurements of curvature by giving basic distances between known places. That's how to measure the shape of something. You measure the points on its surface. And
Meisty, did you see my satellite video with the sat cube stretching 700 miles straight as an arrow?
Why are you changing the subject? Why are you changing the subject?
You asked for proof of a
Meisty
plane.
was talking.
Hold on, Brian.
Proof. Okay.
Brando,
Okay.
I posted the picture, show you the curve. End of story. You said show me, and let's finish with it. There it is.
We already talked about this.
Brandon, you asked, hey, how can you measure this curvature? You measure the distances between points on its surface. That's how you measure the shape of anything. And so here you go.
We already talked about this one, Chaiki. That's what we started off talking about with BioDuel.
So
at least Bio acknowledged that you are assuming the curvature.
We can assume both. That's what I said.
Earth.
Right, we can assume both.
Sorry?
No, I'm not assuming both.
Yeah, you can
I'm
assume either way.
assuming
I
flat Earth.
agree.
Because
So
if I wait.
No, that's not how it works. You are assigning this deviation from what you expect it to be to curvature. You're not measuring any curvature. You're measuring some kind of optical delta between objects at distances, and you are assigning it to curvature. There's no curvature in this picture.
Right. So you have to explain.
Just a second. I want to clarify. If
I'm sorry.
The observer eye level would be much higher. I assumed flat Earth. That's why it's so low.
No, see, that's where your presuppositions are coming in.
No,
and that's what I'm asking you.
No, I am assuming it's
That's
flat.
what I'm asking you to support is your presupposition of how this should
Chucky,
look.
why don't we get that with a lot of short measurements, bro?
Didn't I tell you already? The tower is 600. The observer is at 1200. So to be at the tower, where the tower is, at the same level as the observer, you need to be 2 towers up.
No, see, that's what you're not understanding, Chaiki. What I'm telling you, what I am explaining to you is that you are expecting something, right? You say, observers up here, you think this tower should be up here, right?
I don't think I see the tower.
Do you think that on a flat Earth, this tower would be this high?
What do you mean? It's that high.
Do you think the observer's eye level is up here, right? That's what this red line is?
Yes, because the observer is at 1200.
Okay, so the observer's at 1200 feet. Is this supposed to be 1200 feet? Is this supposed to be 1200 feet up here, this line?
If the tower is 600 and this is 2 towers up, then yes, it's 1200.
Okay, so in your model of how you think things should work on a flat Earth, this tower should be up here if we're on a flat Earth. Is that the argument you're making?
Wait, I don't see it.
He's sharing the screen. He's sharing.
You think this tower should be up to the top red line, the observer eye level 1200 feet line, correct?
Negative. The
Is that
tower
what you're saying, Chaiki?
The observer level is that high.
Okay.
So if you want someone the same level where the
It
tower
cannot
is
be
as
that
the
high.
observer, it needs to be 2 towers up. That's
It cannot be that
1200,
high.
600.
Chaiki,
plus
you're not
600
giving me a
equals
straight answer.
1200. Get it?
Chaiki, you're not giving me a straight answer.
He said no.
Okay,
So
Brandon,
no.
do you want an actual
So
straight
what
answer
are you
now?
trying to say with this picture, Chaiki? Where is the curvature in this picture?
It's there.
Where?
The mountain dropped below 1200. It's there.
Why do you
Brandon,
think
allow
that
me.
the mountain shouldn't drop below 1200?
Because it's
Chaiki,
above
700 feet of
1200. It's
satellite, you're going to use that.
1750.
Brian,
So
stick with
what?
the point right now.
Well, Brandon,
So
because
it's above.
because
So
the mountain is 1,700 feet, it should be above the tower, but it's not. It's level with the tower.
No, it needs to be above eye level.
You think
No, no.
that this mountain
You
should
see
be
the-
above here if we're on a flat earth? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, let me
Yes.
tell you something. That is an unsupported assumption.
No,
That's
it's
what I'm
not a
trying to tell
concept.
you.
I modeled it.
I don't give a fuck how many
And
times you modeled
don't
it.
give a
Modeling is not real
fuck.
life.
Thank you very much. So, no, geometry is not real life, right?
Chaiki, here's
Did
the
I
deal.
say geometry wasn't real life? I know you're going to try to
Well.
weasel into fucking the cat's argument.
Well, if Earth
I
is
want to
flat,
know why
then
you
we
think
need to
that this
work
mountain should
geometry.
be at 1750 on a flat earth.
It's not should be. The mountain is 750. There's no question about it.
You think it
People
should be
went
up
and
here,
measured it
right?
to be 750,
You
Well-
think this mountain should be up here, right?
right?
Okay. I don't. This fits
Ah,
perfectly
you
on
don't-
my model of
you
how it
don't-
should
why
work on a
don't
flat
you?
earth.
Why don't you? What excuse you have to for the
It's
mountain
not
to
an
be below eye
excuse.
level if Earth is flat?
First of all, may I point something
Optics don't work
out,
like
Brandon?
you're supposing they
picture.
do.
They do.
This is just geometry.
No,
do.
they don't.
They do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Well, the key
How
component
did
to
you
this is
identify
the
that
mountains in
curvature as the
background-
cause of this 1750-foot mountain not being up here? How did you determine that? Experimentally.
He
What do you
thinks,
mean? We see
can I
it's
say
not
something,
up there,
Brandon,
right?
about this? He thinks, you see that red line with the eye
I
level,
don't think.
where he puts the eye level? Brandon?
Yeah.
He thinks that from that point going down, that whole thing is curvature of the earth, because his mistake is thinking that that's where eye level should be, because the guy is 7.
You're cutting out, I think, Silent Zero.
Are you
Hey,
saying,
long distance observations do not match a globe or a flat Earth. It's
no,
somewhere
they match
between.
globe.
So,
They match
hey,
globe
Brandon,
perfectly.
hey,
What
Brandon,
is 7/6 then, Brenda?
They match. So what Chaiki is saying in this picture, and correct me if I get you wrong, Chaiki, is that the mountains should be 550 feet above the red line
Okay,
for the eye level.
let me make his point before you cut out. He's making a point where you're assuming on a flat Earth the horizon comes up to eye level, okay? And with a theodolite or an auto level, it does not when you zoom out. But when we zoom, we start dealing with refraction. So we could say it proves anything. Just depends on what part of day. George showed the horizon coming up above the auto level, and he blamed that on refraction. Okay, so long distance observations don't prove either one. I thought we've been through this a million times.
No, they definitely do. And when you talked with Ranty, he definitely showed to you that the Blackpool Tower proves a globe Earth.
It doesn't. It doesn't prove a globe because you
But
have an
it completely
unsupported
refuted
assumption
Brian.
that you refuse to acknowledge.
No. I put out a video of Ranty debunking that his own fucking dumbass argument.
No, they showed
Go to
you
my
trying.
channel,
They showed you.
Ranty.
They showed it
My
to you.
video saying is Ranty lying then or is he lying now? I've got Ranty debunking that very same argument, Brenda.
So,
Well, the key
Brandon,
factor
may I
to this
address
one that Chaiki is bringing up is that the mountains are far away. If the mountains were at the same distance to that tower, then yeah, it would be 1750, like that red line that Brandon's drawing at the top. It would be that. But the key factor is that the mountains are far away; they're at a further distance, and so as perspective, everything is going to be converging. The angular sides are going to reduce. Everything's disappearing. So of course you can get that effect of the mountains appearing lower because of their distance and perspective.
Don't say perspective. They do not understand.
So
perspective.
Chaiki should be able to respond to that, please. Chaiki, could you respond, please?
I want to address this.
Yeah. Well, you can only say it because you have zero knowledge about no refraction or perspective.
Well, Chaiki, if there's a mountain that's 5,000 feet tall and you're right in front of it, it's huge, right? You look up 5,000 feet. If that mountain is 30 miles away, 50 miles away, it's a teeny tiny thing. So it will reduce. Yeah. These mountains here have reduced in their angular appearance because of distance due to perspective. It's literally that simple.
Here's the point, okay?
Now
that picture right there that you're seeing. Hold on, Chuck. Let me just address this. Because you're so fucking dumb out of belief. This picture, the eye is symmetrical, right? We capture the same goes with the camera. From the center of the camera or your eye, it captures the same to the bottom and it captures the same above to the top from the center. So the eye line, the center point of view for that person is in the middle of this fucking picture. Your red line up there, that's where you go into cuckoo land. You know, you're going mental on this shit.
No.
I don't know from where you get this. Every single observation in real life, your eye is at the center view. Your eye, you see the same thing from the center to the bottom, and the center to the top is the same.
That's not how photography works.
That's not how photography works. That's how it works, you morons. See, I told you, this is where they're playing the trick on you guys. That fucking line, it's outrageous. I don't know how you guys can.
You can't draw. You can't give me any explanation. You can't draw it. You can't explain what you say, right? I posted my modeling of this, yes, in what it's called, Blender, and that's 1-to-1. Yes, everything.
What
is
good
1-to-1
is the modeling going to do us if it's based on your assumptions?
Assumption that Earth is fucking flat.
Yeah, but you're still assuming how optics works over long distance. You still assume what we should see.
Look at my second
listen to me. You got it stuck in your head that it should be a Euclidean relationship in perspective view when we're looking out. I understand your assumption.
Yes, there's no assumption.
Glenn, can you explain this better, bro? Because I know you understand what I'm saying. Can you explain it better?
Yeah, let's give Glenn the floor. Go ahead.
I mean, number one, you've got 600 foot there for Blackpool Tower, and it's only 530 foot. 540 maximum, including the land.
Let's change it.
Yeah, well, either way.
I have a question for Chaiki.
Hold on a minute.
I have not finished.
Data.
We will raise eye level.
Hold on, let me finish what he was saying.
We will raise eye level. Is that okay with you?
Your observer eye level is based at the Blackpool Tower.
No. It's 1,200 feet. It's not based on Blackpool Tower.
So why have you doubled the Blackpool Tower's height?
Okay, we will put the eye level higher if you
failed. Destroyed. It's already destroyed.
Higher. We will put the eye level higher.
Why? You can put it anywhere you want if you're just making shit up.
You said it's only 540.
No, you've just lied and said that you wasn't taking it for a Blackpool Tower, but you doubled Blackpool Tower.
120 to eye level because it's only 2 towers high, and it needs to be more than 2 towers high. Then
so you are taking it as the tower.
Eye level.
So you're taking it as the tower.
Doesn't help you.
Is the camera pointing down then? Is the camera pointing down?
I was gonna say that.
Doesn't matter.
Is the camera pointing down or straight out?
Obviously, it's pointed down.
How do you know? By how many degrees?
Because you see the horizon at the middle, about the middle, and the horizon is not at eye level. Therefore, it must be.
You can't see the horizon. It's behind the mountains.
Limit yourself to 33% mic time, okay? And let the others use the other statistics.
Glenn, do you agree or not that that line in the center is where is the horizon for that picture?
Glenn, what made you think that telling me that the Blackpool Tower is actually lower is going to help you in any way?
Because you got wrong figures. If you've got wrong figures, you've done wrong
No.
calculations, you idiot.
No,
It's not only wrong. Here's the major problem. Chaiki, here's a question for you, Chaiki.
Shut the fuck up.
Chaiki, I'm going to ask you a question to see if you understand.
I'm not going to answer you anything.
Is there a difference between how the eye function works? Is there a difference between how the eye function works to the neutral point of the horizon line versus the camera? Do you have to line up the camera to match the horizon, or does it do it naturally like the eye does it? Is there a difference there?
Is just like so insane.
Okay, so RC, you can answer the question for Chaiki.
Go away.
Let Chaiki answer. He asked him a question.
You ask your question. Now go away. I posted the second picture. This is my. Can you make
the camera up to the horizon? Right? You have to angle the camera to the horizon, don't you? Right, you moron.
So the second picture is from my modeling, and pay attention.
Your modeling is incorrect if you've used these figures, Chaik, mate. You've just done pointless modeling.
Like
I don't see your second picture anyway, Chaiki.
I don't see it either.
It's 6-1. 1 minute.
Take an observation take an observation where we see what we shouldn't even see at all.
This right here? Is this what you're talking about? This hallway looking thing?
Yes. The red line is the tower. The green square is the mountain. And
this
the X side is eye level.
This is hilarious.
And you see the exactly the ratios they should be. The tower is much lower than eye level, and you can see the sea between the tower. I am serious.
Are you serious?
You are welcome to try.
He's done this in paint. He hasn't done this in the 3D model.
Gleam, he's just illustrating the concepts involved.
Oh, so this isn't modeling. This is something else, or what?
The concepts are wrong.
He's put the horizon too high up.
The relationships between the objects.
Hold on, Glenn.
It's incorrect.
Y'all told us long distance observations don't prove nothing.
Glenn,
hold on, Chaiki.
I'll open
you
now.
said long distance observations don't prove nothing, bud. Why are you changing your tone, man?
Brian, you're just derailing. Hold on.
Yeah,
I will open our Blender and I'll show you it's in Blender and expect you to disappear and make yourself
Blender's not that good enough.
Like trees and
it's
leaves.
not accurate.
Okay.
How long is that?
See, why have you got the horizon?
Let me point out something. Let me just say this, Glenn. That picture, if the guy is observing at the horizon, we're missing half of the picture, right, Chaik? On the top. Because if that's the whole picture, then the center point is the horizon.
He said that the vertical bar is the tower, the green square is the mountain, the crosshair in the mountain is the eye level where it should be.
Yeah,
and
this is nonsense. This how you think it should be on a flat Earth?
Look at the compression
fucking
difference.
nonsense. This is
it's not even lined up right.
Shit.
It is. It's just made up nonsense. You seriously.
It's what happens when you don't understand. Yeah.
So you
Sorry.
just deny.
Trying to be Jim
You just deny. Is that it?
No, I've just proved that he's got his figures wrong. The observer eye level's wrong, and now is this petty diagram.
How do you know its eye level's wrong?
Because it's based at the actual. It's double the height of the tower.
No,
it is.
Idiot.
It is.
No.
Why is it double the height of the tower then?
No, it's based on what the guy said.
You said it's double the height of the tower. I heard you specifically earlier.
I said it's 1,200 feet. Therefore, it's double the height of the tower. Do you listen when I talk?
And that's exactly what I've just said.
So, if the tower is not 600, we need to raise eye level. You idiot! Eye level.
So where's the eye level on the mountain then?
1,200 feet.
Yes. So it's 600 feet. So it's only about a third of the mountain then down. So why have you put it all the way up there?
Here, we can do the
Because
mountain.
I know,
No, we could do the mountain.
No, I
We can
don't
do
know
the
the mountain. No, we
Right.
can't do the mountain because
Exactly.
I have no.
Exactly.
I have no.
Right.
That if you want to do the
Completely
mountain,
fluff
if
the
you want to
argument.
do the mountain,
Think, Chai,
doesn't
think,
help you anyway.
Chai.
It doesn't
Right,
help
so
you
let's
because
do the
on the
mountain.
He
mountain.
got you.
Let's do the
Hold
mountain.
on, no, Bio. Don't, Bio. You don't do this shit.
Yell and spiral
Now,
again,
because
man.
we
And we're trying to
covered-
explain something like
No, nobody's spiraling. You are spiraling right now. You're the one spiraling, but
I know, that's
because
why you're interrupting and
if
yelling.
the eye observer is at 1,200 feet and he doubled the size of that thing, that means that mountain, it should be the observer should be below that fucking mountain, right?
Right.
If the Earth was flat,
You got
yes.
it. You
Welcome
got
to
it.
Globe Earth. Welcome to Globe Earth, there, buddy.
You moron.
Yes.
That
that's
fucking
what we
what
see in
that
my.
line, Brenda,
That's
he just
what we
took
see
the
in my
size of the
modeling.
tower and
So things don't
he
shrink.
said, okay, from here to here, he measured it and he just put the line up there. In his fucking
Why you say
imagination,
things
that's
don't-
what he
don't
thinks.
shrink?
He's mixed up the height of the mountain at the distance
I haven't
of
mixed
Blackpool
up
Tower.
nothing.
You
nothing.
have.
Because
You
you
have
see in my
also done
no,
that,
you
okay.
see in my modeling that the mountain indeed shrinks.
1,200 foot eye height, yeah, is the observer eye height where the mountain is stood on, looking over, double the height
And
of Blackpool
if you
Tower.
would take my picture,
Yeah.
you would see the tower is higher than the mountain in my modeling because that's how it should be.
Chucky, how far
No.
away is the mountain in the back? How far?
You've made the wrong
90
model, mate.
miles.
90 miles. So you're expecting something that's 90 miles away to tower above that 600-foot tower? Is that what you're thinking?
So not
If
not
that
tower
is
above.
flat.
What's going to happen is that when you establish your eye level, that's where it's going to
man.
converge to.
This is
Oh,
truly
shit, I
Hold on,
cannot
hold on.
handle
It's
these
very
people,
simple.
bro.
It's very simple. I know you're spiraling.
No,
Hold on.
it's
Very
not.
simple. Very
No,
simple.
no, Bio.
Things that when you establish your eye level, let's say 1,200 feet, if no matter how far something is away, if it's taller than 1,200 feet, it will approach your eye level, but it won't cross over. That is
Unless
the
you're
difference
No, when
tilting
between
it.
being
once
there.
something hits the horizon,
Isn't
it quits
isn't
going
it
up.
scary,
okay?
guys? Isn't it scary that they think that they're actually smart by posting this kind of shit, right?
Yeah, ignore the
Yeah, they
evidence.
can
Stop
find
talking
a
about the
couple
evidence.
observations.
There you go.
They can
And
find a
then-
couple
Personal attacks
observations
instead
that
of the
might
evidence
match a
being
globe
presented.
and
Yeah,
think
the
that it's
evidence
proof
that's
of a
all
globe.
wrong. Ignore that,
No,
yeah,
so it's
because it's
not
all
wrong.
wrong.
Here, let me ask you a
so
very specific
wrong.
question.
Don't
Let me
check
ask-
the height of
let me-
Blackpool Tower.
And-
Is that
Right.
right?
And
Now
you
you're
can-
lying.
I would
the
think
height,
you'd be
the height
more
of the Blackpool
smart
Tower
and
is
smarter.
500.
Ayo,
The height of the
I
Blackpool
would
Tower
think that
is
you're smarter
519
than
feet,
this shit.
but the base sits above sea level. So that's
Yeah,
where the
10
600 comes
meters.
in.
10 meters. No, it doesn't. Bullshit. I've checked it out. I've got it on the ordnance
Okay,
survey
then
map.
let's
It's
do
10
it.
fucking meters.
Then let's do it then, right
Yes,
now.
it's
So if it's 10 meters,
530 odd meters, you
Okay.
twat.
okay, so no, 530 feet, right?
Feet, sorry.
You're fine. So 530 feet. Okay, that's fine. So
So
now
he's got
what's
it
going to happen?
wrong.
Okay. We can address that and fix it. If you think it's wrong, we can use 530 instead of 600 feet. What you're going to find is
No,
that
no,
that
you're not
eye-
gonna fix
Hold
something.
on,
Come
Silent.
No.
Please
Fuck
fucking
off,
hold on.
With
I
something
know what's
fixed,
going to happen.
because I'm not believing something that's broken. Sorry.
No. We
Yeah.
can fix
At
it.
least admit.
If
All
you
right,
think
hold
it's
on.
broken, we can fix it,
Bio.
right?
At least admit that this shit is wrong.
Go away. Have
No,
a
I'm
talk.
not going
Come
to say
back.
correct.
Give
The
something
argument is
fixed.
sound. The argument is sound, but we can play with the numbers. That's fine. So if you want to use 530 feet instead of 600, that's
Holy
fine.
shit.
But you know the logical conclusion of this is that the eye level is now going to be higher than what's listed there. You know
The
that's
eye
going to be
level
the
is at
logical
the horizon.
conclusion.
The eye level is at the horizon.
It's
That's
at
the
What
the
eye
center of the
level?
eye
horizon.
line.
It's at
Eye
the
level
horizon
where?
if the observer is close to sea level. That's where your eye level is going to be. If you're at
Your
1,200 feet, your eye
horizon
level
is
is going to
the
be
center
1,200
of this
feet.
picture.
So it doesn't drop down with distance.
No, your eye level, no. Your eye level extends out to infinity. What happens to
So
objects
he's
at,
pointing
in the
down,
distance? Hold on.
and that
What happens?
is pointing up to the sky.
It doesn't matter which way you point it. Your eye level is your eye level based on your height. If you point up, the line, your eye level is going to remain the same. If you point it down,
What
your eye
part
level
of
is
your
still
eye
the same
level
because
thinks is the
it's based on your height, not your angle of your camera.
Bio, what part of your eye thinks creates the horizon? What part of your eye you think?
That's the
that
dumbest
creates the
fucking question
horizon?
I've ever heard, Silent. So James, all
The
the
eye
things-
doesn't create the horizon, idiot. The eye doesn't create
you
the horizon.
fucking moron.
Right, exactly.
See, that's the problem, Brandon. I know for a fact that the eye, the
There we
center of
go.
your eye, creates the horizon.
No,
And then-
no, it doesn't.
Hold on,
Holy
Brenda.
shit.
Hold on.
Holy shit.
Can a flat earther correct him, please? Can a flat earther please correct him? Because
Yeah, you're not going
going
to call us out to correct people
Let-
like that.
let
But
me-
let's
Is he wrong or right?
let me understand
Let me-
this
let me correct
diagram.
Is he
I'm
wrong or right?
Where's eye level in
tell
your
you why.
diagram here? Where's eye level in this diagram?
Is that cloud
Becky?
below eye level in the background then?
The eye level is essentially with a known height of that person being 1,200 foot on a hill.
So that cloud in the background is below 12,
of other things.
1,200 foot.
We're assuming a flat Earth. We're assuming a flat Earth. So
Just
because we know
No,
the
you're
top
not.
of the tower is
Your flat
about,
Earth assumptions
we are
suck.
100% are. We are 100% are.
Your flat Earth assumptions suck.
Listen.
Okay, then correct the assumption.
Bio.
Correct the assumption then.
Bio.
Sir, answer the question about the cloud.
Grab your finger, Bio. Grab your
Is
finger.
that cloud at eye level? The one in the picture where the line is that at
Yeah,
eye
that
level?
cloud, that cloud below eye level.
The eye level.
Everybody
the
asks
eye
that.
level.
Yeah.
The eye level is the center of the picture. That's
Right,
where the eye
that's your eye
level.
level. Yeah.
The center of the picture.
So he has the
So the
cloud.
cloud-
He has the
Cloud
cloud
just
below
below
eye
it.
level.
That's the horizon. That's the horizon.
It's not the center of the picture. Again, you can
It's the center
angle
of the
your
picture,
camera
the
up or
horizon.
down.
Grab your
eye level
finger.
doesn't change.
Let me demonstrate you in real life. Grab your fucking finger, put it on the bottom of your eye, and then take it to the middle of your eye, of the center of your eye. There's your horizon. You're creating a horizon.
Hey, silent.
That's
Hey,
what your
silent.
eyes does. That's
Again,
what your
can
fucking
I
eye
please correct
does
him
in
before he
real
gets too
life.
far?
You
Silent.
can go.
Pull my finger.
No, Brenda.
Silent. Pull
I'm
my
not- I'm
finger.
not take-
Pull my finger. Silent. Pull my finger.
You see what they got, Brandon? You see? You see?
Shut
There
up,
you go.
turd burglar.
I think I got something here. So if this is true, right, and it's not flat, what is it?
Give this
What the
effect.
fuck?
That's the argument.
You
That's
don't
the
you don't
argument.
know what you're talking about still. All you're doing is you'll still talk about flat earth again and again and again. Even for you, this is not proof.
Right.
Read these super chats. Earth is life, $5. Shout out. Any actual surveyor knows the curvature is taken into account over long distance. If not, large errors will arise in their measurements. I don't think that conflicted with anything that we said. We were talking about short distances. But we'll see. I can't wait for Rodney to have a conversation with Larry GPS. $5. Earth is life. Thank you. I'm surprised they haven't talked yet. An anamorphic mind, $2. 1825 days and still no flat Earth evidence. Boom. All around you, anamorphic mind. That's all the evidence you have.
Let's try this, Brian, real quick. At this moment, if we all agree to that, no one should speak about this anymore, right? Let's see how long that lasts.
No, let's speak of it honestly and say
Oh,
it
so we are
doesn't
gonna
prove
speak
it
of it.
either
Okay.
fucking way.
No,
You
tell
can't-
me.
Y'all can't be saying that this proves a globe, this proves a globe, when we're being honest on this channel saying, man, there's all kinds of shit going on and we wouldn't know 100% for sure either way, man. I mean, let's be fair and say that this shit, it's harder to fucking prove a globe
It's
or
not
flat
really
Earth than
hard.
people think.
It's not really
See,
that hard.
then we
It's
get
not hard.
that. Then we get the dishonesty
So
from
we
the
can
turd
talk about
burglar.
it. We can talk about the evidence, or we can ignore it, Brian. You tell us. What do you want us to do?
I
Completely
honestly-
ignore it?
I honestly don't even know how you think that this is evidence.
Right.
I mean,
so
we've
the
had
past like
this
10 minutes,
discussion about
no one
this
can explain
photograph.
it.
We've had this discussion about this photograph at least a half a dozen times in here. Chike's presented it probably 50 times over at Nathan's, and it doesn't show anything. We know the observer isn't up in the clouds, and yet that's where he has the eye level
falsifies.
marked. That's where he has the eye level marked is in the cloud.
Right, because that's the argument. That is the argument, Farming. That is the argument that because we're on a globe, we would get this effect. If we were on a flat Earth, we wouldn't. That is the argument. That's why it's brought up.
Yeah, it may be hard to prove the
as
globe, but
Silence
it's
already
easy to
pointed out-
debunk that.
As Silence already pointed out, you can already see where the natural eye level of the observer is at the horizon. So either your camera was pointed down, or the guy wasn't actually at 1,200 feet. There's other things that can explain it other than a globe.
Right.
Let me explain it now. Let me explain it straight away. Biojoule, let me explain
Yes,
it.
it's hard to prove a flat Earth, but it's easy to prove a globe.
Each of those wind turbines are about 328 feet. If you're talking the ones on the horizon, has to be 3.5 times that would be 1,200 foot. So that line is too low.
Okay, beautiful. That is a great point as well. I accept that 100%. That's another reason why
So
it breaks
all the
down if we
figures are
assume a
wrong.
flat Earth. If we assume flat Earth, you're right. There are many issues in this picture. You're 100%
It's
correct.
not. It's issues with this picture.
Do you
He's
know how?
assumed something completely wrong, using wrong figures, and
What
you're
did I
expecting
assume?
us to go, yeah, this
We
is
assume
right.
we assume flat Earth, and you're only pointing out more issues.
That is
Thank
not. That
you.
is assuming wrong.
Thank you for bringing up
Gleam,
more issues.
Gleam,
Assuming flat Earth, yeah.
Hey, Gleam, do you know how science is done? It's done by
Just go up
assuming.
100,000
I've
feet
just
and
done
look
it.
out. It's
No,
fucking
Just
flat,
done it
dude.
and
Science
showed that
is- science is
these
done.
lines is not science. These
Right,
lines are
science
just drawn
is
on there
science
randomly.
Taking a picture from Twitter is science taking a picture off of Twitter and then making claims about it when you know nothing about it, and you.
And then saying everyone must believe you
so-
because you've
so-
drawn
so-
lines
so-
on there.
So science is done. Science is done.
This isn't science.
Gleam,
This
be
isn't
quiet.
science.
Gleam, allow me to finish, please. So science is done by assuming a
You
hypothesis.
don't know what
It-
science is.
Be
You don't
quiet.
even
So
know. You don't even know
science
what
is
science
done by assuming
Brenda,
a
you think science
hypothesis.
is a shoe.
Excuse me. Shut up.
Right.
We don't need to hear this
Be
again,
quiet.
Brenda. We're good. We're good, Brenda.
Science is
We don't need to
done
hear it
by
again. We're
assuming
good,
a
Brenda. Thank you very
hypothesis
much. We're good,
and
Brenda. Thank you.
attempting to prove
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Got anything to say about the picture?
Brenda, you think science is a shoe? What are you? You're disqualified, ma'am. You
Yeah.
are disqualified. Sit down.
She's why I fucking looked into flat Earth. I swear to God, her and Rumpus are the very fucking reason why I fucking was like, damn, flat Earth, this shit might be real. Listen to these idiots, and that's why I love having her on here. Don't cut her off. Let that dumbass talking. She's fucking retarded. Anybody with common sense hears her talking, and they know she's fucking retarded.
She's just wasting time.
I don't think so.
So
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, let's get Brian. Anyone else?
But I
think
get
that-
you, Brian. I got you.
So it's really unfair that you don't allow me to finish the thought, which
We
is
don't
simply
need your fucking lecture about well, science is this.
Well,
it's a
obviously you
hypothesis.
do
Science.
because
This
you
is
don't know
science.
how
This
to
is
do it.
science.
Brenda, you're
We don't need
starting
it.
with the third
Science is.
stage method. You're
Just
starting with
repeating a
level
Feynman
3
lecture, you
instead of-
idiot.
You start with a hypothesis and you attempt to
start with a
prove it
hypothesis.
wrong. You attempt to
I posted
falsify.
a diagram. I posted a diagram of how your eyes capture, like with the grid, how it captures the everything. That center line is the one that creates the horizon to everywhere.
Yeah, your
that you
eyes
point out
don't
your
create
eyes
the
at.
horizon.
Your
Your
point.
eyes don't create
Don't
the
interrupt
horizon.
me, Brenda. Just don't allow
Where
this
did
guy
you
to
post
Right,
it?
you
interrupt me,
feel
please.
free. You feel free
Just
to
keep
interrupt
going,
me.
Silent Zero. Go.
Huh?
Where did you post
Keep
it?
going. Keep explaining.
that's cute.
And so your eye is symmetrical, right? So you capture the same from the bottom to the center and from the top to the center. That's why your eye is the one creating the horizon. It will always rise to your horizon, to the center of your eye, the horizon.
What if
Some
you
of the-
look
some of
at
the
the
globers-
when you're looking down?
Some of the
Silent
globers
Zero.
have actually.
Right.
Some
That's
of
a
the
great
globers
question.
have
Morgan.
actually seen the.
Second,
Some of the globers have actually caught the horizon above level.
Yeah, how
those
much
are
above?
those are effects, right? That we can sometimes it will appear
Jeremy,
below.
how much above?
Sometimes it will appear a little above, but the center is the direction that the
George Hancock, Jesse
How,
Kozlowski.
how much?
Act-
Jeremy?
No matter
Give
how
me a
much.
number. Oh,
Right.
yes.
You're no good with numbers, Chike. Remember
Oh,
that?
I'm great with numbers.
Oh, 600
minutes ago
foot, 530.
Yeah, 600 feet was being
One
generous
more
for flat
thing.
Earth. It makes the argument
One
worse
more
when you
thing. One
lower
more
it.
thing, real quick.
Absolute nonsense.
Number 5.
Yeah, I know
Excuse
you
for
can
being
say that, but it was
You don't
clearly
get it,
explained.
Gilliam,
You
huh?
know how I know this, Brandon? My wife, she got sick, right? From I don't know what was wrong with her. She went to the doctor and they did a test, and she got blind spots on the center up, and she wasn't able to see, like not even close, or she was lose spots on the horizon based on those spots. We got the sheet with the test and everything. That's how I realized that, like, your eye captures from the center up and down, and you can have the different angles, how they work. But these people, they don't know none of this shit, right? So
Yeah, your eyes
Silent,
don't create a horizon.
you're providing nothing, Silent. I want a flat earther. If you're not going to correct him, I'd like to hear a flat earther agree with Silent that your eyes determine where the horizon is.
There was a
Yeah, I
professor
posted
played on
him-
there that said the same thing.
I agree.
Do you agree, Gleam?
So depending on
Do
where
you
you're
agree?
looking,
I just
you can
said I
change where the
played you that
horizon is.
professor
Is that what you're
saying the
saying?
same thing.
Do you agree? You agree with Silent then, Gleam?
Can I
Yes,
jump in
if
just
there
real
was an
quick?
infinite
Hold on.
horizon, an infinite flat Earth, there would be a horizon made
No,
by your
no, that's not the
eyes.
that's
no,
not the
it's not what
question.
he said.
Okay. Listen, just real quick, to put an end to Brenda's harassment here, okay? Brenda, we've all heard what you said about falsifying your hypothesis, right? Can you please tell me how Aristotle falsified his hypothesis that when he watched a ship go out over the ocean and saw it disappear, that it was going over the curve? How did he falsify his hypothesis?
Aristotle did not know the scientific method. The scientific method.
So he didn't. So he didn't.
Right.
Okay.
So
So he
he-
didn't. Okay, great.
He had
so
an
okay,
observation.
So my next question is, when Eratosthenes did his measurements, assuming a globe, how did he falsify his hypothesis?
What he falsified, what he did was, people felt that the Earth was curved.
Okay,
but there
how
was
did Eratosthenes?
So if I'm going to answer you, you
falsify-
can't
no, no, no.
interrupt me.
Your answer begins with Eratosthenes.
No, you're not going to tell me
falsified-
what my answer is. You're not going to tell me what my answer
You're trying
is.
to tell us how we're supposed to do
No,
science.
you're not going to tell me what my answer
The
is.
answer is dog bone.
side, okay?
No, the answer. You're not going to tell me what
you
my
have-
answer is.
you
You
have
have to
to
ask your
understand-
question and then allow me to complete my answer.
No,
The
it's
answer is
just,
dog
this is
bone.
just
So it's just no.
This is just like an English class where I'm going to say no. The answer
No,
begins with
That's not how anything works.
Eratosthenes.
Talk about
falsified
harassment and then listen to this guy fucking
correct.
talk. Talk about harassment. That's funny.
So the thing is that Eratosthenes didn't know for certain. It was
he
a
falsify.
contention what the shape of the Earth was.
No, he
Some
didn't.
said it was just curved, but not necessarily spherical. Plato thought it
This
was
is a
spherical.
non-answer. This is a
So-
non-answer.
So his test
This is a
was to
non-answer.
determine that curvature, right? That's what it was. It was to falsify other alternative explanations.
Brandon, I sent you a PM with the link for this article. It actually tells you how you can test this stuff and everything.
Besides, the current science methodology of in the philosophy of science is that we falsify hypotheses. You never actually prove anything. You don't prove anything. Logical positivism died in the 1950s with Karl Popper. So I don't know why. I don't know why.
Falsification,
Yeah,
then
I don't
you
know
should
why.
know that picture falsifies nothing, and that
It falsifies
Any
the flat
picture
Earth. That's
like
what
that
Chaiki is trying to
falsifies
explain
nothing.
to you. It
That's what I'm trying
falsifies
to
the flat
explain to
Earth.
you.
does
You
not.
were just explaining to us how falsification works. And I'm
Yes,
telling you that it
that's-
doesn't falsify anything because you have unsupported presuppositions. Do you even know how that works?
It's based on the assumption that the Earth is flat, and therefore, since the
And what did
evidence,
you base your flat Earth assumptions on? You say it should work this way on a flat Earth. What did you base that part
that's
on?
what a
Don't need
hypothesis
to.
is.
Guess it.
A hypothesis is a guess. It's an if-then.
Okay, so that
That's
doesn't
what a
work on
hypothesis
your
is.
model of how you
you're
think
saying-
it should work on a flat Earth. That's all
so
you
you're saying
falsified is your
If the
model
Earth
of
is
how it
flat,
should work.
It says if the Earth is flat,
No,
then
that
this,
is
this
way
should
too
obtain.
broad of a hypothesis. Way too broad because
No,
you
it's not.
don't know all the ways it could work on a flat Earth. You've chosen one that you think is how it would work on a flat Earth.
You can
And
conduct
you
tests that
falsified that, but you have not falsified that it would work on a flat Earth.
if you start with the assumption that the
understand the
Earth is
distinction?
flat. No,
You understand
you're
the
just
distinction?
wrong. You're just wrong. You can
No, I'm
you
not
can
just
rule
wrong.
out.
No, I'm not
You
just
can
wrong.
rule
I'm being more
out.
specific than you.
Oh, you
Can I
can
just-
rule out
Can I just
alternative
jump in real quick?
explanations.
Yeah, just
Bullshit.
real quick. Okay, just real quick. On all of my observations that I've made with photography on the Chesapeake Bay and the Channel Islands, when I have talked on my videos about hypotheses that I have, I never start off with if the Earth is flat. My hypotheses deal with the observation itself. What does the observation demonstrate?
But you don't know how to work. You don't know how to work a camera. People had to show you how to.
You don't know. You
Okay,
hold on,
Brenda,
hold on. That is exact.
Why are you
guys,
attacking me? Why are you attacking me right now, saying that I don't know how to work a camera? Okay, because now you've made a claim that you have no evidence for.
That is exactly how a hypothesis works.
Take a photo that isn't blurry as hell.
It's not.
That
okay,
is exactly
Brenda.
how. Oh my God,
Brenda.
bro.
Okay, okay. I started talking, Jeremy, but go ahead. I mean, I was talking to Brenda first about my photographs. Brenda, refraction is not blur. Okay, when you say blur, do you mean out of focus?
Yes, you can't focus a camera because you don't know how to work a camera.
Brenda,
you literally had to be shown how to work it.
Brenda.
That's not an argument, dude.
If you watch any of my videos, you will see when the camera auto focuses, when it's struggling to focus, and then it focuses. Okay, the refraction that happens with Mirage is not blur or out of focus. You guys can throw all that. You guys can throw that bullshit at me all you want, and it's not going to stick.
This has
Is
been
that what
a
you guys
common.
think? You think all that miraging and the effects he's captured
has
is
been a
because his
common
camera's moving
criticism.
around or it's not focused? You fucking dolt.
This has been a common criticism of his photographs.
It's a common criticism
is that they
from
are
asshole
out of
trolls
focus.
who say
They're
anything,
out of focus.
who have no shame, who have no honesty.
You
That's
can't
who it's a common
determine
criticism from.
anything.
Like people who say the middle of your eye establishes where the horizon is at a distance, kind of like that, Brandon.
What I am interested
No, it's
to
not
know is
the
how-
same as that at all. This is somewhere where somebody is attacking a person and saying, you don't know how to work a camera,
Never mind.
because that's about the best argument they're capable of coming up with. And they'll say anything. They'll attack anyone. They will say anything if that person disagrees with them, because they're a fucking troll. Silent Zero saying the horizon is created in your eye. He may be wrong. I don't know. He just provided a link. He provided a diagram. I'm sitting here thinking about what he said. You seem to think it's some failing on our part, not saying that he's wrong. Maybe we don't know what his theory is. Maybe we need to hear more. We don't need to hear more about how Travis doesn't know how to use a fucking camera, because it's not a valid criticism.
So why we keep hearing about it? I want to ask him, how does he analyze his pictures exactly?
You can watch my videos. My videos are very plain. I show you exactly. I show you in short videos, 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, hour long. You can see my process. It's very simple.
And you make no assumptions.
I talk about what I see.
What you see, yes.
Right. Yeah.
So I see haze, and what does it tell me?
I don't see haze.
You said you see reflections.
No. Yeah,
so.
refraction. Right. Refraction is different than haze. If what you mean by
what does it tell you? What does it tell you?
There are lots of different things. What would you like to talk about? Inferior mirages, looming, towering, stooping, sinking. Which would you like to talk about?
No,
I just wanted to back you up earlier about how you said, your hypothesis is based on an observation that you make. You don't start off with if the Earth is flat. You started off with the dependent variable.
Right. Most
observation.
Most of my observations
or the cause of the effect.
Yeah, most of my observations deal with an object 3 miles away, 5 miles away, up to 20 miles away. I talk about that object in the refraction phenomenon. That's all I do.
So you can't tell if Earth is flat or a
No. I think that the implications are there for us to have a discussion as to the claims for curvature. I do believe that the phenomenon of mirage and refraction goes against the claims that when you see boats disappear in a certain fashion at a certain distance, it's due to Earth curve. I do believe that refraction and mirage debunks that, and I do talk about that.
So explain why we're missing half the mountain.
I don't want to take
Why
up
is it
Randy
below eye
Jones.
level?
It's on my because of refraction. Listen,
I have,
Refraction.
listen to me very carefully, okay? I'll try to find the video. It's like a 5-minute video. I speed it up. It's a half an hour in real time. I've got a video that I just set up. Okay, hold on. I have a video of a half. Did you just say never mind?
Yeah, I said never mind your video. I posted the picture.
You
assuming now that refraction caused the mountain to appear lower than we
okay,
expect
listen
to see
very
it
listen
on
very carefully.
flat Earth.
Okay, listen very carefully. I don't assume anything on one photograph. I take multiple videos, multiple photographs of an observation over distance. When that observation changes height or location in my video, then I start to analyze it because I have multiple controlled photographs that I can compare.
Mike just takes one photo off Twitter and it's good.
A clear photo.
Yeah, I have clear
No
photos.
refraction.
I have absolutely. You cannot have a photograph without refraction. Okay.
So
I have.
which kind?
Okay, listen very carefully. I have on my channel multiple shots of pristine, clear shots at 5 miles away. Okay. 9 miles away, it's a little bit more difficult because you've got that much distance. I still think that it's a straight line of sight and can talk about it, but it's not going to have, because it's an increase of distance and an increase of the density of the medium, it's going to have an increase of refraction. So it's not going to be as clear and pristine as you would like. But I can tell you what, I've got a nice shot at 6 miles where it's absolutely beautifully pristine. So that's my control because I've got a shot down straight to the shoreline. And then in another shot, I can't see the shoreline. And in another shot, I can't see the base of the house. So that's how
What does it tell you?
It tells me that the observation is affected by refraction.
Cool. How that helps you to decide if Earth is flat or
Okay,
flat.
listen to me very carefully. Hold on, listen to me very carefully.
Earth expands.
Listen to me very carefully. My argument is against the claim that when you see a boat disappear at a certain distance that it's due to Earth curve. I have plenty of demonstrations and arguments that debunk that. Absolutely.
I want to ask Bio a question. Bio, if you think what I said is so wrong, can you tell me why do you see a ground that we know that is flat rising up to the center of your eye?
Right, it's perspective. Whether the Earth is flat or
but why?
Perspective has things below your eye level approach your eye level. Things above your eye level approach your eye level.
The center, right?
That's what
the
happens.
center of your eye. The center of your
eye level. Again, if you look.
No,
Hold on. I'm going to be very specific.
Exactly what you
Let
just
me be
said.
very specific. Let me be
Bio.
very specific, Silent. If you
your
raise your
eye
eye
has
angle,
sections.
hold on, Silent. If you raise your eye angle 20 degrees, does everything below your eye level now raise 20 degrees, or do they stay exactly where they are?
If I raise my eye
Exactly,
level 20
Silent.
degrees.
Yeah, because the center of your
Like
eye
if
is
I'm
now
looking
looking
at the
20
clouds?
degrees above.
If I'm looking at the clouds, you're saying?
Yeah, sure. Does anything, as far as perspective, the angular size, the height of these objects, does anything change when you look up 20 degrees with your eyeballs?
Yes,
If I'm looking at the clouds and there was a roll going to the clouds, yeah, it will create a
horizon 20 degrees up
at that point.
Right. So what you're saying,
no
is
matter
that
whether you want it or not, whether you like it or not,
There you
there'll
go.
always be a convergence. You can either force that convergence with
you don't know what-
geometry,
so you don't know
or
what
you
the
can
context
look
is,
up
David.
But let
empty
me tell
space
you
where you
why-
have no angles, right?
Right.
Let me
You don't know
answer
the
him.
But you
context of what
still
we're
have a
talking about.
convergence.
Let me
Wherever the focal
let me
point
answer
is,
him.
you'll still have
Bro.
convergence.
Let me answer him why you're wrong in your question. Because we know that when we're looking straight forward, our head are level. That's
right, like
when
eye
you're
level.
looking
It's
up.
like if your eyes
yeah,
are level.
yeah. Our head has a level, but
Right.
it
When
goes
you
to the
deviate from that
center.
level, now you're deviating from
All
eye
right,
level.
let me ask you this. Yeah, if you still
right?
hold on, guys. If you are level, raising you up, right? Does that fucking ground comes up to you that the fucking eye level? Yes or no?
The eye level is established regardless of which direction you look, which angle that you're looking. You interrupt me more. Interrupt me more. I could answer your question. The eye level doesn't change simply because your head moves, because your eyeballs move.
I'm not.
Your eye level, as you just said, when you're standing up straight, your head is level, your eyes are level. That is your eye level. If you deviate any of those things, you're not eye level anymore. That is a specific point being made.
Again, if you look up, right, you cannot create a horizon because your head is not level. Your eyes are not level.
The horizon is totally separate from your fucking eyeballs, Silent.
No. That's where you guys are so incorrect.
Okay, so again, when you look up, is the horizon following your eyeballs? No,
Is
it's
your head
staying
level?
exactly where it is, despite your eyeballs. Such a basic
Again,
fucking concept.
the vestibular system and our eye level work hand in hand. They work together in conjunction. This is what separates camera optics from human vision. Is there's a natural function out of your control, and all that function is based off of is when you look out straight at a 90-degree angle, your height or your position and your height will determine the neutral point of the horizon. That is a natural function of a human being. A camera has to line up to the horizon. You can
No, it doesn't. It just has to be
do all
level.
kinds
It
of
looks out.
no, again, you have to. It's not a natural function. We have a natural function in our
It's just
ears.
establishing level. That's all it is.
In our ears, again, you have to line it up. It won't line it up naturally. We cannot undo the angle of the horizon. It's a neutral point based on our eyesight to the surrounding environments that we're subjected to. A camera is subjected to the same principles, except for it doesn't have a natural function of center neutral point.
Which changes the observation jack diddly squat. It doesn't change the observation at all.
Again,
if you have a 6-foot observer
absolutely.
eyeball and a
Because
6-foot observer camera, then you're not
you can
changing
force
anything
perspective.
when
You can force
pertains to perspective.
You can force perspectives with cameras.
Oh yeah, when you fucking
recommend
of course you can.
You can force
I
perspective
recommend you
with
go
geometry.
with the Oculus. Go with the Oculus and ask him about the points of the eye, how it looks, and he will explain to you how it looks and how it creates the angles and how it creates things going up.
Right,
going
virtual
down
reality,
to the center
man.
of your eye.
Virtual reality, man. I
Go
understand the center
ask a
point.
doctor,
Center,
buddy.
silent,
Go
silent.
ask a
I
doctor.
Silent. I fucking wear glasses my whole life. I understand some things. I understand the center point of your eye is that center point. When you look up, it's still the center point of your eye. I understand that. When it pertains to the horizon doesn't give a fuck about your eyeballs, man.
You also know, Biodual, at any point you place your focal point of your eye, if you move away or go closer or move away from an object, it will still converge at your focal point. Do you realize that? If I stared at something and moved away from it,
eye level, you're right. You're
No, it
arguing
doesn't
against
matter.
Silent's
It doesn't
claim
have
right
to-
now.
it
You don't
doesn't
even
have
know
to
what
be eye
Silent
level.
claimed before. You have no
Again,
idea what he
you
claimed
don't
before,
understand.
and you're
No,
trying to speak.
you don't
against
understand.
him, but you're speaking against him right now.
You don't understand. That
let me
convergence
ask
you
you.
cannot escape. You cannot escape the convergence at all.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Bio. Let's say you're standing up, looking straight out, and then something starts rising you up. Is that ground rising with you?
Are you talking about changing your observation height?
Well, you don't like to
Is
acknowledge
that ground
parallax.
rises?
They don't like to acknowledge parallax.
Is that ground rises?
I don't know what. Can you
Why are
repeat
you
the
talking
question?
about-
I'd love to answer your question. Can you please repeat it?
All right. You're standing up with your eye, with your head level, right? Your eyes straight, looking at the whole. Something starts rising you up with
Is he
you.
roboting or is it me?
No, he's roboting.
Zero. I'm not even
What is
sure I
the
understand.
correlation? What is the correlation to have the vestibular system tell us that when we look out, we're looking level, and then horizon matches that? What is the what are the odds What are the odds that's not designed that way?
What are the odds that evolution just made it possible for that? Except when you're at elevation and it doesn't, and the horizon doesn't match.
Why would evolution?
Yeah,
Why would evolution give you a function of horizon line? What's the purpose of evolving a horizon line?
It's this reason right here. It's this reason. Ready for it? Because what would happen is the most effective way for vision to work is to see as far as you can. If the Earth is curving away at a 6 foot observer,
evolution has the information, right?
3 miles,
Evolution has the information for that, right?
Resolution limit.
Yeah,
yeah, sure.
Evolution had information for that, right? Evolution said, you know, I'm going to program this human to see 3 miles away.
It didn't
right?
program it that way.
Yeah.
The humans that could see that far and resolve things that far
information comes
reproduce.
With the information comes
But again, you're not addressing what Silent said.
Just magical, like just magical
information. Trying to say, you guys give me a
just
chance.
appeared out of nowhere, right?
Silent was trying to ask if, when you look out, is the ground actually raising up?
Oh, actually, no. It just appears to. Things below your eye level appear to raise up to eye level. It won't cross over.
Sometimes it crosses. Sometimes when
I know. Sometimes, very rare, and
So it
obviously there are
happens.
explanations.
No, you can't say it's very rare.
Yeah, I can say it's very rare. I've never seen it. Have you?
Where's your evidence?
Right, I have never seen it, so I have no evidence to provide that I have seen it. Do you have
So
evidence?
it's very
that you've seen
rare,
it?
but you've never seen.
Right. I can only speak to professionals that actually do it a lot, and attest that they've only seen it a select number of times, can count on one hand. That's what I can attest to. That's the only evidence I have. I've never seen it.
Yeah. So we agree that things do cross your eye level.
Very, very rarely in specific conditions, sure. I'm not saying it's impossible at all.
Well, you just told us earlier that never happens.
Right, I'm just going to jump in and say I see this
All
shit
right.
all the time. I see it all the time, and I've got it documented. I show it on my channel.
How did you establish eye level?
What
to know that it was
experts?
above eye level?
Wait, you invoked experts. You're trusting what experts?
A number of surveyors. So I would go with
number. Name two. A number of
yeah,
them.
those
Name
two. There you go.
Name two.
Right, I just did Kozlowski and main surveyor.
So two of the opponents, right? That's the only two. That's your two experts.
They're experts relative to my expertise, obviously.
Also.
Right. Okay. I don't know what point you're trying to make. Travis, do you have how did you establish that these things that were below your eye level were actually above? How did you do that?
Okay, so to be honest, I've never used a level outside of the one that's provided on my tripod. So I level out my tripod, and then I use the grid system on the P900 on the viewer screen, which has 9 squares. So then I just line it up in the middle there. I've got particular where I have antennae that are on land. They don't move. And I put those in the same position so that I have it at as best I can, the same shot. So it's going to be just as if you would be looking out with your eye. So you're going to look at that, you're going to cut that picture in half, and that's where your eye level is. Pretty simple.
Oh, it's pretty simple. Why can't Chaiki do that? Why can't Chaiki do the same thing that you just talked about?
Who said he can't? Why are we throwing him under the bus? We're not talking about Chaiki. You're asking a question.
Because I don't dispute at all how you came to eye level. I don't dispute that. If the mount is
okay,
if the mount is level, if the camera is level.
Are you happy with my answer?
No, yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem with that. With my limited knowledge, sure, I have no problem with that. It sounds fine. Where you establish level with your tripod, P900 may have something built in where you know it's level, and then you have a grid system of 9 squares, probably 3 by 3, and then it's 1.5 from the top or 1.5 from the bottom would be level. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Sure.
No, why?
Trike didn't take the photo. That's the whole point.
Why?
Right. So it's no genetic fallacy.
It just centers his view. The camera is not level. The tripod is level, but not the camera.
Possibly. I don't have enough information, so I have no problem with Travis.
From what
but
he
maybe
said,
someone who knows more. Sure.
From what he said he centers the whatever he centers, and that's eye level because it's in the center.
So is anybody gonna take up my challenge?
Who took this picture, Chai? Who took this picture?
Yeah.
Take your own challenge by your own logic.
I think Don Gio knows who took it. I think he tried to contact him.
Yeah, took it.
What's the challenge?
Did he? Do we have the level on the camera? What was the level for the camera? The inclination?
No, so there's another method
They
to finding
say it
the eye
doesn't
level.
make a difference. Chike's made the claim that it doesn't make a difference. He's made that claim multiple times.
No. Let me say this. Even if I'm telling you, no. Hold on.
None of this really matters, in my opinion, because you have unsupported assumptions. So if you're going to say that you've logically falsified a flat Earth, I don't think you can say that unless you can prove that your model of how you think long-range optics should work on a flat Earth is the only one that there is, which I don't think you guys are prepared to say that.
We don't dispute perspective though. We don't dispute that.
I was going to say perspective.
Right, but that's what we're using. So again, we can assume both models. If
No,
we may not have a model of everything.
Models. There's not two models. There's not.
I'm going to expand. So as far as a flat Earth model, I don't think that we would dispute that on one side of this flat Earth, you're at sea level and you establish a horizontal. Now you go to the other side of this flat Earth at sea level and establish a horizontal. Those two lines will be the same line on a flat Earth. I don't think that we dispute that. And
in
knowing
Euclidean
that
space
basis,
physically, yes.
Right, exactly. Precisely. So only with that information we can make assumptions about these long distance observations.
Assumptions. Thank you for admitting their assumptions. I
No,
appreciate
of course they're assumptions. The same way that we would assume a globe when we do the calculations for things. We assume both.
No, it's an inference. It's an inference.
Yeah, but the higher we get, the flatter it looks.
No, it is an assumption what they're using to say that they've falsified. They're assuming
the higher
how
we
they
get,
think it
the
would work on
flatter
a
shit
flat.
looks.
Something. Shaq, may I ask you something? In that picture, was the center of the camera pointing at where the red line on the
Obviously not. The
top is?
horizon, the water
Right?
line is at the center.
Why the higher we get, the flatter shit looks?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, direct
Why
quote
would
from
you
an
assume
astronaut.
if
It
that
looks
shit is
incredible.
You're
level
gonna sit there and be
and
dishonest.
aiming?
You're gonna be dishonest.
Hold on, Brian.
It's not level.
Guys, oh my god.
Yeah, the horizon
So-
deviates from eye level as you raise up in altitude. So no, from an honest point of view, no, it doesn't get flatter.
Somebody pull up some high altitude footage. He's not being honest, man.
Here, I got direct quote from
Yeah,
this
I'll give you two
astronaut who
pictures,
went
Brian.
200 miles up. He said the atmosphere looked incredibly flat from up there.
Yep, great quote. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change the evidence. I'm gonna post two pictures
You
for you, Brian.
deny
I'll
it.
tag you when
You
they're up.
deny it? Hey, Brandon, do anyone gets timed out into a AFK room on this server?
No.
Okay, just yeah, like that that weird fat guy over at Jose. Crap. Oh, Blue Marble Science was talking about he
Tell
got
Peyton that's
timed
a
out
show?
and it was unfair for him. So just so he
Oh,
knows,
probably
it's a
talking
user.
about YouTube. Probably YouTube.
Oh, okay. He just came here to cry.
Yeah, it happens.
Paid Nasa Shield's like almost 400 pounds, man.
Here, Brian.
I mean, I don't
the,
want to fat shame. It's just like their choice, though, right? To be like a fat piece of shit who doesn't pay attention to what anyone
Eating
says.
food.
Here, Brian. So these would be some examples. You
Little flat
can see the
titties,
altitude.
man.
You could see the altitude of each plane, and then their HUD, and then the orientation of their plane. The darker
Nipples
image.
stick out further than his dick does.
The darker image is at about 43,000 feet. The lighter image is at about 20,000 feet. But
That's
you
why
can see
they're so miserable, because their body hurts from carrying that weight around.
He called
all
in.
day.
He said he called in sick. He said, "I'm feeling a bit much today."
Yeah, like
Never mind.
so they get upset and then they get angry with life and they just act out against a group of people they think they can is socially acceptable to be rude
Relative
and
distance.
obnoxious to.
What is this supposed to show me? Baudil?
It's essentially the deviation from eye level to the horizon increasing with altitude.
As expected.
As expected on a globe, yes.
On a flat Earth.
Well, you could say the words, but we don't have a proper explanation to
Well, we
why
kind
that
of
is.
demonstrated it.
No,
that
Brandon,
one
no,
weekend.
Brandon.
Yes.
You're
Oh,
wrong.
yes.
Yes.
The
Yes.
horizon
No.
He's not
is
wrong.
high level.
He's not wrong. We
Horizon
did it.
rises at eye level at any altitude.
Nope.
So, Bo, you can't prove a
I don't
globe,
believe
though,
it.
right? I mean, all these arguments, but you have
Yes,
no solid
it's just
proof for all the
visual
globe.
effects, Brandon.
I don't believe it.
Disagree with you, but
Visual
it does
effect.
rises at eye level.
But
It's just
you see,
effects
like,
that you are not able to see it.
Brandon, we did it, bro.
Well, that might be the
You know
case,
what
but
it is.
regardless,
humble
what we're
enough- I-
calling the horizon does not rise to eye level all the time. It just doesn't.
Apparently,
It does,
but yeah,
it
it
does.
varies. But
No,
apparently it does.
What do
all
you
we
mean
can
it
go
rises,
by
we
is
just
what we
don't
see
see it?
apparently. That's all we're ever talking about.
No, you need an instrument to fucking see that it doesn't on a clear day. On a clear day, it will appear to rise to eye level. I don't give a fuck. I promise you. I've looked at I've took my shit out to the beach 1,000 fucking times just to look. My son's been with me every time. And on a clear day, the fucking horizon rises to eye level. On a foggy day, it could fucking be right there. The horizon could be 50 feet away. I've got that in my videos.
Right.
But if you
and
get
that
an
raised
instrument, now if
elevation.
you get an instrument, it's all a function of distance, dude. Look, when you're looking, listen, if you're 50 feet above the horizon, above the ocean, and if the further you see, the closer them crosshairs are going to be toward the water, because the further you look, the 50 foot's going to be less and less. You know what I'm saying? It's going to appear less and less. 50 feet over 100 miles is nothing. So if you could see 100 miles, 50 feet would be fucking nothing at all. But if you know, so it's a function of distance, man.
I was gonna ask you, Bio, is that taking into account the tilt of the airplane?
Right. So I can explain that. So at the very middle, in the darker photo, it may be easier. In the very middle, you have a reticle with two circles and then lines extending out. That's going to be the orientation of your plane. So when you look at the ladder here, you have a +5 above and -5 below. The in between that is 0 degrees. So he is flying straight and level at the moment, give or take. Anyway, he might be a 10th.
That's not possible, right? You know, airplane has a tilt, right?
No, you can fly straight and level where roll, pitch, and yaw are 0 degrees in reference to the Earth.
The airplane is always at a tilt.
Before we change the subject, Bo, would you be humble enough to say that you can't 100% prove a globe? Would you at least be honest enough to admit?
So if we ignore satellite pictures, I would attest to that. Yes, I would say that we can't prove it. I think that you can make a determination with
satellite?
Himawari.
Which satellite? No, Himawari. You haven't seen my videos. You don't watch any of my videos, do you? Himawari is stitched together and overlaid on a blue marble.
So my honest answer is, if we ignore those things,
you're
then
not
yes,
up to date with this argument, bro.
Proving it, I think, is not possible. I think what you do is
satellite in space.
so what I think what you do is have a collaboration of many evidences, many methods, and
He's
many
answering
ways,
another question.
and many ways. And you combine all of the
satellite,
evidence.
right?
You combine all the evidence, and
you claim the
make a
Himawari satellite,
determination.
right?
Tell you what, I'm not going to reply to you, Flat Earth, because you're a rude bitch and won't let people answer. So if you wanna ask
you
that
claim the
question to someone else,
Himawari
ask them.
satellite.
I'm not
You
going to
claim
respond
the
to you.
Himawari satellite, right? That's what your claim is. Now, can you tell me what instruments they used to take the picture of the Earth? What instruments is on the Himawari satellite? What are they using? A DSLR camera? What kind of camera are they using?
How did we get from this picture to the Himawari? I mean, this picture doesn't show shit.
Brian asked him if he was confident if there was no evidence to prove the globe, and Baldu said, "Well, if I ignore this Himawari satellite, because that's the only evidence that substantiates the globe for him, apparently."
Well, let's just conclude on this picture here that this doesn't prove shit. We can't even see what's going on over here.
Shows the horizon below.
Yeah, I'll grab the video. That is the horizon, and the sun is actually set already in that picture.
Just real quick, Brandon, did you see my drone footage where I marked out the horizon and I lifted my drone all the way up to its highest altitude?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I put it in the I put it in the general chat if you want to take a look at it. You can just slide the.
Dude, I just bought a drone. And sent it up, and fucking first time I sent it up, I went real high. I was like, damn, this thing goes high. Bitch got caught in the jet stream, gone. Fucking got it, sent it up, gone.
Bodo, here, this other picture, you've got it looking out over into the clouds. So again, this doesn't show shit.
Yeah, I know, because on the globe
see a
Earth,
defined horizon here, you're just seeing into what it looks
That
like.
is a horizon.
the
On a globe
clouds.
Earth, you are going to be seeing into the clouds because it's all curving away. Sure.
You can't see what you're looking at over here.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the video for both then.
What's up with you, man? Have you not got an imagination?
Yo, we really need to redo that.
He's
need
not
to
able to think on his own.
Here you
He's
go. So at
critical thinking.
220 of this video, you can see the horizon. You can see that the plane is straight and level at 0 degrees. You can also see the sun below this 0 degree line. So the sun is actually below eye level.
And we know
altitude
things
here.
cross
So
that
that'd
eye
be a
level.
good
We
video
know
as
things
well.
can cross that eye level, right? We already established that.
Biojules
Apparently, it
getting
happens
critically-
all the time, and it's not just a rare occasion. Wow, everyone's seen it all the time.
Yeah, shit moves, right.
Imagine thinking they're going to take weather data from so far away that they can't even see the weather. They have no idea what they're looking at. They can't capture any data from that. Precipitation, pressure, barometric pressure, wind speed, none of that stuff. All they can basically do is just say, this is what it would look like from space with clouds. Even though they already debunked that claim.
If there's any new people out there, I recommend this. Go look outside. Fuck everything we're saying. Look outside, and then go online and look at high altitude shit. Look at amateur high altitude balloons. I hate to say it, it's not a fucking globe, dude. It might be something, okay, that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you it ain't what they're telling us. Period.
Yeah, I'm new, and I'd like to restate what I've learned here from Biology and the Glober. So refraction bends things. So when we look at the Earth and it looks flat, we know it's refraction, which is obviously bending it. And when it looks curved like that, we know there's no refraction. Thanks.
I haven't spoken to refraction all fucking day. I don't think this week I've spoken
Congratulations,
to
Glover.
refraction. But it's a cool straw man.
That's
Thank you.
good, dude. That's awesome because that's how they have to sit. They have to sit that it is exact something. We're not stuck in that position because we're trying to figure it out and we're trying to be honest. They're not trying to be honest. He's not a critical thinker. He's good at twisting arguments in
project,
textbok.
Brian. Don't project. I'm the only one.
Bro, you're not, bro.
Brian, when
You won't even
refraction
entertain shit with us, bro.
Didn't I tell you step one, assume globe, step two,
Brian, his
assume
claim
flat,
is
and
that
then
it's
compare results?
refraction
Didn't I
bends
say
things,
that?
Yeah, that's
therefore it
fair
looks
enough.
flat.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, refraction bends things, which makes it looks flat. Yeah, that means you're possessed by demons. Thanks.
Amen.
Oh, mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, what's up, Roddy?
Oh, not much. Just finally got home, so I have good reception now.
It's great reception.
Whoa!
Hey, Rodney, when you're laying out the foundation for a small project with surveying tools, do you make any accounting of the supposed curvature of the Earth?
Good question.
No.
No?
No, not even when I'm laying out 10-mile stretches of new highway.
Do you think anybody does?
What's that, Kosho?
No, nobody does because that shit doesn't exist.
They keep thinking geodetic because the geodetic surveyors have fooled them into thinking that it has anything to do with elevation before their curvature corrections. They don't know.
Fucking idiots.
Who's the
Maybe they should
fucking
bring
idiot?
one of those
Wow.
guys in here to make the argument for him then.
Kosho, have you ever went down a coastline, Kosho, with a fucking auto level before you call somebody an idiot?
I was calling the people you were talking about idiots.
He's on your side today.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
I was agreeing with you, dude.
I got
Yes,
you.
you have.
So,
You know how
Rodney,
they
the
claim
people
they
who
can do
build
measurements every 100
schools
meters, right?
and buildings, is there any, I don't know, what would you call them? Local surveys? What are they called? What is your type of surveying called?
Planar surveying?
I guess they would
Planar
call them
surveying.
planar surveying. I don't really do like foundations or anything like that. I work more bigger scale stuff, but yeah, planar survey or geodetic, it's just arbitrary anyway. There's no real difference in the methods that are used, except when they start getting into things like, looking multiple miles with the satellites and trying to measure angles and things like that, which aren't actual measurements.
Gotcha. Okay. Rodney,
But,
have you ever
Brandon, funny
measured
funny
any
enough,
spherical access yourself personally? Have you ever tried to do it?
Have ever tried to do what again?
Measure spherical access?
Excess, spherical
Okay.
excess. Yeah, I can every time I apply a radius. I get spherical
Hold
excess.
on. Correction though. Isn't spherical excess a byproduct of just using the spherical triangle? It's not the byproduct of Earth curvature. It's the byproduct of using spherical triangles.
Yeah, assuming a radius. Very good.
It has
Rodney.
nothing to do with the Earth curve. It has to do with using spherical triangles and having.
Has
spherical
nothing to do with what they
Hey,
actually
Rodney, have you ever measured or tried to measure spherical axis?
That would be a no to both.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Do you think it'd be possible to connect three lines that have line of sight to each other? Say you and I and Brian are out there with surveying tools, and we sight each other and connect to each other via a straight line. I connect to Brian, Brian connects to you, you connect back to me along those lines of sight. Do you think it's possible that shape that we have created could have more than 180 degrees interior angles?
No, not a chance.
All right. Thanks, Rodney. Appreciate it.
Okay, can I just jump in?
There's my there's my empirical evidence for whoever asked. There's some of it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, I mean, surveying and the state plane coordinate system is really like good evidence. I don't know why they dismiss it. Their only argument against it is that it's locally flat, but I mean, that's easily debunked by just the size of the zones themselves.
They deny flat.
Because longitude, bro. Because longitude.
Yeah, you don't have to
Longitude
even.
comes from northing and easting, though.
No,
we take the measurements and
You don't even need to appeal to a grid system. Just look at the distances between known points. That'll tell you the shape of it.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The size of the zones show no curvature.
Okay, correct me.
What I'm saying is that there is indeed curvature. The size of zones, right, have like really nothing. All you have to do is note the distance between points.
Are you a surveyor, RC?
That's a lie.
Meisty?
So how much distance between 2 points would it take to show Earth curve?
Can I ask a question?
No, because Rodney just asked a question.
Yeah, I posted up. Here are distances that we know, and you cannot lay these distances out on a flat surface and have them connected together in any configuration. Forget a coordinate system.
Well, what's the distance between 2 points that will be required to show Earth curve then?
Big enough for your instruments to be able to accurately measure.
That's a non-answer.
That's not an answer.
Yeah.
No, it's a good answer.
No, it's not.
And give it to me in
No,
feet or miles.
No, it's not.
All right, here. Stop. Here it is. I'll post it in general right now.
Okay, in this hiatus, real quick. Okay,
roboting.
Spherical excess.
Here you are. Can somebody shut him up?
We can't
He's already
understand
muted.
you.
He's already muted.
Only greater than 180 degree. Okay, thanks.
We all know what the Globers are going to say anyways. They're going to.
So more numbers, more paper and ink cartoons, no evidence.
Here it is.
As usual.
Oh my gosh! Why is nobody muting him?
He's not muted.
Can somebody mute him?
Travis, it's no good, man.
Travis, you're roboting, bud.
All right,
Bad.
so
We can't even hear one
let's
word,
get back to
Anyway.
Rodney and RC's discussion here. So what are we looking at?
Anyway, here are the distances. These are in nautical miles.
Why would you use nautical miles when surveyors go over land?
Well, you don't need these for a surveyor. These are LiDAR measured.
Well, we're talking about surveying, I thought.
Yeah, that is what we're talking about. Are you a surveyor, RC?
I am not a surveyor, no.
Okay.
So maybe you shouldn't try to.
Well,
tell me
hold up. Are you a surveyor?
Yes.
You are a licensed surveyor.
Licensed, as in licensed to put my stamp on it and have it legally binding?
Yeah.
Crickets.
Oh, hold up.
You say crickets as I'm talking. Are you?
No,
are you slow?
No, paraphrasing. Hey, hold up. Paraphrasing. I'm fine if you are. Are you a licensed surveyor?
And I asked, license in the sense that I can put an engineer's stamp on it and make it legally binding? No, I'm not.
Okay.
No.
So why are you then contending with people and asking them if they're surveyors or not?
That was me.
Can you tell me what?
He's a professional, so he does it as a living. Rodney,
Yeah.
describe what you do. I won't speak for you. Go for it.
Well, I was just going to ask him what he thinks the difference between a licensed and non-licensed surveyor is.
Yeah, that they're actually legally binding and that you can use them in things like court cases to be able to prove what your property is and what it isn't.
And you think that has any bearing on the methods that are used?
No, it has actually to do with qualifications and instrumentation that people
Right.
use.
So nothing with knowing the job of surveying and how to do it then, right?
Oh, what it has to do with is it actually accurate enough for me to use in any practical sense?
Well, I mean, I can get accurate to within 2 to 300ths of a foot. Is that good enough for you?
Are you sure that you're using them correctly?
100% sure, yes.
How do you know that?
Because if I wasn't doing it correctly, I wouldn't still have a job.
Okay, cool beans.
You think my employer is going to keep me on board if I'm just out there fucking up every day?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't employ a surveyor for any legally binding document that I couldn't have a stamp on.
Why
Unless
do you
the
think
slave masters, want
I mean, the only thing that really needs legally binding is like if you're doing boundaries or property lines or something like that. That's
exactly
right. That's not the bulk of surveying work.
Oh, okay. Well, it is surveying work that actually means something in the world. Okay.
None of the other surveying work means anything.
So the new highway I was working on today that's gonna,
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Not important at all, huh?
Probably doesn't exist. No. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Who said that it didn't exist?
You don't
He's going
exist.
to change the
RC
subject
Meister.
away
Prove
from
me
it
wrong.
mattering.
Yep. As usual.
Yeah. Anyway,
any of the Globers define
back to the argument. Back to the actual argument.
Probably it's gonna be all crooked since
Oh
you
my
don't have
God.
a license. Probably it's
Rodney,
gonna
what do we
break
call
since you
it?
don't have a license.
Hold on.
Why is
Hold on.
everybody
What do we call it,
talking?
Rodney?
Here's
Hold
my-
on, Rodney. What do we call it
Oh my
when we're
gosh.
shooting highways and roads and curbs? What do we call it when it drops in the distance? What do we call that?
When what drops in the distance? What do you mean?
It's like if the top of my curb or the top of your highway is dropping in the distance, what do we call that?
You're talking about the slope or the grade?
Slope. Exactly. It's fucking slope. It's not earth curve. That's what I was looking for. When something drops from the horizontal in real life, we call it slope, and water follows that slope.
Here's my point. Here are distances. If you can show me that these distances can be on a flat surface, then I'll be a flat earther. Nobody's been able to show me that these
gives a
distances.
fuck about you, dude.
Bro,
What are these? Tell us what the
crackhead, be a
fuck these
flat
are.
earther.
What does all this fucking jargon and stuff mean? Tell us what they are.
Okay, these are nautical miles between known points on the face of the earth.
On the ocean?
And they're measured by LiDAR, you said.
Yeah, these are LiDAR measured.
Okay,
well,
well,
that's
on
a
the ground.
completely different
RC,
subject.
what's nautical mean, RC?
Can you shut up, Brian? What were you saying?
Okay.
Well, just answer the question since you're using the term. You know what nautical
Hold on,
means,
Brian.
right?
Hold on.
What is your
Go ahead, Rodney.
point? What is your point, Maisty, with
Yeah,
this?
that these
Those are measurements.
these-
So what?
No, hold up. These are known distances. That these distances in any configuration between these points cannot lay on a flat surface.
Yeah, he's not
You
even
know-
convinced by this. Yeah, RC might
you know that I can draw measurements on a plane of paper and then make it into a ball, right? Those
All right,
measurements are not going to change.
Silent. We're not talking about being ball or anything else. We're saying, can these known distances between these points be on a flat surface and remain connected together in any configuration? The answer is no.
Yes.
Okay,
Just
show
grab
me.
the ball.
Show me. Silent.
Let me show you how. Let me show you how.
Show me.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let's hear what Rod. I think
So
he was
my-
asking Rod. Go ahead, Rodney.
I was going to ask Maisty to look at the distances I just posted in chat. Land distances, not nautical miles.
Okay.
Yeah, nautical means pertaining to the ocean. Hey,
those are-
Brandon.
hold up.
Hold on real quick. Brandon, Travis
Can
muted
you
himself.
shut up,
He said,
Brian?
unmute him. He's got himself on mute, please.
Brian, can you shut up for a second?
Shut the fuck up, dude! I'm trying to pass a message.
Yeah,
I'm trying
I
to
know.
tell him,
I got it,
Travis
Brian.
has hold on, Travis has himself muted. If you can unmute him,
Oh
please,
my
Brandon.
I got it, Brian. I got it.
Man.
Thank you.
Okay, I just saw your distances here. These are 2 points. I use 5 points in the distances between all 5 of those points.
That's amazing. Can you answer my question?
What's your question?
The distances in chat, would that be sufficient to show Earth curve if there was any?
No.
Really?
No.
So 250 miles straight horizontal line is
No, because here's the point. If you want to actually measure a three-dimensional object,
I would end it at that. At
Can you
this point,
shut
I
up
would
for a
just end the
second?
conversation
Paraphrasing
because that
Terry.
now
This
they're
is
just being
now
absolutely.
allowed to talk.
Here's the point.
Now they're just being
Paraphrasing
absolutely
Terry.
ridiculous.
Rodney, here's the deal. If you want to show the dimensions of a oh my gosh, shut up.
I don't know why you're still talking.
Why are
You're the dumbest person on this panel.
Rodney, if you want to show the dimensions of a three-dimensional object, you need more than 2 lines.
You need one horizontal line to show that if
No, you
Earth is
don't.
curving or not. 250 miles
you
is
need
plenty
more than
long
that.
enough.
Hold on, let me
You're the
address that.
dumbest person on this panel.
You
Okay, so
realize
Rodney,
you realize,
if you want to show the shape of an object,
Go ahead, Rodney.
you need more than 2 lines.
You already said that. Go ahead, Rodney.
right, you realize that represents 3 points, though, right? It's not just 2 points. It's 2 points in relation to a third point.
And you know that you need more than 3 points to show 3 dimensions.
Do I really?
3 points create a plane. 3 points create a plane.
We can't measure spherical axis with 3 points then, is that right, RC?
That's not what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm asking you. You just said if we have 3 points, it's not enough to show 3D, right? That's not 3D, so how could we possibly show spherical axis then?
Well, what I'm saying is that you need
That says 3 co-planar points.
5 points will show you in reference to each other without using a coordinate system. What is the shape of this object? Typically, you need 5 points reference to each other to do that.
Right. Well,
If it deviates up or down, it's a change in elevation. I see.
Yeah, surveyors actually use this coordinate system to measure points on the ground. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
sounds
if
like
you
you're
want
just kind of talking out of
hey,
your
hold
ass.
up. If you want to appeal to a coordinate system, okay, but you need 5 points if you don't want to. I'm not appealing to a coordinate system, and that's my whole point. Because flat earthers get their panties in a twist about coordinate
Where are
systems.
you appealing at? At a presumed wall?
Quiet.
When we're talking about surveying, you understand that we work the coordinate
I'm
system.
not appealing to any coordinate system. I'm simply saying 5 points and the distances between all of those points, so you don't have to appeal to a coordinate system.
Okay, so I could add 2 more points in between there at any distance you want.
Good job.
So your argument is still that those distances, which represents, I mean, you do the math, you can tell me how big that area is, roughly 300 miles by 150 miles.
Sure.
And you're saying that no Earth curve would be measurable in that large of a distance?
No, what I'm saying is that you can't actually fit these on a flat plane.
Sure we do.
They're assuming that all of these points of measurement are coplanar.
Quack, 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 quack.
Can you assume that they're all coplanar if you're up in the air, raising and lowering in elevation, RC Micey? Is that a safe assumption?
No, you know the distances between these points. That's the point.
But you'd be assuming that you're coplanar when you're up in
No,
the air and you
not
can raise
assuming
and lower
anything.
in elevation.
You're not assuming anything. You're just measuring the distance between these points.
The distances are useless if you're not in a plane. If you're not
Incorrect.
in one plane with no elevation or lower raising or lowering of
Donkey
elevation.
talk.
I mean, I can
Sorry,
add
David. Welcome to Donkey Talk with RC Mikey.
So we're assuming that these points of measurement are coplanar. I don't know if that's a very safe assumption. If you're up in the air with these points, you'd be raising and lowering in altitude, which would influence your distance anyway and make it not
Lemon, that's
perfectly
not what
planar.
we're talking about. We're not talking
Rodney,
about
I don't think you got a
anything
chance to
else.
respond to what RC
So
said
Rodney,
last.
Go ahead.
Oh, what did he say last? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rodney, here's my challenge. Can you fit the distances between these 5 points in any configuration on a flat surface?
In any configuration?
In any configuration.
100 of them, dumbass.
Well, can you tell us, excuse me, can you tell us more about how the distances between the points was determined?
Sure.
How it was measured. How it was measured.
Hey, Brandon, are you going
Did you account for wind, for Coriolis, all the factors?
Oh my God.
Hold on. How was it
here we go.
measured?
Sure. You measure these distances using LiDAR. They are confirmed using LiDAR.
How?
No, I didn't use LiDAR.
Secondly, be quiet.
How did you use LiDAR? Tell us about the process.
Can you be quiet? Can you be quiet? And I'll say.
Are you
So
trying
here's
to
the deal.
explain
The
to
first
him how I
question
took
is,
my measurement?
oh my gosh, are you guys just going to talk over me the whole time or what?
Yeah, until you answer my question.
Okay, I am answering Brandon's question first.
Oh, I thought he
Then-
asked that question to me.
Oh,
Sorry.
there you go. So here you go. If you have any 5 points so that you do not have to appeal to a preset coordinate system, if you take the distance between any of those 5 points on the
How
surface
were
of an
the
object,
points,
oh my God,
distances
we're
between the
talking
5
measured.
points measured with LiDAR? What was the process?
My gosh, are you guys just going to talk over me the
Are
whole
you going
time?
to answer the question I asked?
All right, you guys have fun.
He can't answer.
verbally-
He
hey,
can't,
You
Brandon.
can't
All you
answer,
do is shut
RC.
my
Why,
idiot.
Gavin? You should just shut up.
Crushed.
Yeah, that's what I thought, buddy. Fucking
And he'll be back
bullshit.
tomorrow.
All right. Can I
How's
jump
it
in
go?
real quick? How's this?
You're good.
Is any better?
Oh, he bailed before
Okay,
he
so
had to
just-
actually approach the real situation, which is who measured them. The NOAA.
I think I was talking. Yes. Okay, so just real quick, going back to the spherical excess. You only get greater than 180 degrees when you're on the inside of the circle. If you pick 3 points on the ocean, you're not going to have more than 180 degrees on the outside of that circle. It's going to be less.
It's because it's measured from the interior angles, you mong.
We don't live on the interior of the Earth. The distances on the top
What
of the
the hell are you
surface.
talking about? This is all on the
Brenda's a concave
surface.
earther. You didn't know that? She's a concave earther. Congratulations, Brenda.
Okay.
Do you know what the interior angles of a triangle are?
When we're talking about the surface of your alleged globe, the curvature of the Earth goes on the inside of the triangle, not the outside. It's not.
Yes, that's the
angles.
interior angles. Do you know what an interior angle of a triangle is?
You don't have a clue.
Point out something. I want to point out that
hold
you
on,
guys
hold on, just real quick. Hold on, just real quick.
is?
Brenda.
They don't know. He
Brenda,
doesn't know.
They
Brenda,
don't teach
stop
it
talking.
in surveying,
Brenda,
land
Brenda,
surveying.
stop talking. Listen.
Flat Earthers, you guys stole
Can you guys
Brandon
not
Wynn.
hear me?
Yeah, you stole Brandon Wynn, bro.
I'm trying to. What?
No, shut up.
Brandon
He told
just
Brandon to
destroyed-
wait. Go ahead, Travis.
Brandon just destroyed Mighty, and you guys like
Dude, shut the fuck up.
whatever.
What's that called? Internal concern trolling?
Do you know what the
Go
interior
ahead, Travis.
angles?
It's fine. Well, we
What
moved
is the
on. Go
difference?
ahead.
Yeah, what is the difference between the interior and exterior angles of a triangle?
Or who are you asking this to, Brenda?
I'm going by, okay? I'm going by the diagrams that I have seen when talking about spherical excess. Those diagrams show the inside. They cut out the inside of the sphere. So they're measuring the triangle on the inside of the sphere. That's the interior.
No.
I'm telling you what the diagrams show. The
Then
diagram.
you didn't understand them.
Okay. Fair
What is
enough.
the interior angles of a triangle?
180 degrees.
No, but where are they? They're on the planar surface inside of the boundaries of the triangle, right?
Planar surface, correct.
Right.
The
Okay,
planar surface, Brandon. Did you hear that? The planar surface. Congratulations.
Yes, for a Euclidean triangle, it's planar, yes.
Right. We don't live on a sphere, so we don't use spherical trigonometry.
Well, we observe it. It's observed.
Any question
No,
about
it's not.
geometry, and she will not be able to answer it, people.
You literally
She does not
don't know
geometry.
what a triangle is.
Brenda,
You don't
what's
know
the
anything
square root of
about
a-
it.
Okay, Brenda, stop, Ryan. Brenda, a triangle has 3
Here, let me read the super chats because I am behind. Why is it when I Google what creates the horizon, it never mentions anything about the eyeball? Earth is life. I'll be honest, I have not heard that about the eyeball. I have heard people say something similar. I'm going to take a closer look at what he's got to say there. The eye definitely has something to do with it. The way the light is processed, whether it's a camera or an eye, definitely impacts what we see, right? So there's this whole process of receiving the information, processing it through physically and psychologically. And I've studied in the past, but I'm not an expert in it. Gordzilla 37, $5. Shout out to Pillbox. Oh, I'll read that one. He makes mini ballers run from their model. Thank you, Godzilla. Earth is life. How many years of experience does Rodney have in plane surveying? I'll read that one, or I'll ask him about that. And $5, Earth is life. Rodney is the main difference between... Oh, that's another question for Rodney. You got a bunch of questions for Rodney. Okay. All right. I'll read those to Rodney. See if I can.
She gave him the right answer. She gave him the exact right answer.
It's the right
That's the
answer.
exact right answer, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
It's 9 plus 16 is 25.
3 squared is
Dude, I asked
9.
what the square
4
root of
squared is
121
16.
was. You couldn't even answer it, y'all.
Squared is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So assuming it's a right triangle, that's
There
fine.
we go. There we go.
Assuming it's right, right.
Anybody who knows geometry and uses it every day knows that right off the top of their head. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
You can look it up.
It's a 3, 4, 5 triangle.
Yeah.
I asked Brenda what the square root of 121 was, and she did not know the answer. Okay.
Well, it's 11, isn't it?
There you
I
go.
asked you before. You didn't know it last time I asked you, did you?
What the hell?
Yeah.
You want me to make a video showing you not fucking knowing what it was?
It's 11.
11 times 11, 121.
I got some.
No, trust me. I've already asked it to her. I've already asked her these questions.
It's a fun
That's
game.
why she knows
All
it now.
right. I got some questions from chat for Rodney. Do you guys mind if I read them to him? It's from Earth is Life. Rodney, do you mind answering his questions?
I will do my best.
I'll read them and then you can decide. How many years of experience does Rodney have in plane surveying?
Going on 4 years now, 3.5, 4 years.
Okay, that's a significant amount of time. Rodney, is the main difference between plane? What is the main I think he forgot to say what. What is the main difference between plane and geodetic surveying?
I mean, it's really just an arbitrary distinction. They say anything beyond 7 miles would be geodetic surveying. Like I said, it's completely arbitrary because the methods don't change until you start doing things like, Ruhif has done in some of his videos, and George has done in some of his, which are not actual surveying techniques.
Gotcha. Okay. Same tools, just different assumptions, it sounds like.
Well, they say that when you go beyond 7 miles, you have to start taking into account Earth curvature, but that's not true, and it's not what happens in practice.
All right. And last one, Rodney, in surveying, what is the difference between level and horizontal lines?
Difference between level and horizontal lines?
Yeah.
There is none.
There you go. I hope you like that answer, Earth is Life. And Godzilla 37 had a shout out to Pillbox. He says he makes mini ballers run from their model. Thanks, guys. Rodney, thanks for answering Earth is Life's questions. Brenda, do you mind if I ask you a question about this? I've been trying to get a straight answer on this question about spherical access. And you seem to be claiming that a lot lately. Spherical access.
Yeah. Excess,
so if I have my 3 observers, you might have heard me describe this earlier. I have 3 surveyors standing on the face of the earth, and they all have each other in sights, meaning, let's say it's me, you, and Rodney out there surveying.
Yeah.
I see Rodney, Rodney sees you, you see me through our scopes, and we draw a straight line from each of us to the other, just in the order I just mentioned. What are the interior angles of that shape that we just created going to be?
It's going to be in excess of 180 degrees.
Can you show me how I can draw 3 straight lines and connect them and end up with more than 180 degrees interior angle, please?
On the surface
That's what I need you to do. 3 straight lines.
On the surface of a sphere.
No. We have line of sight. We can all see each other. We draw a straight line from one to the other. There's not going to be any spherical excess. That's a triangle.
Yeah, but you're not measuring the position that they are in.
Sure I am. I'm measuring from one person to the next, and I'm drawing a straight line from one to the next. I'm connecting all 3 points on the surface of the earth.
In fact, Brandon, you can have 3 observers measuring 90-degree angles between themselves. You can have 3 90-degree angles. And
I'd
it
like
fully
you to show that
describes-
to me. I'd like you
Yeah,
to show
yeah.
me that. I'd like you to
can have
support,
more-
substantiate that you can have 3 straight lines that are connecting and end up with more than 180 degrees. I want evidence for that.
It's important to state exactly why that's the case.
That's why I'm being
Because
very specific about what
I
I'm
know,
stating.
but I'm trying to explain what the misunderstanding is here because
I don't have any misunderstanding.
I think there's a very big misunderstanding here.
I think there's a misunderstanding, but not on my part. But go ahead.
Okay, that's fine. But with spherical excess, what's happening is there's 3 people. Let's say they're all in mountains. You're right. Between the 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3, if you were to take the positions that they're in and the angles to the other people, they would make a triangle that would be 180 degrees. That's fine. That's not what they're doing.
Hear that, Brenda?
Not according-
Hold on. He's getting to the good part. 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 Go ahead.
Off to that, okay? I'm going to finish so you guys can understand what's going on here. The spherical excess is those same 3 people. What's done is they take the whatever the sighting tool is to get the angle of the theodolite, whatever they're using,
longitude,
whatever it is,
and their longitude.
They point it in the direction of each of those 2 people, but not directly at them. They point.
So they're assuming they're measuring to a position where those people aren't. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, you're not going to understand it because it's not going to be something you're going to be able to guess. You have to wait for me to finish.
Got a slicker way around it, Brandon.
Okay, go ahead. Let's let him finish. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. They're going to point this where? Where are they pointing this thing?
Hold up. So what they do is they level their scope. They level the thing. So from their position, it's horizontal, and they point it at that person. The person, the 2 other people, and they point it in their direction so that if there was a column made by that person, a vertical column, it would be intersecting that column, but it wouldn't be pointed at that person. So it's going to be.
So it's just what Travis said.
I don't know what Travis said. I wasn't here when Travis was saying anything.
He's saying
What
that
I'm
it's
saying,
fucking
I'm
inside of the fucking
almost there,
triangle, man.
I don't know why you can be this
Go
impatient.
ahead,
This is the last part. You point it at the column that they're in, and what happens is you take the angle of you take whatever your horizontal angle is, and you add these 3 horizontal angles up. And ordinarily, if this were if this were a flat plane, you're pointing at each other, that would equal 180 degrees. But what happens here is those 3 angles always are in excess of 180 degrees. So that's what's measured.
So again, what's baked in? Let me respond to him, and then you guys can have it. So again, he's assuming he's on a sphere, and that's why you're seeing this perceived drop over distance from horizontal.
There's no assumptions about a
Step
sphere there.
1, assume the sphere.
The math says he's on a sphere.
It's all math. You are not measuring a triangle with more than 180 degrees. What you just described was not a triangle.
Yes, it is. It's exactly.
No,
so
it's
what
not.
happens
It's
if you
not
were
a triangle.
plane? If you were a flat plane,
You cannot
it wouldn't matter
connect 3
that you were-
lines and have more than 180 degrees.
There is no if.
Yeah, if you're pointing your device at the other person and you make it so that it's level where you are, so it's horizontal, and you point
You
it at the other
sound
person.
dumb, man.
Oh, hold
You
on,
shut
hold on.
up.
They're the
No,
same,
I'm trying to help you.
Hold on, dude.
You sound
All
really
3 of you are the
stupid.
same elevation, and you're pointing it at that person, and you're horizontal. You guys should all be pointed at each other.
Okay, I'm not going to
That's
help
what
you
that's what
anymore.
would happen on a flat plane, and you would get 180 degrees if you do
I'm
not
gonna
point
let
at
you
each other when
continue
you
to
do
be
this.
stupid.
If you're not pointed at each other when you do this, and you're pointing at the vertical column where they are,
Pointing
and the angle
at
you
the
get is
vertical
above
column.
180 degrees, you've then measured that you're not on a flat plane. You have to be
Everything
on
that
the
dropped
vertical
in,
plane.
bro, wrong, and we are all dumber because of it.
No,
what do they
Raphael, you're
calculate?
Yeah, we are.
No,
This-
there's
that's actually
there's-
what
there's
spherical access
there's
is.
a
That's
liar.
exactly
on a flat. This actually proves
So
that
what
you do
do
not
they
live on a flat
calculate?
plane.
So where does the calculation come in? Since you know all about
It was
this.
just explained to you.
No, the calculation.
Yeah,
not
then
the
you add the
angle.
numbers together. You get
Fucking add the
angles, and then you add them
numbers.
together.
And what else is calculated?
That's it.
That's it,
That's
dude. You
it?
get angles.
There you go.
Three
So they're
angles.
So
talking about
you're
drop.
pointing your
Ladies and
theodolite
gentlemen.
and measuring to
They're talking
a
about
point
drop,
in
dude.
space
Theodolite.
where the other observer is not the point that you're measuring to.
No,
You're
no,
pointing to
exactly.
another point in space, and then you're somehow adding these
Let me
angles
help you.
up and coming out more than 180 degrees, and you think you've created a triangle that has more than 180 degrees. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
That's retarded. You are not measuring a triangle with more than 180 degrees, and you should never say that again.
It's called
It's a
wizardry.
triangle and spherical geometry.
It's called wizardry. You're a wizard.
No, it's called spherical
No,
geometry.
it's called plane, horizontal,
proof that you do not
180
live on a
degree
plane.
triangles.
It's
Yeah,
called,
you're
I
using
can't
that
help- I
same
can't help
tool.
that you are not
If you
able
would
to make
shut
this
up,
Yeah, I just want to say
I can make my
surveyors
point.
don't use
Yeah,
spherical
unfortunately, we can't see anyone horizontally. Unfortunately, they
Yeah,
always
unfortunately,
drop,
Chikey, you don't know anything. You're worse than the other guy.
Drop from horizontal.
You're
What
worse
can you
than the
do?
other guy. You should go on mute. When you use the same tool and you point it, as he says, at the other observer that you have line of sight, that's creating a horizontal. If you do that 3 times, 3 coplanar points, it's 180 degrees. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, that's because you
No,
didn't listen.
yeah.
You didn't listen to what was said.
I'm
You
glad
pointed,
you
you
answered
pointed
yeah.
at the direction
And
of that
anytime
person.
you start
No,
taking
you
That's
can
that's
an
fine.
angle off
You
of
can
that
take it
That's
out.
for kids.
into
You
an
can't. You're not
arbitrary.
clue what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
you answered
Wait,
yeah.
just to clarify,
Osho,
you pointed in
cannot
the
get
direction.
180
You pointed in the direction. Pointed in the direction of the other person.
Osho.
You're not going to intersect.
Let him
them.
respond
You're
first.
gonna-
Let Kosho finish his response, Data, and then you can go. Go ahead, Kosho.
Yeah, you don't point it at the person. You would let's say that you want to think that you want to measure yourself on a flat plane, and you guys are all the same elevation. You would point it at that person. You would make sure that you're horizontal where you are. Hold on. You make sure you're hold on.
Brian.
You make sure you're horizontal where you are. Now, what's going to happen because of the way the Earth works? You're not going to be pointed at them. You're going to be higher or lower. But you need to make sure. Stop. You're going to get it wrong again. You're going to get it wrong again.
Guys, can't hear anything.
Right?
You're going to.
He throws that one
where
how the Earth works.
So
This is surveying. This doesn't care what's under
Hold
you.
on.
It doesn't care what's below you.
To
begin with.
You're going to be
Hold on,
higher or
Coach.
lower.
It doesn't care what's under you.
Let him finish. Brian, just
You're trying to use
hold
a
on.
drop.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it. Come on, guys. Let him fucking finish. There's like 5 of us.
Yeah, this is very quick, man. But like I said, you're not going to be able to point directly at him if you're horizontal and he's at the same elevation as you. You're going to be pointing above him. But you're going to want to make sure that what you're pointing at is in the vertical column where that person exists in.
Oh.
That's so in the vertical
Travis,
column.
hold on.
And the other 2 people are also doing the same thing. They're pointing at y'all's vertical column. This is
How
the
many
measurement
times
that's
does he
made.
get to say it?
Let's hear it. Hold
This is
on.
the triangle that's
He
made.
said it 5 times, brother.
I know. Get to the fucking
You know
point,
he
Kosho.
said it 5
He's right.
times, but
Go.
you want to allow him to say it again?
Because we keep interrupting him. We've interrupted him 10 fucking times.
So now that you have
How do
3
you know
people,
you said it 5 times?
Pointing at each
If
other.
we didn't hear it 5 times.
Now that you have the 3 people
So
pointing
drop
at each other.
Are you done, Kosho?
You take strictly.
Let's give Kosho some more time to wizard it. Just
Jesus
to
Christ.
create
Go ahead
wizard.
and get it wrong. I don't know how you're like 56 years old, Ricky. You can get this wrong for the rest of your life because you don't
Just
listen.
finish your
to
answer,
simple-
Kosho.
It's your same shit over and over,
bro.
Have fun, man. Have fun trying to figure it
Kosho,
out, dude.
just finish the fucking thing you were going to say.
You guys
He
go
did.
ahead.
He did, Brandon. He did. And he's
Okay,
saying
do you
drop.
think
He's
that
saying
you
what
are?
Travis said to begin with.
Do you think that you are measuring a triangle when you do that, Kosho? Do you think
Can
you're
I-
measuring a triangle? You're
But
creating a
you're
triangle.
absolutely measuring a triangle.
Okay, you don't know what a triangle is, then, Rodney. I'd like to get your. I'd like to get your feedback on what this process that he just described as a planar surveyor.
You missed the very last part.
No,
The very last
I
part.
didn't, because I asked
Yes,
you
did.
for the last part
Because you said
5
it's not
times.
if you didn't hear, if you're saying it's not a triangle, you didn't hear the last part.
Hurry up.
When you point it at the other
Drop.
people,
That's
the
all
2
you're
other
saying is
people,
drop.
Jesus Christ, you're pointing it at their vertical position because it's not pointed directly at them. You're only taking your horizontal angle as you turn. You're not taking the angle as it's moving in free space. You're taking the horizontal turn that you're getting towards them. So these 3 people, if you're taking only the horizontal angle, then that should give you a perfect triangle if it were a flat plane. Absolutely.
Okay,
You're
so
not taking-
that was a bunch of bullshit. You're done. Rodney, can you please respond to what you just heard? If you're still there. Rakia, you're unmuted if you want to respond.
This was sort of this was sort of directed in my direction. I was quiet for the whole time. So if you look at the
Christ, dude.
So
Good
Brandon,
bitch. Good
Brandon,
bitch.
yeah. So Brandon, if you look at the picture that I just posted, you see the difference between a spherical triangle and a Euclidean triangle. Can you see that?
I don't care. A
That's what we're
triangle is
measuring.
3 sides connected. That's a triangle. You're not measuring
Yeah.
a triangle at any point in this process.
That's just wrong.
We just heard him describe the process.
So a triangle.
A triangle is 3 straight lines connected.
The
That's not
object
what
on
he
the
did.
left, the object on the left, connected by vertices A, B, and C, is a spherical triangle. The A, B, and C on the right is a Euclidean triangle.
Okay,
They're both
let me ask you
triangles.
something, because we're talking
That's not what
about
he's even
connecting
saying.
straight lines by line of sight. This
And they're
doesn't
connected.
have any straight lines in it. You're
Yeah,
making
see?
measurements with straight lines in Kosho's process. This
Line
has
C?
straight lines, but you're not pointing them at A, B, and C. You're pointing them above or below or whatever.
The lines C.
When you connect those lines, you're not connecting A, B, and C. Here, you're not making this measurement. You're not measuring
Brandon?
curved lines. You
Brandon?
understand?
The sides of that triangle, those are straight lines.
No, they're not.
These are not
They
straight. Shut the
They
fuck
are
up,
There's such thing
Brenda.
as a spherical triangle because you can't have angles with curved lines.
That's not
Literally,
true.
if you were to zoom into that, it wouldn't be 90 degrees because it's constantly curving.
It
You
is-
can't have an
you
exact
can.
90-degree angle.
Yes, you can.
Show me how.
Not in
It's
reality.
defined in the axioms of spherical geometry.
Just because they say it doesn't mean so.
That's how
If you have an
mathematics.
angle, look at this thing constantly curving, you will not have an exact 90-degree angle. It's bullshit.
That's called wizardry when you can only
it's-
show it in the definition. You can't show it in
Right.
reality.
Mathematics.
In conclusion, she
Mathematics.
Wizardry.
all
Not
Earth model
mathematics.
has curved
Wizardry.
lines, right?
Wizards with
Mathematics.
little
Hey, let me hold on,
pointed-
y'all. Give me 1 second, please. Please give me 1 second. Brenda,
Wizardry.
Brian,
if
by all
I'm at
means,
point
go ahead,
A,
Brian.
hold on. If I'm at point A and point B and I start walking 90 degrees, I'm not going to curve back around to point C. I'm going to go deviate away, okay?
It's
Listen,
a right
reality-
angle.
Brenda, you're right. Angle,
You're
two angles on your sphere. Okay, if I
Brian,
take off
real
at that
quick.
angle,
Brian,
what's going
you
to
know
make
what,
me
though?
fucking
Brian,
Those are
wait,
three
what's
right
going to make me
angles.
curve
we're
back
not
to
gonna
point
interrupt
A?
each other. That's what's going to happen.
Those are 3 right angles. They add up to more than 180
What's
degrees,
going to
less
make me
than
curve?
540.
Okay, listen, if I'm at point
Brian,
A
you're not getting it.
and
Brian,
point B,
stop.
here's my
Brian,
question.
how come you can't just go, thank you for admitting that you're basing it on a flat earth model? That's what she's
No, it's
describing,
not.
Brian.
It's not based on
That's
flat.
all you have to do is say, why are you describing a flat earth model? Why can't we just use words and ask Brenda, thank you for admitting that you're talking about straight lines?
I'm talking about.
She's not
I'm
honest,
talking
bro.
about on a spherical.
I don't know. Why do you go back
surface.
and forth when the Glober is admitting to straight lines? Why do we go back and forth for an hour?
So the
I don't get it.
spherical. The
Because we're trying to
spherical.
expose we're trying to expose them, dude.
But
Yes,
you're,
but
you're
you
cutting her.
just-
She's already exposed herself, and we're not pointing it
Yes.
out. You're claiming it's
Yes.
all straight.
Oh,
Congratulations.
yeah. You have to expose yourself.
Yo, real quick.
Congratulations. It's flat. Yes.
But I still didn't get to make my
Go to
point,
your
guys.
next-
I did not get to make my
Brenda,
point.
go to your next. Listen, you
My
guys do this
point.
every day for 2.5 hours, guys. Brenda, you've admitted.
Don't
it's flat.
fucking listen,
What's
bro.
next? What is next,
Listen,
Brenda?
man.
Make your next non-claim.
Bro, you still cut my point off.
You can make your point in a
Here's my
second,
point.
Brian. Brian, 1 second.
Wait.
Real quick.
This is my point. My point is if me, if I was at point A,
In 1
hold
second.
on. If I was at
shit.
point A, hold on, dude.
This is amazing.
Please let me get this out. Let me get this out real quick. If I was at point A and Brandon was at point B, and we both started walking toward Brenda at point C, if we started off at that angle that her fucking triangle has on her sphere, we would never meet up to Brenda. What would make us curve back down to Brenda? It would never happen in reality. That's my point. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
wrong
good job.
because
That's
this
what
is.
she agrees. She agrees that it's flat. I know percentage.
No,
Why
it's
don't we
not
talk
flat.
About this? Yes. Why would you say curve when she's saying they're lines?
Yes, they are
Brian.
lines. A
There's
line,
Curved lines that are making exact 90-degree angles. It's bullshit.
Yeah, she's calling them 90 degrees. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We're just going to keep interrupting each other. I got the game now. I'm good at it now. Okay, 444 West, Rocky South, and 23rd parallel. This is Brandon's channel, so we're going to continue in this direction. So straight lines is what you think the Earth is. Congratulations. And is there any?
Yes.
Congratulations, you're a flat earther. Are you next, Biodu?
On
We need two straight lines.
So
We
Brendan's
need two straight lines to form an angle.
Go ahead. Got another.
To form an angle.
Can I just get something out here?
I'm trying to say something.
I'm going to send you a cake, Brenda.
In order to have
come to flat Earth. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brenda.
So the point is
now in order to
God bless her. Amen.
But you guys just been talking over me for 20 minutes here. So on a and just let me talk, and then you can laugh or whatever you want. On a sphere, a straight line is defined as a great circle. That's what a straight line is on a sphere.
Brenda.
It's a great circle.
Amen. God bless you.
And the angles formed by the circles form a spherical triangle.
We don't care how you
And
define
the
a straight
interior
line. In
angles of that
reality, a
triangle.
straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. Period.
And yes,
Period,
right.
yeah.
Yes, and
A
on
purely
a
straight
sphere,
line is maintaining its direction. It's not going over a hump. It's not.
There's no hump
straight
on a
if
sphere.
It's curving.
there's no hump.
Hump on a sphere.
Amen.
Oh my
bless you
God.
again.
We're not redefining straight lines so you guys can
Amen.
think you live on a fucking
God bless
sphere.
you.
That's some Scientology level bullshit.
It is.
So we
it
got
is
2 in a row within 5 minutes, guys. You are amazing.
Yes,
How you guys
yes.
doing?
So
Unbelievable.
on a sphere, and a straight
can't
line
believe what-
is
how do you
defined
do this?
as a great circle. That's how it's defined axiomatically. That's how math works. Math works by defining axioms,
by applying
and then working out logically how those axioms, what they entails from them.
Like planar
Hey,
geometry.
tell me
Brenda?
what axiom, Brenda. Tell me what axiom declares
Congratulations.
you're
What
not.
axiom? You just said the Earth's flat. Why are you asking
You
more
just
questions?
talked over Brian. So
Yeah, Brian. What? Brian, you keep doing this. Brian, congratulate her. Find out who the lucky guy is. We'll throw her a wedding at this point. Just prove the Earth is flat.
I did not such thing.
Are you next? Baodu, go ahead, buddy.
Oh yeah, I wanted to explain just the process of what Brian was saying. If you have 2 people at the equator and they're looking, one is west, one is east, you're looking at each other essentially in opposite directions, then you both turn 90 degrees towards the North Pole. You're gonna hit the North Pole, despite you both hitting 90 degrees, which means that being 180, the angle from the
Welcome
top
to Flat Earth.
each of you will also
That's
be
a refusal.
angle above.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
You could do this with the basketball. You could do this with the
2 in a
basketball. and
row.
you
You
can
gotta be
you-
Oh my gosh, what
you-
happened?
Hold on. If you want
Is
to
there a
interrupt
full
the
moon
fucking
out right
monkeys,
now?
that's
Oh, it's
fine,
just
but that
raining.
only
I'm
hurts
sorry.
your side of the argument. So if you want to do this on a basketball, draw a straight line on the surface of the basketball. Draw another straight line. Draw a third straight line.
There you go.
You're gonna end
Excellent.
up with the
Straight lines,
triangle.
Baodu.
And
You just said we
you
said
can
the
measure
word
these
straight.
angles. You can measure these angles on
Oh
a
my gosh,
basketball.
Baodu.
It's not that this
We'll draw
only
the
works on a
straight
spherical
line.
Earth. This works
I
with
know.
spheres in
It's a
reality.
straight line. Congratulations, Baodu. Yeah, 2 in a row in 7 minutes, guys.
Did you hear
It's
any of the
unbelievable.
words that I said, or are you just going to ramble on like
Is
a monkey?
somebody here performing an exorcism? I'm
There it
thinking
is.
like
There it
this
is.
is insane.
Just for
This
the
is
record,
unbelievable.
one
Congratulations,
side is
Baodu.
providing
Those straight
explanations
lines.
and evidences,
Okay.
and the other side is
Right.
acting like monkeys. Just for the record.
No,
So let me
that's
ask
not
you,
true,
Bio.
Biodul. He's
Amen.
right.
Bio.
You said straight
Bio.
lines. Brenda said straight lines. You guys keep saying straight fucking lines.
I mean, Godzilla.
Let's say,
Congratulations, Godzilla.
Did
for the
I set up
exorcism.
the
Use
context?
exorcism
Did I
in
say the
chat
context
right
of the surface of a basketball? Did I say straight line on the surface?
You can't
of a
have a
basketball?
straight line on the surface of a basketball.
On the surface of a basketball, yes, you can. Of
No, you
course
no,
can't.
you cannot. If you grab a wire and then you make the straight line. Hold on. If you grab the wire and then you make the straight line on the ball and then you take that wire and put it on a flat, it's gonna be curved.
So if an ant walks on that line,
Yeah,
Unless you bend it.
very left or right.
I have no problem with
I'm
that.
doing it
yes.
right now.
If-
Yeah, guys, I
you
got a
change the
basketball
context.
right here. Yeah,
Yes,
right
if you-
there.
if
I'm
you
taking
change
my
the
straight
on one of
pen.
those black
Watch
lines,
this.
it's
I know.
very
Watch
left
this,
or
Brandon.
right.
I'm going to take my basketball, and now I'm putting a straight pen on the basketball. There's a straight line on a basketball.
That's exactly what's being said, is that there's 2 different contexts. You have Euclidean geometry, and then you have spherical geometry.
Right.
You have these.
You measure a straight line and then you redefine it as on the surface of a sphere as a curve, and voila, you think you're living on a ball. I got it.
I'm not necessarily
The only straight line you can get with the basketball is the needle that you're inflating it with.
If an ant
you
walks on
stick the
that
needle
line,
in.
is it varying from the left to the right?
Wait, I'll make it more simple.
Totally
guys.
irrelevant
I'll
question.
make it
No,
very simple. I make it very simple.
I really need you to fix this, please.
Wait,
Go ahead.
I'll make it very simple. I'm looking at a person, right? Standing far away from a person, I'm looking at him. I turn 90 degrees, there is a building. What is my angle to the building?
What was that?
Between the guy that I was
Ball
looking.
Earth. I hope you say ball or something because I'm getting
I
scared.
didn't
Go ahead and
say ball. I didn't say anything.
What was the measurement?
I was looking at the person. I turned 90 degrees to the right, and I see a building. What is the
Yes,
angle to the
congratulations.
building?
Straight, there it is. Look.
90 degrees to see the building. If you're talking about the
He can't
angle
even
from you
answer
to the
that.
top of the building,
Okay,
that can
can't even answer that.
No,
Lemon
no.
Bird, he just said he
when-
Chunky, can I draw a two-dimensional triangle on the surface of a sphere?
Because,
Brian,
no, I
please,
make
Brian,
it
sir,
very
1 second.
fucking
Chikey,
simple
you just said you look straight at
for
a building?
retards who can't
Is that
understand
what you're claiming, Chikey?
simple concept.
You're looking straight
So
at a building, right?
I was looking at the
You won't get an
person. I was looking at the person, turn 90 degrees to the right, and I see a building.
Oh, there it is.
What
Well,
is the
stop
what
with the
is
information you put in the
There it is,
question.
a
90
straight line again.
degrees.
90
That's
degrees,
only-
Chikey, for fuck's sake.
Lemon, I haven't finished. To the bottom of the building, what is the angle?
You turned, by the way. You moved. Do you remember
So
that?
you're
part,
gonna try and
Chikey?
use draw. You're gonna try and use draw.
Excuse me. Lemonberg, you're gonna lose it. Note to self. He claimed he
Between the
moved
guy
and
I was
turned
looking
90
at
degrees and saw the
and the
building.
building.
So you
What is
move
the
and
angle?
turn in that direction. Now it's directly
the
zero
fuck
degrees.
up.
Information you put in 90 degrees. So what-
Gumby world. Welcome to Gumby world. Welcome to
Gotcha. I
Gumby
mean,
world. Where's
you
the
gotta
dog?
throw out all
I'm
this stuff
talking
about
to people who,
geometry.
only people who can actually have a conversation.
Okay, so
Now, Chucky, we know what you're saying.
No,
Let's
you're
ask
not.
a question.
Hold on.
Break it down.
Let's let MG and Chikey go back and forth on this. Just
After that, I got a
No,
question, Brandon.
I'm talking with
All right.
Lemon. Talking with Lemon. Lemon, please can answer. So I turned 90 degrees from the person I was looking at
Don't do it, Lemon.
and looking at the building. What is the angle between the person I was looking at and the building?
You said
Did you
90
turn-
degrees is the only
Did you
information you
turn
gave. 90
to
degrees.
look at
And the bottom-
building, Chikey?
Am I talking to you
Okay.
or Lemon?
It's gonna be less than 90, right, Chikey? Your answer is less than 90.
No. Now, to the bottom of the building and the top of the building, is there any difference?
From the top to the bottom, it depends on where you're starting
No,
your
I'm
angle
not talking from the top of the to the bottom. If
You're
the
talking
angle
about
between
two
the
different
person
extremes.
and the top of the building and the angle from the person to the bottom of the building, is it any different?
There'll be a small difference, but for the purposes of you
Why?
getting to the final point, I'm gonna say
Why?
no.
Why wouldn't
Because
they
you
both
have an
be 90
angle up
degrees?
and an angle down. You need to say what the
I'm
angle
not.
being drawn
That's
from.
not the angle I'm measuring. I'm
Oh,
measuring
yeah,
the angle of
the
how much I
was
need
the
to turn.
person, and the person is shorter than the top of the building, so there'd be an angle from the top of the building to the person, whatever
That's
the
an
observation
additional.
point is.
That's an
And it's
additional
the
measurement.
person
I
to the top
don't
of the
care
building.
about this angle from the bottom to the top. I care about the
What's your
angle
final point,
from right
Chelsea?
to
My
left.
question involves this.
What my point is that how tall it is, how it is above or below your
There's
eyesight.
not
It
enough
doesn't matter.
information,
The
Chikey.
angle, the horizontal angle is the same.
I know
But
what
the
you're saying, bro.
horizontal angle would
Listen.
cut through the building at a certain point, and you would have a different angle from that point
No.
up and from that point down.
That's not what I'm measuring.
For God's sake, Chikey, can I draw a two-dimensional triangle on the surface of a sphere?
Surface is always two-dimensional.
So can I draw a two-dimensional 180-degree triangle on the surface of a sphere?
Yes, you can with the angles, but the lengths of that triangle, the sides will be different. So you could do the angle, but the original
that,
lengths
Brandon?
are going to be different.
Surface is not always
Really like
two-dimensional.
This is ridiculous shit right here.
It would
Whoever's
always
playing
be
League of
more than
Legends,
180.
whoever's
The
playing
thing
League,
is-
stream it. I want to watch.
all
You
surfaces.
would always have more than 180 because what you guys are doing with the surveying is basically you're sticking 3 pins in the ground and taking a rubber band to make a nice planar triangle. You're taking those same 3
My
pins.
next question was, can I have a two-dimensional triangle with more than 180 degrees?
Ryan,
That's my next
Clemens in the middle is talking.
You're sticking those 3 pins into the ball and assuming that they're at the same elevation and making a curved triangle over the ball. But the thing is, that triangle no longer has sides that are big enough to reach all 3 of those pins in your conception. You see objects dropping in the distance, and so you're completing a triangle with bigger sides and therefore bigger angles, bigger sides. And now it's more than 180 because you assume that it's dropping over a ball, increasing the length of your triangle. You're forgetting about the diffraction limit and how it's eating up parts of the object that are close to the surface.
This is just
making
word
your
salad.
triangles visually appear to dip down, and then you want to add distance to complete the triangle, giving you spherical excess. It's bad principles. You're forgetting about the diffraction limit eating up the object.
Diffraction limit has
We
nothing
don't
to do
care
with
about
geometry.
this, Lemon. We don't care about the trope or anything.
You
Just
can't make
the
a triangle
angle.
without sides.
Just the
So your
angle.
angles are based off of sides that you assume are dropping over a ball, and you're adding distance, which is giving bigger angles to compensate for the visual drop. But you're
Not
forgetting
even
about the
measuring
diffraction limit
distances,
eating up
Lemon.
parts of the object. So
No,
you're
no,
basing
no,
it
no,
wrong.
Not measuring
visually.
distances. Only
Hey,
the
Brandon, before the show's over, let me get one more question in, Brandon, before this show's over, please.
There's 2 methods. There's 2 methods that we can use to without visual. We can use the headings for navigation as well as known distances to locations. Those won't be visual. Those will be other things, and we still come to the same conclusion that spherical geometry is required.
Those
Using
use
horizontals,
computer
right?
software that are made by globe geeks like yourself and others that still use the same
Yeah,
presumption.
human
So that's
longitude,
no
man.
good.
Right. So there we go. So just denial. Okay, great addition.
No.
to the
If we
conversation.
assume longitude, yeah, we can get that. But here, this is my point. Okay, they said that the surface of a sphere is always 2 dimensions. Okay, then I asked them, can they draw a 2-dimensional triangle on a sphere? So my last question is, can I draw a 2-dimensional triangle with 180 degrees on a sphere?
No, because a straight line triangle has straight lines that go straight from point A to point B with no deviation. A curve is inherently deviating from a straight line standard. Therefore, you will inherently get more than 180 degrees, depending on how you measure the triangle. Inherently, it will have bigger sides, and by definition, bigger sides mean a bigger angle.
Yeah, this
now you can
just
look at it
isn't
from the
math.
top.
This just isn't math. This just isn't even math.
But technically, those
This is
sides
just gibberish.
are big. So
No,
this is
Lemon is right. You can't have
kind of
100 degree, 100 degree triangle on a sphere. Not possible.
Right, because you can do these things, but when you impose them to each, you're not going to have a triangle. You'll have a triangle on one, you try to put it on the other, not a triangle. You have a triangle on the other one, and you reverse it. You're not going to have a triangle on the second part.
Well, I should say no. Yes, with a caveat. From the top, it'll look like a straight, 180-degree triangle. But when you look closer, it'll have curved sides, so it'll look deceptive. It'll look like a straight line 180-degree triangle. But when you look closer, it's going to have curved sides. So it's a definitional nightmare.
You have to assume curved lines. You have.
Hold on. Fuck, that's what they're using for spherical excess. They're trying to say what Travis was pointing out earlier. They're using the inside of the triangle. They're trying to use drop as the fucking spherical excess.
Yes,
That's what Coach said.
yes. They are assuming curved lines. Listen to me. You cannot connect 3 lines together in a triangle in 2D or 3D space and end up with more than 180 degrees. And that's what you're telling me that you're able to do. You cannot do it, period.
I can't say wrong more powerful for what you just said, Brandon.
It is 100% correct. You show me how it's wrong.
Let's put a bet on it.
If you use lines of
You do it.
You have to bend your straight lines.
I'll get my basketball.
I'll bet you anything.
Straight lines within
3 straight lines.
Yeah,
we're not redefining what straight is.
No. It's not redefining. It's your lack of understanding what spherical geometry is.
When you look out at something across the, hold on, Brian. When you look out at something in the distance from you, that is, and you point from yourself to a point in the distance, that's a straight fucking line.
Fantastic. In spherical geometry, a straight line follows the curve of the surface.
Then somewhere
it's the
along the
simplest
way,
fucking math,
you're
man.
assuming there is curve already because you can't connect 3 straight lines and have more than 180 degrees ever.
Here's your disconnect. When we talk about spherical geometry, we're not saying the globe Earth spherical geometry.
We're not
only
talking about spherical
spheres.
geometry.
This works on a spherical geometry or a spherical Earth. It works with basketballs, soccer, all spheres.
We're not talking about spherical geometry. We're not talking about spherical geometry.
We are, because it's real.
No,
because it's real.
No, you're not.
Yes.
We're talking about measuring 3 straight lines and coming up with more than 180 degrees in reality.
Right. Which requires spherical geometry. You're right. There you go.
Which requires you to assume that the lines are curved. The straight lines that you measure.
That it works would require spherical geometry. When you have these things in Euclidean geometry,
Just say it like a
doesn't
mantra
work.
over and over and over again.
Flat Earth doesn't work. Right.
I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to
showed one in the chat. I just did it on a sphere.
You guys don't fucking listen, do you? Go ahead, Rodney.
Oh, I was just going to say that, you know, in surveying, we actually use Euclidean geometry, not spherical geometry. So you
Question
can talk
for
about
Rodney.
I know that's beautiful for your small shots. Yes, you don't have to worry about it. You're right.
Yeah, there's no practical use for it in any kind of.
This is a question. This is a question for Rodney, but it's pointed out in the BioDuel. Rodney, if we measure 20 miles down a canal, okay, on a smooth day, on a calm day, and then we close our loop, are we going to measure curvature in that canal?
No, there may be an elevation change depending on the terrain, but no, you're not going to measure any drop.
Right. But we could mathematically insert datums, right? We could change the datums. We could do all that mathematically given a radius, but we would require that radius, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can put that in the math and then make it, you know, convert to the. I mean, that's how they get the planar coordinates to convert over to the ellipsoid, the WGS 84 or whatever it's called.
But yeah,
Well,
but
the
our
thing is,
wait,
they're assuming,
last thing, guys. Lemon, last thing, I promise. But as far as instruments go, we don't measure the curvature, do we? As far as the instruments go,
Never. And their only claim, I know what his comeback is going to be, is on a small scale. You know, you say that assuming you know what kind of scale I work at. I mean, you know, I've done
I've
level.
asked you for your longest shots. I've asked you your longest shot, so I know what I can say.
It's all yours, Lemon. Sorry about that, bub.
You're talking about one single shot, though. You know, Brian just brought up level loops. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but those involve more than one shot. And you can easily do one over 8, 10, 15, 20 miles with no drop or curvature detected or measured.
Right, because you're doing it in increments. I understand what you're saying. If your increment isn't if the error margin for that equipment at that range is greater than the Earth curve, the supposed or assumed Earth curve, then of course it's not going to be in that. And every data point that you have with that information will never show curve, obviously, because each
you're delusional.
won't include it. So obviously, I have no.
Bro, they could get within a millimeter a mile, bro. You're delusional.
Yeah.
The
problem is they're assuming that
what is your longest single shot, Rodney?
They're assuming that vision is Euclidean, but the thing is that's belied by the fact that you can be in a parking lot looking at two poles that are the same height and should give you the nice planar triangle that you're looking for at the same height, but one dips down below the other due to perspective. So vision is not Euclidean, and parts of vision and parts of the object appear to disappear at the diffraction limit, making this assumption of nice Euclidean planar triangles specious at best. You need to check it with a laser. Otherwise, parts of the object disappear.
Hey, Lemon, Exhibit B, the Nazca lines, okay? The lines that are over 10 miles long, okay? You can see some of them make triangles, and they're not more than 180 degrees. People, these Nazca lines that are in, they're not in America that I know of. You got some stretches that are incredibly long, okay? And the triangles are not adding up to more than 180 degrees. In reality, okay, you can do it in a model, but that's all it is, people, is a model. Okay,
Well, they assume that basically they're eyeballing a straight Euclidean triangle to some section of the object that they're viewing. The object appears to be dipping down toward the horizon and disappearing, and they're assuming it's disappearing over a curve, and they're completing the triangle for the missing part of the object that would shoot straight up into the air and intersect their nice little visual Euclidean triangle. That's specious because the diffraction limit eats up part of the object, especially parts of the object that are close to the flat surface, making these triangles that we're trying to draw based off of perfect Euclidean principles baseless. It's just like a Southern Israelite said, visual geometry is baseless. And so you need to check it with a laser.
This is just nonsense. Diffraction limits have nothing to do with geometry.
They will eat up the object, messing with your angles. And then as a surveyor, you're going to try to complete the triangle by adding what you feel is missing space or missing height on the object to make your triangle more than 180. There's your spherical excess.
If you can't see it, if you can't see the target, then you can't see it.
And you can't draw an angle to it. So you're going to want to complete the triangle as a surveyor to make a nice little Euclidean triangle.
You just make the angle to a point that you can see.
Well, we're not measuring angles. We're really measuring sides and lengths and assuming
we're measuring
the
angles.
Is going over a curve and completing the triangle. Now the triangle has a bigger side, which is now adding up to more than 180. There's your spherical excess.
No, that has nothing to do. You have absolutely no idea about what spherical geometry is.
The diffraction limit ate up parts of the object. It dipped down toward the horizon, appeared to be cut off. You decided to make a nice little Euclidean planar triangle by adding the distance on that object that would make it tall enough to intersect your nice Euclidean triangle. Now your triangles add up to more than 180 because you have bigger sides, bigger angles, and vice versa.
That's literally gibberish. It has no relevance. No relevance
to the object disappear. That's it.
To objects on a sphere at all.
Check your assumption with a laser then.
No, this is easily checked. It's because the way mathematics works is you establish a set of rules, a set of axioms, and then you work out the logical implications of those axioms.
Welcome to Flat Earth. Thank you.
That doesn't prove flat Earth.
The thing is, math needs discrete units, and vision has no discrete units that are preserved like an apple throughout the counting process. If an apple counting out a dozen of apples was like looking visually, those apples would converge, merge, and disappear, and you wouldn't be able to count them anymore when they go beyond the diffraction limit. There are no discrete units of vision that are preserved throughout the counting process to justify this math. Just like Southern Israelites said, visual geometry is baseless because there are no discrete units that are preserved throughout the counting process. They merge, converge, and disappear, making your geometry increasingly baseless beyond the diffraction limit.
So math is literally, most of it is continuous, not discrete. Discrete math is a special branch of mathematics. Most of mathematics, calculus, geometry, and topology are all continuous, not discrete.
Then what do you do with the parts of vision visually that have gone beyond the 0.02-ish degree diffraction limit, beyond which you can't see bacteria, creepy crawlies, or things that are too close to the freaking surface? What do you do with those units of vision that have effectively disappeared beyond observation and measurement? What do you do with those?
Vision has nothing to do with mathematics. That's biology.
This is baseless. We have to check this with a laser.
Vision has nothing to do with math. Math is based on a set of rules, a set of axioms, from which we derive the logical conclusions, and then we check those. And then we check those with reality to see which one matches. And on the surface of Earth, spherical trigonometry matches reality, not Euclidean.
Yo,
Is it not math?
Real quick, can Ahmad unmute the XO? He keeps on joining and leaving the server thinking that he's he's going to be unmuted.
And we haven't even gotten into a hyperspherical geometry, which works with pseudospheres.
No, don't do it. No.
Or with non-standard algebras. Or non-standard arithmetic. It all depends on the rules. The arithmetic everybody uses is based. Yes, that's how math works.
Change the rules, redefine straight as curved, and voila, you live on a fucking ball.
Yes.
Amazing.
Brandon,
You're born a man and you think you're a woman.
We are allowed to do that.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want. You can think you live on a ball. You can think you live at the North Pole. I don't care what you think that you live on. Just don't tell our children.
We are
don't
allowed
tell everyone.
We are allowed to create.
Keep it to yourselves.
Brandon,
keep it to yourselves.
Brandon, we are allowed to create any mathematics we want.
You can do whatever you want.
Yes, you can. That's what mathematics is. It is a creative, abstract exploration.
So the globe is abstract. Got it.
No, but it is sometimes useful in describing reality.
Not real, abstract.
Right. Not all mathematics describes reality. Some of it does.
Well, we're looking to try to describe reality,
That's what we've been
Brenda.
trying to tell you for years.
Spherical geometry doesn't
math describes
describe
reality. Sometimes it
But I think you're getting too deep. How about let's go basic. Let's go basic. Brandon, would you agree that in different contexts, the same word can have different definitions?
A straight line is always a straight line.
No. I'm asking a specific question. In different contexts, when you use the same word, can it have different definitions?
Of course.
Okay, now with that, when we're talking about Euclidean geometry, a straight line means something. When we're talking about spherical geometry, a straight line means something else. It's as simple as that.
Here's the problem. When you go out and you measure between 2 points, what you're doing is measuring a straight line. In reality,
I agree.
you have a straight line, right?
Right. I agree.
Right.
Now, what context? What context?
Well, if you want to go
a straight
into
line that we're measuring,
if you want to go into an abstract context and say, you know what, this straight line I measured in reality is actually curved, that's your business.
The
But
point
don't
is
turn around and tell me that it's actually curved in reality.
Right. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying. What I'm saying
We
here, Brandon,
just agreed we measured a straight line.
Right. So we measure, in this example, we have 3 straight lines that we measured. These straight lines form a shape in which we could call it a triangle, but the inner angles measure more than 180 degrees. So at this point, we have to make a decision. Does Euclidean geometry support our measurements, or does spherical geometry support our measurements?
You're never going to
measure it from point to point. You didn't measure a triangle. The way you've described it, no, you didn't. The way you've described it is you aimed your scope at points, point to point, at different points. So here on my diagram, this guy right down here. All right, this guy is aiming at some point up here by this guy. This building over here, if there was a guy measuring here, would be aiming at a different point. See, unless those 2 lines connect, that's not a triangle.
Right. And the best example that I could give is for navigation using flight charts, when you have your heading values, because you have a heading which represents the direction of each line. And then the difference between those 2 headings gives you your inner angle. When you have 3 destinations, let's say, one of those destinations comes back to your original point. You've established 3 straight lines using these heading directions. When you add up the inner angles, they are more than 180 degrees. So again, I ask, does Euclidean geometry support this? Or
now you're talking about plane trips.
Geometry?
You're taking it into a whole different world because you're talking about plane trips, and now you're talking about
the same thing.
In the plane, we're using probably a map projection, and then we'd have to talk about how the map projection, that's completely different than surveyors going out and by sight measuring a straight line between 2 points. It's not the same.
It's the same process, but it's a different method of using
it's not
heading.
The same process.
If I know that I hold 60-degree heading and I can reach a destination holding that heading the whole time, I've just established a straight line from point to point.
No,
now I'm going
you
to
haven't.
use a heading of 320 to another point, and then whatever the fuck the third one is to
You're
get back to your
changing
original
the-
destination.
That's
when you have your
you're
angles.
changing the entire subject now. Now you're changing the entire subject to planes and heading in a certain direction for a certain amount of time, and that being a straight line. What we're talking about here is well established that when we point a scope at something and we draw a line between the point where I'm looking and the point that I'm looking at, that's a straight line. You're conflating that with getting in a plane and flying to a known destination and calling that a straight line. Those two things are not equal. That's a completely different discussion.
They are equal. They're equal enough for what we're talking about. They're not equal
they're not.
in their methodology, but they're equal in establishing straight lines from point to point in reality.
Nope, they're not.
Well, I know you say that, but that's literally what's happening is that you have a heading from a point. You follow that heading and you reach another point. And then again, you do it a couple more times.
It's
and that's what you're
interesting that you
exactly
want to
doing.
change the subject away from what we've been talking about this whole time. I'm wondering why.
It's just a different methodology for the same thing. That's all it is.
We were focusing
It's
on
not
this
just-
methodology, and I made the point that this guy is looking at a different point than this person is measuring to a different point than this one. Those two don't connect. That's not a triangle you've made, correct? Would we agree there?
Oh yeah. If they don't connect, then yeah, it wouldn't be a triangle.
Right, and that's the process that you Kosho described. That's the process that you guys are describing. Same with this
It's not what I
person measuring to this
described,
point. This one would be pointing somewhere else. This one would be pointing somewhere else.
Missed the most important part, man. That's
No,
why
I
I
didn't.
touched the part at the end.
Nope.
I didn't get
The part
that.
at the end makes it a perfect triangle.
Yeah.
Okay,
another
well then if
problem
you
is
are
you're
connecting three straight lines, then it's always going to be 180 degrees, Kosho. So then again, you need to explain why it's going to. No.
This is why you don't understand it, man, because you don't care to hear it. So you're never going to understand
We
it.
listened to you for 5 minutes. You repeated yourself
Still don't
over and over.
understand
I
it.
understand you got interrupted, but if you measure to the same point, this person and this person measures to the same point here, and I can say the same three things for all these observers, that is a fucking triangle with 180 degrees.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You missed the most important part.
No,
I
I
can share my
couldn't
screen
have
and
missed
show
a
you,
point
but
because
if
of
you-
this statement right here. I could not have missed a point because this is true 100% of the time.
Well,
Three
I think
straight
Brandon knows,
lines
but he's
connected,
still, holding on.
always 180 degrees in 2D or 3D space, always.
Yeah, if you don't
This is
care
what
about
Ben's-
it,
this is what Ben's been trying to say.
This is the most important part because, like I said, this is the
Make
only
it
way that
quick
you're going
because
to
I have
understand
a
it.
feeling
Actually,
some
it's a triangle.
monumental bullshit is coming. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to say it. But, so, like I said, when you're measuring this triangle, there's three people. Because you're horizontal and it's going to be above him. Because of this fact, you're not going to take the actual angle that you made entirely to him. So you're not measuring the angle between each other because you're not pointed at each other. You're measuring only the horizontal portion.
So
of
you're just
your,
you're tilting your triangle, bro.
For this reason, it is justified when you're using just the horizontal part of your angle and you're pointed at his vertical column. You're actually taking what would be an ordinary triangle if it were on a flat plane. It would be 180 degrees if that were on a flat plane. This is how it's done.
But the
No,
problem
you just
is we
confirmed
have at
exactly what
least-
I said.
We have at least three definitions for a triangle here, so this is leading to a lot of equivocation and confusion. We have the typical triangle that is made of straight lines that are coplanar, number one. Number two is describing a triangle based off of the lengths of the sides and assuming something coplanar like we do with this visual surveying.
No.
But the thing is there are no straight lines in space to verify these triangles,
No.
so that's very problematic, number two. And the third definition, Brenda, the final one, is planes that are intersecting this ball at a certain angle, and the intersection of those planes are used to say that you have planes intersecting a curved object, giving 90 degrees intersection of these planes here, 90 degrees, which adds up to the cutting of the circle into a 180 sphere slice or whatever. So we have at least three definitions of triangles that are just all
That's
over
okay.
the place.
but that's okay. We are
That's great
allowed.
that we're back to what we were talking about 2
Yeah.
hours ago. Congratulations.
are
Hey,
allowed-
Brandon, do you want to see a video? Maybe we can stop this insanity and look at a video instead of going backwards. Maybe
We are allowed to have
anything else?
different definitions of triangles.
Let me,
for
yeah,
different
you know what?
situations.
It's not a bad idea, but let me just wrap this up with Kosho because I want to make sure I understand. So this, we're talking about, this is the observer, okay, Kosho? This observer right here is looking at this target. He is going to be marking a line that is off of the target. Is that what you're telling me?
I can actually, I can share my screen and then I have a 3D.
No, that's okay.
I have
Just
a
answer the
3D
question.
description, so you don't have to make a guess because no, the answer is no to what you're saying. But I can show you explicitly what it is I'm saying.
Okay.
It's, I made the model, so hold on. Let me just share my screen.
Just admit you're using drop, assume drop, to try and
Yeah,
prove
I'm not
your
going to
point.
admit anything. I'm just going to share my screen for a second. That's all right with you, Brian. So on my screen, it looks jumbled, but I color coded it so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. So all three of these blue points here, they're all the equal elevation above this green ball. If you were to point directly at each other, you know, if each ball's pointed at each other, you would make a perfect triangle. That's true. But to make this measurement, what's done is from each position, it's made. They're looking at that other. They're looking in the direction of that blue ball, but they're horizontal. They're creating a horizontal line, and because that is what their focus is the horizontal line. It's going to intersect a vertical column of where that person is.
You just confirmed everything that you told me was wrong and that I didn't understand.
No, but Brendan, the important part is that there.
No, the important part is that you're talking a bunch of
Brendan,
bullshit right now.
The important part is
That's
that the angle that
part.
you're measuring is the angle difference between this and this angle. Only the vertical angle between the two.
The pole that the red lines are coming off of, the yellow, the one that the yellow lines are off of, the line is above or below where the green line is, right?
It's above it where the blue line is. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not pointing at the same space, right?
Wait a minute,
You're
Kosher, you got to be.
You're
Brandon,
pointed
you see what
at
he's
the
done?
person, but you're also you're making sure that you are horizontal.
Brandon,
So
do
the
you
fact
see
that
what he
you're
did here?
horizontal and the fact that you're pointed at them is going to make it so that you're going to be above them. If it's on a
Go ahead.
triangle.
Kosho has read my mind when they said straight lines on a ball. I telepathically told him to make this model to show him that he knows straight lines only work on a flat plane, and he's listened to me, and clearly that proves telepathy. So congratulations, that's 3 people admitting to the flat Earth today. Congratulations.
Yeah, so, but the problem is this doesn't admit the flat Earth because the measurement doesn't end when you point them at each other. The measurement is actually made.
Right. If anybody thought this helped your claim of
measuring the angle of these lines.
I have no fucking
And the
clue.
angles, the horizontal angles of those
yeah,
lines.
both, yeah, there's no. Yeah, you're making Brenda look kosher. You're making Brenda look smart now. Congratulations.
I mean, this is the actual method of how it's done. This is what's done.
It's not a triangle, Kosho.
Cyanide treatment. I mean, this is you need like some sort of like. I mean, are you having a seizure right now, Kosho?
No, Kosho's like half right. He kind of lost it when, in terms of you have to maintain horizontal with, you know, your location on the sphere, and as such you're going to be like going higher than the other point that you're facing. If you didn't, like, you know, if that wasn't the constraint, you could just perfectly align it, these 3 points in 3D space, regardless of whether it's over a surface like a sphere or what have you. Just these 3 points, you find the like, you know, this dimension that they are all on the same plane, right? The plane between them, and then you would have a triangle.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
sure,
exactly
sure
right.
thing. How many lines are? Hold on, Kosho. How many lines here?
right.
Hold on,
That's
Kosho.
said, but
Kosho, how
the
many
spherical
lines?
axis- the
Kosho.
spherical
Kosho, how many
axis
lines here?
the
Simple
spherical
question.
axis is
Kosho.
different.
Kosho, you're
Hold on,
complicating
the
it.
responding
Kosho,
what
listen.
percentage
How
you
many
just said,
lines
and
here,
that
Brandon? You
corresponds
got to
to
ask
what you're
him.
gonna
How
say.
many lines here are intersecting?
That's
How many lines
fantastic.
here are intersecting?
What
Kosho?
percentage said is correct.
How many lines here are
That's what I said.
intersecting? He'll
They
never
point at each
answer.
other.
What, Brandon?
Hey,
Hold on.
Hold on. Let him respond to percentage, then we'll ask him. Go ahead.
Right.
Kosho, respond to percentage.
Percentage it said is precisely what I had said. If you point them at each other, the blue balls, or you point them at each other, you would make a perfect triangle. But that's what sets this measurement aside from just doing that. Is it's the focus is to make sure that you're horizontal. You're horizontal, but pointed in that direction. And that's
So
why
once again,
that's why
you are
measure
not
an angle.
connecting 3 points by straight lines.
No, listen.
You're not
Or
doing
by
that.
taking the horizontal component of your angle.
It's worse than that,
No,
Brandon.
Kosho, just said, hold on, MG. Just acknowledge that you are not connecting 3 points by straight lines.
No, you are.
You can't maintain the horizontal
Go
on
ahead,
the surface
MG.
of the sphere, Kosho, and connect all 3
You're looking
points.
on top. You're looking down from the top of this is a model. This is a two-dimensional model. I'm looking down at a flat circle and looking at parallel lines on a flat circle that are intersecting each other because it's a flat surface. So again, once again, Kosho, God bless you for showing this two-dimensional flat model. That's the only way you can get it to make. You're showing me a flat Earth model with lines going across it. You're not even showing me a globe. You're showing me a flat Earth model.
You're reaching, bro. You're reaching.
It's so cute when he
moving
tries
it
to
around.
think.
No,
It's so cute when he tries
It's
to
a 3D model.
This is absolutely psychotic.
It's
Kosho,
so
that
cute when he
term, when you
tries to
said
think.
Kosho, when you said horizontal, Kosho, when you use that word horizontal, you're assuming that that's horizontal to the radius of a ball.
No, I'm not. I'm assuming
he's
it's I'm
assuming
assuming
local horizontal
that
for
it's
each
horizontal
point.
from that position because it
That's
is.
what I'm saying.
It's
A local
horizontal from
horizontal.
that position.
Yeah,
Brandon,
a local horizontal based on a
shot.
radius, which is why that line is shooting straight up. But does that actually happen in reality? Because
No,
if not,
okay, so let me just so you understand this. If instead I didn't make this on a ball, if I just would use a flat plane, I could have done exactly the same method where I just took the positions of each person, pointed it in the direction of the other person, and made my position horizontal. Had I done this,
but it's not
Hold on, Kosho. If you did it like that, then you can get a local horizontal and match all 3 points. But because you're doing it on a curve, you can't.
No, but the percentage is exactly right. If this were a flat plane, I could do it the same method that I described. You point it at each other. You don't worry about pointing it directly at them. You just hit the vertical column, but you make yourself horizontal. You would have automatically intersected the exact person because everybody's the same elevation. You could have used exactly the same thing, the horizontal component of your angle, and it would have been 180 degrees. That's what would happen if you did this exact measurement on a flat plane.
Kosho, you are not at any point in time when doing this.
Is what gives you the actual.
You are never connecting 3 straight lines here, Kosho. Ever.
Brandon, do you
You're
believe
never
this is a
connecting 3
three-dimensional
straight
model,
lines.
Brandon, do you believe this is a three-dimensional model?
When he moves it around,
like
it.
Brandon, every time it changes, in pixel, it's a new two-dimensional model.
No, it fucking
rotating.
isn't. It's clear.
This is two-dimensional.
He's right technically, but you have to.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Princess Brandon. Every single time the image turns minusculely, it's a new two-dimensional model turning in different. It's an illusion that you think it's three-dimensional. This is two-dimensional artwork on a flat surface. And if you think this helps you, Globers, you are absolutely possessed by demons again. Congratulations, you people are absolutely psychotic.
All right,
We're showing you real
just
pictures.
hold on, man.
That's
Come on.
insane, bro. Oh my gosh.
Yes, this is, but Kosho, you are never at any time connecting 3 lines. 3 straight lines, right? Yes, that is correct, right?
No, just as I described to you, if this were on a flat plane, you could use this same method. You'd use the same method to measure that triangle.
Yes or no? Are you connecting 3 straight lines?
Yeah, I'm telling you, yes. That you are connecting these 3 points. That's how you're doing it. This is how you're finding
not all on the same plane,
triangle.
He's not connecting the lines,
method that is used. I mean, professionals use this. It's a very sound
method. I don't
method.
give a shit if professionals use it.
It's because it's a sound method. Geometrically, forget about the Earth. Pretend the Earth is flat if you want. It doesn't matter. It's not about the Earth being flat. This is about using this measurement to measure the angles of a triangle. If you were doing these measurements on a flat plane, you would get a perfect triangle. If you were doing it on some sphere, like arbitrarily, like I'm doing it on a sphere, you would get the measurement. You would get the angle of the excess of 180 degree.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a triangle,
which would be correct on a sphere.
You're not getting any kind of triangle. You're not connecting 2 lines like
there's no triangle.
Just like Brandon said, you're not connecting 3 lines.
Connecting 3 points.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
So what if you don't connect?
This is the method.
You're not making any kind of spherical or regular.
What does it measure for the angle measurement if you connect the 3 lines?
It's not a triangle if you don't connect
It's
three
not.
lines.
No, you measure the angles. You don't measure a triangle. You measure the angle at each point. That's all
Then
you
it's
did.
not a triangle.
Listen, this is how it
is.
works. If you guys are finding the local horizontal first, you're not going to get a triangle. You're going to miss your mark. Okay? If you're just connecting the points, regardless of the local horizontal, then yes, you could get a triangle on, you know, in the air, in the 3D space, and there may be a sphere. It's not necessary that there's a sphere underneath. It's whatever you choose to do first. If you're trying to get local horizontal, no triangle.
Yeah, but
If
as
you're
you
just
said earlier,
looking straight at the points,
It's cute.
triangle.
It's cute when you try to think percent.
No, but
It's
no,
really
but no,
cute.
percentage,
Can you imagine being
percentage is
psychotic
right.
enough to present this? I know what it is, Brandon. You
Percentage,
felt this
as you
sorry
said
for them.
earlier,
I had
this
no
were on a
idea.
flat plane, though.
Brenda,
You did
please
this
don't call
way,
me
you
cute.
would get a triangle, right?
You're not my type.
If you were,
I'm so
on
sorry,
a flat
Brandon.
plane,
I had
and you
no
did this
idea it
method,
was
though,
this bad.
percentage, you
I
would
really
get a
didn't.
triangle, correct?
Sorry, go ahead, Kosho.
I said if you did this method, though, and this were not a sphere, it were a flat plane, using the method of the horizontal, you would get a triangle, though. You agree with that?
On a flat plane, yes.
Okay, so then let's just change the word then. Let's just change the word of measuring a triangle on this globe. This is a spherical excess measurement. And it's called spherical excess because it's measuring the excess of what would be a triangle on a flat plane, but is obviously more than 180 degrees if it's not a flat plane.
Yeah, it's not the triangle.
That's what's being measured. So we'll just take out the word triangle. We're measuring the spherical excess, and that's what this does. It measures the excess of a triangle, determining the surface of the thing that you're on.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. As long as you don't call it a spherical triangle, then I'll give it to you.
Well, it's because those three black plumb lines on a sphere are all pointing outwards from the sphere. So that's essentially the excess.
We don't use spherical geometry.
No, the
in
excess
reality.
isn't just from them pointing out, because they could be pointing out, and you could find the plane within these 3
Right,
points,
percentage.
regardless
Maybe I
of
should
the
ask
sphere
you.
beneath it. It's
Oh,
the problem
percentage.
arises when you're getting the
Can I ask
local
you something? I
horizontal
can't talk
of each
to
of the
Kosho
points
or-
separately.
That's fine. Percentage. What about you? Are you saying
I have
that
a serious
with this
question
model
about
right
this
here,
guy. Hey.
with this 2D dimensional, looks like cartoon model, this is going to
Let me get
prove
in
how
next,
the globe
Brandon, or
works?
something.
Yeah.
Is that what the conclusion is of this?
No, it's
Brandon,
not.
am I talking too much? I'm sorry, I got muted back there. I'm sorry, I offended somebody. We are
You-
using 2D models.
Rated
You're
it as
telling me
broke.
that we're going to use two. That's fine. I know I'm going to get interrupted continuously.
Polite.
It just continues.
Excel, just,
Everywhere I go,
tranquilo,
I
man.
can't talk.
Jeremy next.
All right,
Just Jeremy next.
so I can't talk. You're just going to continue to interrupt me, Lemonbird, as usual.
Let's not crowd out Jeremy
Everywhere
again.
I go, this person Lemonbird interrupts me. Everywhere I go. It's
Excel, man,
unbelievable.
behave. You know,
I
you're...
know. I'm saying, can I speak? Am I allowed to speak?
Okay, say your piece.
Brandon,
go
if I
ahead.
can't. Okay, that's
Oh.
all I'm saying. Great. So, okay, thank you, sir. In conclusion, this two-dimensional model is going to prove the globe Earth. I can't believe that. I didn't know how stupid.
No, it does not.
Hey,
I had no idea. That's unbelievable. In
3D
conclusion,
model.
you're saying there's a possibility that this two-dimensional model, a green ball with a little bit of light pixelation on top. Yes, if you think this is three-dimensional, you are absolutely stuck in this cartoon. Remember, you're going to live in this cartoon the rest of your life. Congratulations.
All right, Jeremy next.
You're correct. It's technically sequential two-dimensional images, right? And we have to kind of like give them the benefit of the doubt
Yeah,
and not
welcome
be
to my-
pedantic to say
Jeremy, get in
it's
there.
representative of a
Welcome to
3D
first grade,
model.
But
But
it's
no, it
still
does
a
not
3D
prove the goal.
model of what it
Hey,
would be.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, what's up, Jeremy?
Hey, Brandon, would you show my? I'm
Go
sharing my
ahead,
screen.
Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy. And then I
So
will.
these three black lines you got coming up off the sphere, those are some what?
Essentially, the plumb lines to the
We'll call
center.
them the vertical columns of the position of the.
No, don't take that off. Keep that right on there.
Yeah, we'll call those three circles the three positions, and we'll call those black lines the vertical columns of those positions.
Why'd you change your screen? Put that
You're
back
so
up, bro.
shifty. You're so shifty,
Put that,
Kosho.
put that back up. Put that back up, bro. Put that image back up.
You don't
Yeah,
refer
there
to
you
the
go.
plumb lines?
Hold on, guys.
Plumb lines?
You can call them plumb lines if you want, but vertical columns, just for the sake.
What's it made of?
What's it made out of?
Yeah, I mean you're measuring to it, right? What is it? What are you looking at? How do you know when you're hitting it?
Well, you point in the direction of the other thing, of the other person.
No,
So
it's
you
not
don't
the
even
black
know.
line.
It's not an actual thing.
So how do
He's
you know
saying, how
when?
would you demonstrate it?
Well,
How do you know when you're looking at that? How do you know where you're looking at it if it's not? There's nothing there.
When you're a skilled surveyor, so you measure with your theodolite, whatever it is they use, you turn it to the person, and then you make your thing horizontal. I'm sure they have a much more exact perfect way of doing it, but I mean, the way I just described it would be fine.
That
Either
sounds
way,
like
it doesn't matter.
that they're pointing the theodolite straight out and hitting something, or that they should be hitting something and that they're not hitting something because it's dipping down over a ball. Forgetting about the diffraction limit, that assumption is quite questionable.
No. So, for instance, if
Diffraction
you
limit
pointed
has
it
nothing
directly,
to do with geometry.
It's all the same base assumption, Lemon. I agree.
Hey,
Coach is
Brandon,
basically claiming that these,
I'm
these
sharing my
sight lines
screen.
would launch off into outer space is essentially what he's saying. That if you leveled one of these plumb lines and you level it, it's kind of what Brenda was bringing up at the beginning with the tripod and trying to do a plumb line and level. What Kosho's claiming is that if you did that, as you got your level in that local region and you sighted it out, that it's going to shoot up above that other point. That's what he's
let's say you point it directly at the person. And then you point directly at the person, and then you realize that your thing's not horizontal, so you raise it up in the vertical direction so that's horizontal. It's going to be above that person, but it's going to be on the same vertical column. And that's
yeah, that's fine. So you're making, guys, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, it's way too complicated for the first.
It's not complicated. So you're
I'm
getting.
gonna have to buy an Atari now to know how.
Hold
it's like
on,
to
let
live
Jeremy
in real life.
finish. Go ahead, Jeremy. Finish up.
Yeah.
So you're pointing it at this thing, and then you move it down to make it horizontal, right? And then you're taking an angle of what?
And then you take the horizontal angle of, so you have your points. You have two dudes because there's two other dudes besides you. You have one at one guy, one at the other guy. So then you have two lines, just like I have all the different the two lines with the same color. You measure the horizontal angle between those two lines, and they're both going to be. Both those two lines are already horizontal, so they're going to already be it's going to be easy to find the horizontal angle because they're both horizontal from where you are. So you just find
how do you measure the angle?
Well, you're using one of your whatever the tool is, like the theodolite or whatever it is they're using. What do we call those? The
angle where say the light
blue.
Say the light blue line. Say the light blue line and one of the black lines.
No. You don't. No. So there's two blue lines. There's two red lines. There's two orange lines. So the two blue lines is one pointed at one dude, the other pointed at the other dude. They're both above those dudes, but they're both horizontal. So they're going to be. You're just going to find.
You're getting the angle from the blue line to another guy's vertical column, right?
No, you're going to find the angle from the two blue lines that are in front of you. You have one blue line in one direction, one blue line in the other direction. The angle between those two lines is the angle that you're going to add together with the other dudes' angles.
One of the orange lines is brown.
That's because I clicked on it. Yeah.
So Brandon, could you share my screen, please?
So is there? Hold on, one more second, Brenda. Is there any more? Is refraction involved in this at all? I feel like there's an up and down aspect to this where refraction could come into play.
As long as you were able to perfectly sight the person before you made your thing horizontal. However it is you did that, would be fine. And
so refract. There's nothing to do with refraction.
Jeremy's point is that this is all theoretical and it's a fucking chasm to make it into an actual thing.
Is refraction involved with this?
Plumb lines, wind.
How the real world works.
All right. Is refraction involved with this?
Yeah, I think you've seen this before. How you take a bunch of measurements and take the average, and I think it's to account for things like that.
Basically, there's no perfect vacuum, so they don't know what is the.
So you have no idea what the baseline is, and this is all just a guess.
No, if you're pointing at something, like if you're pointing left or right at something, the refraction, their error, the error in their position is going to be usually a vertical error. It's not going to be a left or right.
You never get the average.
You're gonna be able to find the average and
Sure, you can get an average, but you never know the actual position. You just get an average.
No, refraction doesn't tend to move things out of position left and right.
But it does, though.
He's right, Kosho. You get an average amount. You might apply some sort of calculation for correcting the refraction, but you don't know the actual.
You never have an actual position. You only have an average of a refracted position. That's all you have.
Some degree of error. Yeah.
This is total bullshit.
Yeah, there's always error.
There's always error.
You have scientific instruments.
No error. You're just making the shit up.
Error. You just never have an actual.
There's always error when you're dealing with scientific instruments. There's always error.
I have a question for Brenda.
Whenever there's a chance.
It's off topic. I mean, it's regarding Coriolis. Brenda,
I think Brenda was gonna hold on, Data. I think Brenda wanted to share her screen next. We said she could do that. Then
well, just to go right out, let me just say something real quick to go off what Jeremy was just saying. So, how about this, Coach? I don't know if this has ever been done, but what if 3 people? Of course, it'd be good if you could do a physical line measurement instead of a laser. But what if 3 people 6 feet off the ground in a triangular shape with 3 lasers, and all 3 lasers hit the target at 6 foot? What would you say then? Would you try to come up with some triple refraction going on? Or what would you think of that if 3 lasers all hit the target at a 6 foot observer? Because it's not that hard to do.
I'm not sure what you're asking, so that'd be cool. The lasers, I'm not sure what you're asking though.
I'm just saying if you're 6 feet off the ground, 3 points on the earth, 3 lasers hit all 3 targets.
Gravity.
That sounds like it'd be cool.
Can I just jump in real quick?
No, Kosho, he's saying that they're all, see, that's the thing again. So Kosho's saying that they have a local horizontal that are all different, and you're saying that they have a horizontal that's all the same. So
okay.
it doesn't really prove anything.
If you leveled the 3 lasers, let me just say this real quick. If you leveled 3 lasers on a globe Earth, yes, the lasers would be shooting up into outer space. If you leveled 3 lasers on a flat Earth, they're all going to be hitting the target.
Sure, yeah, you're right.
That's
You're
true.
exactly right. So if you were to make this measurement the same way, and you were to find that they were all horizontal, and you matched up with the other people, and it was 180 degrees, you found all these things out, that would be your result. And your result would be that you'd say that the curvature of the Earth is nothing; it's flat.
Let me just jump in real quick. Just real quick, Kosho.
We'll get
hold on, just real quick. Just real quick. Kosho, you're absolutely incorrect. I have a video of a house dropping down vertically and moving to the right in real time. Okay, so refraction moves the object in all 3 dimensions. You guys have no fucking clue.
No, I said it
they never happen.
I said it doesn't tend to. I didn't say it never happens.
No, yeah,
so because it doesn't tend to, you can
did.
take the average of multiple measurements and you can.
Ocho, you literally said it doesn't happen left or right. You literally said that.
I literally said it doesn't tend to, is what I said. I said it tends to.
Again,
bullshit.
That's
bullshit.
I literally
it
used those
doesn't
words,
happen
man.
on the left and right.
It happens all the time. I have videos of it all the time. You guys don't know what you're fucking talking about.
First one.
Can I ask one quick question before Brenda shares the screen? While Kosho still got his
Go for it.
diagram up. Well, I mean, just for accuracy's sake, since their official model is not a perfect sphere, it's the flattened ellipsoid. Can he just redo his whole thing on the reference ellipsoid instead of using the sphere?
I'd like to see him highlight the triangle he's making here. I don't see where there's a triangle. Highlight the 3 lines.
Before Jeremy, we're not measuring a triangle. We're measuring the spherical axis. That's why when percentage was making that point, I decided to go with that because it is correct and it will have us agree with each other because we're technically not measuring a triangle. We're measuring the spherical axis to what would be a triangle if it were if this were a flat plane. But if it's not a flat plane, what you're going to end up with is spherical excess of the triangle.
You don't know what spherical excess means then, because spherical excess is the amount by which the sum of 3 angles of a spherical triangle. So show me the fucking triangle.
That's what I just said.
Where's the triangle?
Triangle would be on the surface. That's not. You're not measuring it directly. You're not measuring the actual.
You have nothing. You literally have nothing.
You're measuring the spherical.
You have nothing.
This is how you make the measurement, man.
You don't even have spherical excess because you need a triangle for it. Show me the triangle or shut up.
I'm showing the triangle, Jeremy. I'm showing the triangle.
No, you're not.
So can Kosho do
Yeah,
it on the sphere?
This is a triangle. This is a triangle. A, B, and C are 90 degrees. Adds up to 540 degrees. This is what
it's not a
triangle on. Well, it is.
You redefine triangle. Oh, I see. Okay, your curvy line triangle.
We are allowed. We are allowed
Make
to
sure
do that.
you say spherical triangle so that we know it's not in reality.
But I have been. No, it is. It is. It works in reality.
Okay, how do they measure this one?
On the globe is done.
How do they measure this one? Let's go. Let's measure this one.
This is an illustration. A, B, and C are 90 degrees.
So you have no measurements of this happening.
This you could fit it to the globe Earth, and
you have a measurement of it on the globe. You have a measurement of this on the globe.
This is an illustration.
So this is not this is a cartoon.
Theoretical.
It's an illustration. It's an
you have any
illustration.
measurement?
Do you know what it?
He's
Do you have any
asking
measurements
on
of
the
it?
within
Earth.
physical world measurements.
You
That's
could
what he's
just you
asking.
just translate it to the Earth. A and B would be on the equator. C is the northern pole.
That's a nice story.
So it's how things actually work.
Let's see the measurement.
It's not.
You
Yeah,
have a
you're not,
measurement of
you're
this.
not even using the right model in your illustration.
Yeah, Rodney does make a good point on that.
What's wrong with it?
The
What's
oblate
wrong with
He
it?
doesn't make
Your
a good
official
point.
model is not a sphere.
Yeah, the oblateness would change all of it.
No, it wouldn't. If you were to look at an oblate spheroid, it would look exactly like this. You would not be able to tell the difference between what the Earth actually is and what this.
Whether it would make a difference, whether it would make a difference or not, I think you guys should at least be honest and use your official model.
You wouldn't be able to discern the difference.
Yeah,
The only way you can get more than 180 degrees is
Jesus
because
Christ.
you're not using straight lines, Brenda. That's the only way you can get.
Those
180
are
degrees.
straight lines. Those are
No,
straight
they're not.
lines. The green lines
No.
are straight.
There's
They are
spherical
great
geometry
circles,
straight
and-
lines, which aren't straight lines.
Yes.
She doesn't even have a measurement of this.
They're your
Like, what are we
redefined straight
talking about?
lines.
I want to drive.
Brenda, is
This
it
is a
possible to
cartoon
get
she drew.
a straight line in 3D space with our current technology?
Well, of course. What are you talking
Why are
about?
we debating?
Is there enough technology? Is there enough technology to create a device that do straight line and a device that does a curve?
Over long distances, there are no materials that would not distort on the Earth due to gravity.
So again, that wasn't the question. The question was, do we have enough technology to create a device to travel in a straight line and then another device to travel in a curve? Do we have the technology to do that?
We have just line of sight. We have just line of sight with just straight.
Oh, we don't have technology.
They're called drones.
Yeah.
No, we have line of sight, which is straight.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna ask you again. Okay. This is really for clarity purposes. You believe we have the technology to produce something that flies in a straight path in 3D space, and you also believe that we have enough technology to produce something that flies in a curved path in 3D space. Correct?
Sure, within certain tolerances.
Oh, okay. So how do we know that they are different paths? What distinguishes the difference between them?
They would end up at different places.
Right. Okay. So if you know that we can produce a straight line path in 3D space, at what point does it not maintain a straight path? What distance?
Huh? What are you talking about? If it follows a straight path, it follows a straight path.
Okay. Okay. Great. Welcome to Flat Earth.
How does that imply flat Earth?
Because you acknowledge that there's two different paths between straight and curved. You're claiming that there's a ratio to distance when that effect becomes non-existent or something. Does one object all of a sudden no longer have a curved path because of distance, and one object doesn't have a straight path because of distance? Is that what you're claiming?
I have no idea what you're talking. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So the two objects, one is in a straight path, one's in a curved path. You're saying that it's good at shorter distance. Is that what you confirmed? Like the fact that they can follow in a straight path.
So an airplane flies straight and level. It has level flight, which conforms to the surface of the curvature of the Earth. That's what level means.
Why would it conform to the curvature of the Earth? Why would it conform to the curvature of the Earth? That's a powerful suggestion.
Because that's how it's designed. That's how it's designed.
So it's designed. It's designed based on the Earth's what?
It's designed to maintain a straight and level flight.
Right.
It's
right.
designed to stay the same
and that's
barometric
based on
pressure
what?
that you set it to.
And that's based on what, Brenda?
The shape
I'm sorry,
of
that's
the Earth
based
has
on
nothing
what?
to do. It has nothing to do with the Earth.
I'm not asking you, Badu. I'm asking Brenda. Don't wait night now. Don't change the subject.
I'm letting you know.
I already know.
You want to try to set someone
I
up?
already know.
What do you want?
I already know.
You want facts
So
or you
she's
want
already admitted that there's enough technology in this world to produce a straight path in 3D space and enough technology to produce a curved path in 3D space. She also concluded that it becomes non-existent the larger the distance. In other words, you wouldn't be able to distinguish the difference.
That's not what I said.
Right?
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
You want to clarify then? Do you want to clarify then?
I don't know if you could travel in a straight path for very long, because eventually you would start to enter the upper atmosphere, and the craft that you're using.
Why would you enter the upper atmosphere if you travel in a straight path? Why would you do that?
because the Earth is curved.
Oh, okay.
Because
Right.
he'd be
So
traveling tangentially
if a
from the
plane
original
flies
point,
level,
means that
if
you're
a
gonna be
plane
getting
flies
away from the
level
Earth.
and doesn't give a shit about the Earth, but a plane flies level and that
That's
doesn't
right.
happen, that doesn't match your observation or your theory.
It maintains level because the density of the air around it maintains
So
the
these
forces in such a
devices-
way
these
that it stays
devices-
at a
That is
certain
the new
elevation.
argument.
Yeah.
Totally
So
different
this
subject.
these two devices, Brenda, one in a straight path over Earth and one in a curved path over Earth. You're saying that the device that is designed to travel in a 3D straight line here on Earth, if I just keep flying in a straight line, that it will fly off into the atmosphere? So
It
my
would fly off
drone,
into space. You would need a
so
rocket.
my drone,
You would need
okay,
you would need a rocket.
so
You
now
would need
you're
a
rocking.
rocket.
So anyway,
Yes,
Brandon,
you would
this
need
is
a
the
rocket,
joke
and you would
starts
need-
coming out, right?
Just a minute.
The joke starts coming out. This lady here starts joking around. So, Brandon, at the end
No,
of the
I'm
day,
not joking. You would need a rocket.
admitted that
You would need a
there's straight
rocket.
path. There's enough technology to have a 3D something travel in a 3D space in a straight path,
could.
and something travel in a
So
curved path in 3D space, right?
FD,
You've already
you have to be
confirmed that.
you have to be quiet
Right?
once
That's
in a
what
while.
you've already
So you
confirmed.
could have.
So how is that
So you're
possible
not
on
gonna
your
shut
ball
up.
Earth? How is that possible on
So
your
you
ball
just-
Earth to have two?
Okay,
two
in
different
order for
paths?
me
All
to
right,
answer
let her
you,
answer.
you have to
Go
shut
ahead.
up.
Yeah,
So
it's a
you
joke.
could make.
He's bringing up different
So he's not gonna
arguments,
shut
different
up.
points.
He's not going to
deviating
shut up.
conversation.
He's not
All
going to
right,
let
all
me
right,
answer.
all right.
Just-
Let's move
Yeah,
on.
he's
Then.
not.
Let's move on.
Just a
Let's
joke,
move
He's
on.
not gonna
Hey,
let me answer.
how much are the
You're
interior
joking,
angles
man.
of this?
What the fuck?
Data? Come on,
Let
man.
me answer. So,
You wanna answer?
what you would do is you would build you would build a rocket and fly it straight up, and it would leave
They don't fly
the Earth.
straight up,
It would
idiot.
leave the atmosphere.
Haven't you seen those launching?
They don't, but you could.
What?
Hey guys,
Okay.
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
They
Okay, so-
don't for practical reasons.
Brenda, here's a genuine question for you. Does the Earth rotate under aircraft?
That's not how Coriolis works. Coriolis is the conservation of angular momentum.
Copy that.
Rodney, go ahead.
Right.
Oh, I was just going to say, my wife's actually here listening to it. She's not usually with me when I'm listening to these things, but she's a teacher, so she heard y'all talking about triangles, and so I showed her the picture that's on the screen now, the thing, and asked her if that was a triangle. What was your response, babe?
Those are not straight lines.
Oh wait, say it again.
I said those are not straight lines. And
It's
it's
not
not a
fast.
triangle.
It's not fast.
Do you know what?
Like that.
Yeah. Do you know what spherical geometry is? What the axioms of spherical geometry are?
The bullshit of
It's a mathematical abstraction, Brenda. Do you want to
Yes,
elaborate
all
on a
of
mathematical
math is.
abstraction? So is it
All
something we
of
do
math
on
is.
paper? Is it something we do on paper? We don't take any
Yes.
measurements. We just do equations. Can I take spherical geometry and use an equation to take Cartesian XYZ and turn it into spherical coordinates? Can I do that with a quick calculation?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Hey, guys,
Yeah,
let's
it's pretty
play
easy. It's pretty easy to do, right? Yeah, it's pretty easy to do, but it's on paper,
Well,
right?
not for you.
Where do we get the
you
what's
probably can't add two numbers.
planar
Hold on.
calculations first? What do we use in 3D space? Do we use curved lines to measure that space in 3D space, or do we use straight lines to measure that 3D space? Do we have the technology to measure 3D space? Brenda, you said yes, we did.
He's just never
Yes,
gonna
you
shut
did.
up. He's just never gonna
Hey,
shut up.
Rodney, I didn't know if your girl was still on. Is she still on? Did she want to respond or no? She probably doesn't want any of that.
Did you want to say to him what you just told me?
Well,
I just want to
Ask me
say
what
that
spherical
as
geometry is.
I am an elementary teacher, and triangles are taught in kindergarten and first grade.
So
Fair
basically,
enough.
she's saying you know this.
Right. We get that, but
and spherical. Can I reply?
No.
Spherical trigonometry is taught in university, not to children.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we now have
hey,
a
Brenda.
general definition of a triangle. The triangle that they're going with now is the intersection of any three lines, be they curved or straight. So they're working with a bit more of a loosey-goosey definition of a triangle here.
For sure. Hey, how much is the interior angles of this one? Brenda?
540 degrees. 540 degrees.
It's
180
sure?
180
Are you
plus 180 plus 180 plus 180 plus 180.
It's a hyperbolic triangle, right?
270.
It's a hyperbolic
No,
triangle.
it's not hyperbolic. No, it's not
Thank you, Coach.
hyperbolic.
No, it's a hyperbolic triangle. Well done, dude.
Shout out
it
to
is the
science works in mysterious ways.
It's the opposite of hyperbolic. You mong.
It's 270.
It's a 270 degree.
No, it's 540.
Internal angles is 270.
That's what he said. It's 540.
All right,
I know,
540.
it's not.
Kosho,
Amazing.
add 180 plus 180 plus 180, and you're not going to
Why
get
would you-
200
Why are you adding 180? You would add 90 plus 90 plus
because
90.
they're three 90-degree angles.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, Brenda.
Oh, okay.
No, we're just giving you a shit, Brenda. Someone in
That's fair
chat
enough, it's
noticed.
fair enough. It's a long day.
Yeah, it happens. It's just
all
funny.
good.
But the thing is that, but Brenda's example, the cool thing about Brenda's example is that measurement actually can be made very differently than spherical
No, it can't.
axis because
It can't.
the positions are known. The North Pole position is known and the equator is known, and you can make a straight path from 1/4 of the equator, and then you can take a 90-degree northern turn. And the longitude lines and latitude lines, they're perpendicular. So it's 90 degrees. So that's a 90-degree angle. You travel to the North Pole. There's 360 degrees around the North Pole. You can then take a 90-degree angle right there and follow it in a straight path south and see if it intersects the point you started. And it sure will. And you'll have measured 3 90-degree angles.
What do you think would happen
So, Brandon,
on a
I made a
circular
big-
Earth? Oh, no, let me respond. Let me respond to that because he just made a claim that you could measure this in reality. And yeah, probably. So here's my plane on a flat Earth. I start out here on the equator. I head straight to the North Pole. And then I turn 90 degrees and I go straight down to the equator. And then I go west. Sorry. Then I go west. There we go. I turn 90 degrees, maintain west. And what did I just do? Same fucking thing.
That's what I said. Yeah, you made a triangle.
No, you didn't.
On a
You
flat
broke the
Earth,
rules.
and this is
Oh, yeah,
not
you
a
broke the
triangle.
rules.
This has an has an arc. What's it called when two sides are straight,
but
one side's
I didn't
curved?
say anything about an arc. I said follow a straight path.
No, you
No,
broke the
that's not a
rules.
straight
You
path.
broke the rules.
That's not a straight path. That's not a straight
Equator,
path.
yeah.
You broke the rules.
Nope. See, it's curved right there. You can look at it and see it's curved. You guys see curves
Yeah, but
everywhere.
if
I'm surprised you don't see it.
walked in a straight path, it would go. You keep a straight path and you'd walk the equator.
Do we
if
live
it
in
were
2D
arc.
space? Because we're looking at it down. We're looking at it from down. Here's the North Pole. See how it's curved? We don't live in 2D space, do we?
Yeah, but
So what you're not getting, Brandon, is you broke the rules.
I didn't break any rule.
Yeah, you
went-
did. You broke the
I turned
rules.
here. I went 90, 90, 90. That's 270 degrees. So what's so special about your globe
That's
now?
not a straight
When
line. On a flat plane, that's not a straight line.
What isn't this?
It's not
Yours
a
isn't
triangle.
a fucking straight line either. Yours is
It
the
is.
same
It's
exact
defined.
fucking. No, hey, is
That's
the
the point.
equator
It's
the equator?
defined as-
The equator is a circle about the surface that's
Yeah, it's
such
not
and
a
such
straight
distance
line.
from the North Pole. It's always a circle
not a
looking
straight
from the
line.
top down. This is the same as yours, Brenda. If this isn't a straight line,
No, it's not the
then
same.
yours isn't a fucking straight line, Brenda.
It is. It's defined as a straight line.
Brenda, if you don't fucking get this, then you're dense as a motherfucker or you're a fucking liar.
I'm
He
trying.
thinks
No,
he's a woman. He thinks he's a woman. You're talking
Come
to
on.
a man.
Yeah, here we
Come
go.
on,
Here we
Travis.
go.
Come on,
Here we
man.
go.
It cheapens
So
us,
the
guys.
point is,
Come on.
the point is, in mathematics, we are allowed to make up the rules, but you have
Fine,
to
go live
apply
in your
them
fantasy world.
consistently.
Leave us the fuck alone. Why didn't you
That's
start
how
with,
math
I live in a
works.
fantasy world and think I live on a fucking globe, and I'm going to tell you about my special math. How come you didn't
the point is that the
come at us
math-
like that? Instead, you came at us, you're fucking dumb. You think you live on a flat plane.
The point is the math
Hey, man,
corresponds
hit
to
the like.
reality.
Hit the like.
Jesus fucking
Well-
Christ. I got to end the show. Hey, listen, thank you to the panel so much. This was a fucking awesome discussion, even though we were, assholes to each other at certain points in time. And I thought it went pretty well overall. I do appreciate that. And I'll be back to record.
I
and hang
messed
out,
up on the angles. I'm sorry about that.
That happens.
Have
just
our days.
had
It's
to
all
pick
good.
on you, but
we get what's
fuck it.
Excellent show.
Rodney, were you able to read my tag? I was kind of interested in that.
Brendan.
Okay, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. We got an extra hour tonight because it was such a good discussion. I didn't want to leave. And I want you to think about the fact that Brenda will sit there and just, until her dying breath, telling me that this same fucking path along the equator, heading east on a globe, is a straight line. But when I show it to her here on this fucking flat surface, she'll tell me that this is a curved line. It's the same fucking line in either model. I want you to think about that and think about what that says about her fucking spherical math and her whole excess triangle shit. That pissed me off. Sorry. I've got to stop cussing. Anyway. Time's a concept. Don't end yet. Time's a concept. Oh, shit. That's so funny. James May says, Brandon, what's up? What's up, brother? I hear you banned Emma, banned these fundies that they are just liars. Yeah, I've thought about that so much, just banning some of these Globers who just, I don't know what their deal is. They seem like shills to me. I mean, if there are shills out there that are working for someone, I don't know who, somebody who wants people to think the Earth's a sphere for some reason and doesn't want them to talk about flat Earth for some reason, because I don't know, who knows? Think of a reason. They're out there. Should we just ban these people and not talk to them? And I've just taken the approach, like we have on this show, even when it was ranties from day one, that we want to interact. We want to show the flaws in logic. It backfires on us sometimes. It challenges our own ideas, which is what science is about. Yes, it's annoying sometimes. And maybe there are certain people I should ban, like we talked about that one night. So I'm trying to be a little faster on the trigger, but I don't want to just out ban all the Globers. Emma was banned under when Ranty was here. Those two got into it, and as far as I know, she has never asked me to unban her. So I haven't. There's a little history there. I don't want to start drama and everything, but those two didn't get along, and she's just never asked me to unban her. Notice you could type her name tonight. I did take her name off of the ban list because it was in there too. I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, thank you for the $20, James. Much appreciated. Was the talk that one night at band camp? Yes. Yeah, that's right. Band camp. That's what we should do. We should have a show with all the people who have been banned on the show from the Discord or the YouTube. We'll call it band camp. That's a good idea. I like that. Science works in mysterious ways. I just want answers sometimes, like Bendy. Yeah, I want answers too. Fuck. Anyway, all right, guys. I'm gonna shut her down. Good hanging out with y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, probably tomorrow. Check. Try to have a show. Talk to you guys later.